Welcome back to The Good Talk, the show where we discuss what's hot, what's grot, and everything between in the wide world of Warhammer. I am joined by the one, the only, the bearded sweater master, Mr. Brian Pullen.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. Great to have you back in the studio for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so long.
It's been too long.
But I'd say a little more than a year and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we've seen each other at, while traveling, things like that, but you're actually back here. You just played your very first game of 10th edition.
I sure did.
What we're going to do today is we're going to be taking lots of super chats, lots of questions, anything about 10th. Today we have the brand new Space Marine book to discuss, index I should say. But before we dive on into that, I would love to hear some initial thoughts after your first game.
Yeah, so really, without exaggeration, this was my very, very first game.
Yeah,
I didn't even play one full turn of 10th edition before the stream we just did.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that it was really, really great. I thought they genuinely succeeded at simplifying the game, but not making it simple. And I really love some of the new mechanics. We were talking about how I really love Battle Shock.
So good.
I love OC. I think that's really interesting. And one of the big things that I have to adjust to that we saw in that game is, Warhammer's always been this rock, paper, scissors, where, you have the right tool for the right combat. But it felt like going into the end of last edition and even previous editions, everything was so good that rock, paper, scissors broke down and really anything could kill anything regardless. It's like, oh, my bolters kill your knight. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they've really pushed that rock, paper, scissors to a far edge. So you have to have the right tool for the job. And if you're going into the game with the mentality of the previous edition, you're going to be shocked. Like, we were shocked to see this Tyrannosaurus that could not be killed. Yeah. But there's, because the army didn't have the tool for it. Right. And now you really can't just skirt by with like, bolters will kill anything.
It's a huge, huge thing. There's this growing disparity of like the infantry cannot kill the tanks. And you need to consider that in your list building and also even just during deployment because it's much harder to deal with problems that you don't have the exact tool for.
But even in a funny way, the tanks can't kill the infantry either because tanks used to have tons of shots, right? Like if you had 4 las cannons on your Land Raider, it had 4 shots, which could kill a squad. But now it's just 2 more efficient shots, right? With twin linked. Yeah. And so in a funny way, it goes both ways. It's not just like tanks OP.
Yeah, we even saw it with the Outriders, right? It's like, oh, this isn't 4 shots a bike. This is 2 shots a bike. Now it is better.
They're more reliable.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right that it does kind of go both ways. But there's a whole lot of cool stuff, new stuff, and that's part of the fun of it. It's like we're excited to like not know all the answers yet.
Yeah, and I think in a funny way, a lot of people are looking to compare a data sheet from 10th edition to 9th edition.
Yeah, don't do that.
In a funny way, I almost think that a lot of the rules are so much more like 7th edition, right? In the way you would construct an army and the way it would look in the flow of the game. Now, you're playing with an entirely new mission concept and again, OC and Battle Shock and the Tempest cards. That changes everything. It's very, very different, which I love all of that. But you really can't compare. You can't just say, oh, this unit now does this. That's a buff, that's a nerf. Like the context completely changed.
Completely different. Yeah. And that is a thing that we're going to be seeing, again, over the next 10 days. We just started the 10 days of 10th. We're going to have 18 games played. And a lot of this, you just have to try it on the table. You just have to see it on the table. Yeah. And it's hard to conceptualize. When these books first come out, the easy stuff to look at is like, what's the damage output? What's the defensive capabilities? But we need to play it to get that full context of how it works in the game.
And realistically, when you're playing any new army, even for the first time, let alone new edition, it takes you a handful of games to really see what the space is, what's working. Over these next 10 days, we're going to be playing almost every faction, one time. Exactly. But that's just one take, one list, one set of combos. And it's also in just one matchup, right? Whereas an army might have very different matchups, particularly in a world where rock, paper, scissors is stronger, then matchup variance is stronger too, right? Exactly. So much experimentation, and that's what gets me excited because, if you play Warhammer as much as you guys do, eventually it can become like pretty route, like what's going to happen. Right? Like, oh, this game plus these units, that kills that, this kills that, this kills that, this kills that. And you can predict the whole game, and top competitive players often can come to the table and, unless there's a wild swing in something, the outcome. Now, we're completely blank. We know nothing. Everything is like, oh my God, what does that do? And that's a fun space to be in.
It's so exciting. So hopefully everyone's excited at home. There are going to be problematic things, and we're going to work through it together and figure it out and ask questions. So, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Now, we did have the Space Marine Index come out today. We are going to kind of intersperse that with talking about this. We played Space Marines today, so rather than kind of dive into that, I think we're going to take the questions. We have a lot of questions to dig through.
So many questions.
And a lot of the Space Marine book like content is going to come out through discussing this. So
before we get into the questions, guys, we need a review of the Taco Bell. Adrian, you had some new opinions. Thank you, Daminit, of course, for sending us Taco Bell.
Thanks, Daminit. Greatly appreciate it.
We needed it. We had none of us had eaten all day,
God.
and we were pretty hungry.
It was too much. I had something. There was this thing in the
We don't know
beginning.
what it was.
It came like in a separate bag, not fully separate.
You're right, but it was
wasn't that
separate.
creepy.
They had all the tacos in one bag and this one taco in another
I was
bag.
very skeptical. I was like, maybe like potatoes or something. But you know what? That was like genuinely good.
Yeah.
I can actually say that about a Taco Bell item that I ate. So thank you, Daminit.
Listen, I've discovered the secret to Taco Bell is just starve yourself for a long time. It's gonna be amazing, and it was. So thank you so much.
Exactly. Thanks, Daminit.
All right, now we can play the Which Sleen Do I Need lottery. Is it this one? Oh, it is. Nailed it. First try.
I thought he said Sleen.
I kind of did.
Oh, okay.
I tripped on scene.
I thought that Sleen was a thing I didn't know about.
That's all the kids
Since
are
I've been here, Sleen is something that's new.
Look, I'm back to Cali.
Thanks, Goods Brought Yusuf. So amazing to have the original trilogy back in the house. Brian, how has your relationship with your Primarch husbands been since you moved?
Yeah.
It's been a long distance relationship, I'll tell you that. But yes, thank you so much. It's really great to be back here. As I said, it's been a long time. And not only has it been a long time since I've been back in the studio with you guys, but it's just a long time playing Warhammer.
Yeah.
Because I don't get to play where I am. I get to read all the rules and we talk every day about company stuff, but that's just business. I'm not playing toys.
Exactly.
So I get to come back and play with the toys. It's great.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Ithrain.
Hey.
Brian, welcome back. Thoughts on ATV taken alongside Outriders, Gravis Apothecary, and Captain next to Heavy Intercessors for lethal 5s to hit 7.
7. Yes. So there's a lot of interesting combos, and over time, I think we're going to get a bit more precise about like what is like the truly strongest.
Sure.
And this feels like a combo that
You're talking about the Apothecary right now?
I'm talking about both of these, honestly.
Okay.
So ATV with Outriders.
I personally like the ATV with the Outrider.
Yeah.
But for a reason maybe different than why you might be commenting.
I like it when you take the Chaplain as well. I think you need the Chaplain to make them do anything.
Right. Because they have very middling profiles.
But just to clarify, what is the Chaplain doing that lets them do anything?
+1 wound.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, no, it's +1 wound in melee, and then he turns all their weapons into devastating wounds.
Correct.
Against target within 12
Within
inches
12
of the
inches, which you can get up real fast.
Yeah.
And you can do that. So here's the thing about the ATV for me.
Okay.
In this edition, especially if you're putting a character in, you want big squad.
Yep.
This makes a big squad bigger. It takes 6 Outrider bikes, it adds a chunky wounds to it, adds a few more weapons that the squad's missing, and it allows that squad to be a little more multi-purpose, gets you more bang for your buck out of your character.
Yep.
But I also just like the aesthetic of it. Like if you're trying to build a mounted army like I was today,
Exactly.
you've got like, let's say you build these 2 or even one of these squads, it's just got a vibe that I think is cool. Whereas the ATVs on their own, kind of dinky. They played the old version of the game where, there are these like throwaway fast things.
Yeah.
That ran up a flank to engage or something, like the old way of playing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now, if you want it to be a damage dealing, it needs to be in that squad. And you can keep it safe. You can like pull ATV or Outriders and keep the ATV and keep whatever you want on it, the Melta, the whatever, So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I really like it. I was surprised, but pleased to find that they even kept things like the non-Primaris Captain on Bike. And it feels weird at first until you realize like, oh, right, because everything is kind of armor locked, it's like you have your characters that can lead each of these different like types of units and these mounted things. And even like the Chaplain on Bike was always awkward. It was like, he was cool, he was fast, he was killy, and he would do good stuff, but it was awkward. You have this one guy on a bike, it's like zipping around, talking to these guys on foot.
Right.
But now...
It goes well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really came full circle. I really want a Captain on Bike as well.
Yes.
The Primaris Captain on Bike.
Yes, I know. Come on, G-Dubs. Give it to us.
But obviously, I have a lot of the old bikes. I don't want to see them go away either. As far as the Apothecary, one thing I will say, like that Apothecary combo is good. As most people will say, it's going to come down to points. Is that the worthwhile efficiency?
It's true.
And what I was finding even today's game is like you have a purpose for each unit. Is this one here to hold? Is this one a disruption? Is this one some sort of control? Or is this one damage dealing? And you kind of you know, figure out what you want there. And so for me, I was very happy to have the librarian for the defensive, and I was very happy to have the chaplain for the offensive in combat.
Exactly.
The apothecary can help you offensive in shooting, and so and different apothecaries do different things. So
Yeah, he's a bit awkward because he helps you in shooting with lethal hits, but in my opinion, the best thing about him is when his squad kills something in melee.
Yes, right.
He goes to OC9.
OC9.
He's just like, I'm a unit now.
but that's a weird thing, though.
It is weird.
With assault, with heavy intercessors, it's awkward. With aggressors, now you're talking.
Now we're talking.
So
Yeah.
he's kind of a weird split
Because
profile.
aggressors won't have a good OC.
Yeah.
So you need it. So it's weird. And the question is, you know, you can only have one of these characters in squad. Like, what are you doing with those aggressors?
Yeah.
You know,
Right, and his lethal hits don't obviously help with flame aggressors.
flamers. Yes, right. Exactly right.
I think heavy intercessors are more compelling than they ever have been. Obviously pending points, but they are finally tough because they are really benefiting from that high toughness. I think they go to T6, and they get +1 armor against damage 1.
Yeah.
And I've fought against them a couple times, and they actually are non-trivial to remove.
I agree. They're
Whereas
they're
like
chunky.
5 irregular intercessors, once you reach them, then they're super easy to kill.
The biggest struggle for them, for heavy intercessors, is the number of characters that can go into that squad.
Yeah.
It's very few. A lot of the like super high impact characters,
Yeah.
like all the named characters, I think the one named character is the Ultramarines Chapter Master.
Calgar.
Calgar can go in that squad because he's Gravis, and I think he's the only one, right?
Torgaradon, because he's Gravis.
Okay, so there's 2.
Yeah. But I don't know that they're the best unit for him to join.
Right?
Agreed. Yeah.
And that's a weird limiting factor. And who knows? Maybe they don't need character support, or maybe like they're just good on their own. It's going to take so much testing. A lot of the theory crafting that people have been doing is just from the wrong context or from the wrong perspective. They just haven't seen it play out on the table where it's like,
That's exactly right. It's really hard to look at a Space Marine index with so many data sheets.
Yeah.
And again, you're only seeing one opponent, which is Tyranids. You haven't seen all the other opponents yet. And so figuring out what's actually good and what can make a well-rounded army to play this mission, it's hard to say. And Space Marines are still kind of pricey, right? Like they're always going to be.
Yeah.
So how many are you really going to get in an army? You can't have everything.
Exactly.
And this is always true of every Warhammer army. You can never have everything.
Yeah.
So there's always trade-offs.
I think it's even more true now because everything's interesting.
Yeah.
Everything does a new and cool, unique ability. So it's like, okay, well, what does an army actually look like?
Totally.
So we'll find out.
Yeah.
it is interesting. Every list that we've made, we've wanted more stuff, which I guess is always
That's
the
always
case
the case.
for
Yeah.
a Warhammer player, but
Exactly.
now more than ever, it always feels like, okay, I have all my essentials. Oh, I'm over points. Oops.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, one of the armies I desperately wanted to collect was Necrons. And the thing that kept stopping me is I kept writing army lists that were like aesthetically what I like, because I like these symmetry lists. So I'd have like 2 40-man blobs, you know, 2 combat squads, character, monolith. And this was 8th edition at the time. And I kept writing this list and being like, yeah, that's good. And then it was like 3,200 points. And I was like, what? And then I was like, this army's ripoff.
But
Like,
my box art, no!
Aesthetic.
it had like this perfect look, and it didn't look like more than my opponent's armies.
Totally.
Necrons were just really pricey.
Necrons.
And that always stopped me from doing it. And then at the start of 9th, when they became the cover army, they kind of balanced so you get a little more. And then I went crazy and I bought so many
God.
Necrons.
Right.
But yeah, if I can't get what I want in the army, I'm just so sad.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Athrain.
All right, thanks, Polychrome. Welcome back, Brian. Bridger, be honest, is the graphics on the side because John is so tall.
That's exactly right.
It is absolutely the reason. Where we just redesigned these graphics. They're still kind of the first version. Bridger's got to make it so you can have 3
Look,
3 secondary cards.
I threw this together.
No,
to be
Bridger did-
honest, in 2 nights. I put it together in 2 nights.
Bridger did good work. We
It's great. And
Yeah.
you did a great design. Well done.
and I'm really happy with actually how it came out.
Yeah.
It's actually a vastly big improvement. Like it gives you so much more information about what's going on. And so it's really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we were trying to redesign, we wanted to have more information on the front slide so you can actually see the 2 active secondaries with CP, with points, with like a cool graphic, whatever. And when we put that up top, it was so big that it was covering John's face.
It was he was doing the Mike Wazowski
Yeah.
thing, you know? And the thing is, we always had this like awkward real estate on the side because perspective is a thing.
Right.
And it's like, well, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, fit more information, not cover up John, which means we can actually bring in the shot closer, and it works.
And then we can Mike Wazowski John a different way.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll still find a way, I'm
We'll
sure.
definitely find a way.
We did have a lot of really positive feedback on the overlays, so I'm happy. I think.
Well, it's only the beginning. We have lots of ideas to improve it.
Lots of improvements.
We got pretty far the first time out, though. Actually, I'm impressed we got this much done.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot better.
It's slick.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Martin.
Oh.
Brian, going back to the original TTT videos, any thoughts on assassins? We're trying to include them in a Space Marine list. Also, do you think Bridger's random charge method will work better in 10th?
This is Dark Angels Martin returned. Oh my gosh. This is.
There's
Amazing.
a lot. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Well,
has like
welcome
15
back.
super chats.
Welcome back to you too.
That's a lot of super chats.
You know, when they first previewed the Assassins, everyone got really excited, didn't they?
I don't remember what they showed, but people were super excited about it, honestly.
We have to be careful
know.
because there's certain things that have been previewed and there's certain things that we've
Yeah.
seen,
Oh my gosh.
They
and we
showed-
don't always know which is which.
They showed the Vindicator's data sheet,
Right.
which
Okay.
is
It looked like he could actually kill guys.
it is a buzz.
Yes, yes. So the caveat to being afraid or excited about the Vindicare, which we also ran into, is don't forget that precision, you still need line of sight.
Even in combat, it's so
Even in
stupid.
combat.
You could call somebody out to a duel, Brian, and they're standing on the other side of the wall, and they're like, "Nah, I don't want to duel you."
Hold
'Cause
on.
it's such a misnomer.
Does that not sound like reality?
Yeah,
No!
because it's not a duel. This isn't what was it, 7th edition?
Right.
Where you would actually be like, I challenge you. if
Warhammer
you don't
Fantasy
fight,
4th edition,
It's like
that
a
is-
rap battle, and if they
Yeah.
don't rap battle you, they have to go in the back and they don't fight, right?
Right.
But this one's like, I have precision against you, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to like consent. They're just gonna stab through the wall. You know, it makes sense.
I should be able to stab him through the wall, Brian. That's all I'm saying.
I think the rules work great the way they are, and I think Assassins should be good.
Yeah, they should. Be.
You don't want them to be in a weird spot where they're auto-include, which they were for a brief period.
In 8th,
right?
when they first came out.
And that was because you could choose your assassin at the table, and they did a few unique things. Now, funny stuff, like the things that they did, like a Calexis at the time where it was like untargetable, unkillable.
Yeah.
Now you have the lone operative rule, and there's like a quarter of your army can do that already.
Yeah, exactly.
So the things that people were looking for them to fill aren't as pressing.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're going to be great. They feel like they're probably going to be about right with their balance.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm excited for them. I think they're cool. They also showed the Inquisitorial Kill Team stuff. The new Kill Team boxes that they previewed.
Yes.
They said, like, you're going to be playing these. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks. Aaron. Brian, welcome back, man. Just show my support.
Aw.
Thank you so much. Glad to be back.
The next one, thank you, Matt Wallace Merritt. He's back, just like old times. Been a pleasure to watch the channel grow since your Custodes Tactic videos back in 2020. Let's go, Beast Snaggas.
Beast Snaggas!
I love Beast Snaggas.
So exciting. Oh my gosh.
Have they previewed the rules for them? They did.
They have, yeah. So a couple interesting things. One, they got better armor save. One, they got
Good.
one better movement.
All right.
And their invuln save went to a 6-up Feel and Pain, which is way more appropriate.
Okay, great.
It makes them tougher against like small arms fire.
Yeah,
as
and
should
they
be.
still reroll against monsters and vehicles.
I think they actually changed the buff a little bit. It was
Or they have like an anti-vehicle rule or something.
no, it is rerolls. It's
It
not
is
+1 to
rerolls.
hit
That's what I
anymore,
thought.
which was always awkward.
Rerolls so much more useful.
Yeah, well, especially before it was like I'm +1 to hit against monsters, and the boss is like, guess what? You're +1 to hit.
Anyway.
I'm already
they're
hitting
like,
on twos, bro.
The problem is that so many vehicles they're so high toughness that they're winning on 6s. So rerolling not that interesting.
Yeah.
What you want is an anti-vehicle rule.
Right.
Give me like anti-vehicle 4
Anti-
up.
Well,
is so
let's
strong.
calm down. You can't,
Anti?
you
That would
can't
be-
just give anti-vehicle to your basic troops. That's ridiculous.
I'm kind of on board for it though.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Well,
petition
they're not
GW.
like shoving their wooden spear into the spokes of a rhino and it just explodes.
That's
Yeah,
rusty
into the
spear.
spokes. They know where to do it.
Let's be honest,
They're
yeah.
beast snaggas. They know how to take down
If
vehicles.
there's spokes, I'm pretty sure they're going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Andy. So awesome to see Brian back. Can't wait for this week of games.
It's going to be a lot.
It's a lot. It's been a long time since we've done this many games this often. We're going to be exhausted. This is our life. There is only war.
There's only war, which is the
Warhammer,
best way
yeah.
to do it. Yeah, exactly. Like there's
And the funny thing is, it's not even enough.
no, it's not.
Like
That's the thing.
we need to get through so many more factions,
Yeah.
so many more things, and we're in a unique position where, as a channel, because we do these live shows and we have our setup and our technology such, we can play 18 games in 8 days, right?
Yep.
that sounds insane, and it is, but we can do it. And even that doesn't even begin to touch the permutations.
Oh my gosh.
Because Warhammer actually has a huge amount of permutations. We learned that through playtesting, where it was like, here's this book. Can you try and break it? It's like, so there's like 10 million permutations. They take 4 hours each to test. Carry the one. I guess by the end, the heat death of the universe, I could test half the book. You know, it's like,
exactly.
But that's where we are now, because it's not just one book; it's all of them. So excited for this.
It's the most overwhelming, most amount of information we've basically ever had, because last edition, it wasn't an index wipe, and the time that we did have an index wipe, we didn't have all the stratagems, all the warlord traits, everything. So this is actually the most amount of new Warhammer at once that we've ever had.
Agreed.
Like, ever.
Yeah,
a lot.
It's huge.
It's overwhelming.
Super excited for it, though.
Yeah. I think my voice is gone.
You don't need that. You don't need that for the next.
Day one. You can't. No. You have 9 more days of this. Thanks again, Martin. Brian, super excited you're back to keep Bridger in line and remind Adrian what hot rolling really is. When you reflect on where the channel is now versus the start, what do you think? Adrian having a mid-year review?
Yeah, it is. Look, it is June, so the real reason he's here.
Yeah, somebody has to keep Bridger online. But honestly, we never could have imagined that we would get here. And when the channel was started, it was very much a hobby. It didn't have a lot of ambition. It was just, how could we make cool videos? There wasn't a lot of channels, right? In the time that we've been doing it, Warhammer YouTube as a concept became very popular.
Blew up, yeah.
There's a ton, which is great. And really, I think for the same reason that we started. It was people were seeing, this is fun, I can bring my own creative approach to this. And but as far as what we've been able to turn this into, it's incredible. And I tell you, it's now we are ambitious.
Yes.
And now it's just the beginning. We have so many cool ideas, and we're working so hard on it. So the things you see on camera, they're a ton of work. Yeah. But the things we're doing off camera is as much or just as more.
It's going to be absolutely massive.
Yeah.
And you know, you've been remote, but like you said, we chat every day. And
yeah, we work together every day.
On things on all these other projects.
Absolutely.
Upcoming things. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again, Martin. Thank you, Kevin Saunders, 10 for 10th. Happy to finally. Wait, hold on, Kevin. That says $9.99.
Oh no!
Just so that we're level here.
But it's more than $10 US because it's in pounds.
But then it's still not 10 for 10th, Brian.
We'll have to see what it rounds to. Maybe it's 10.10.
Ooh.
I know it's not.
Happy to finally catch you live, as it's not at 2 a.m. start. So hyped for all the streams coming up, and 10th in general. New UI is slick. Keep up the awesomeness. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Hey, if you're excited for us to play at UK times, tune in all week.
Yeah, so we have a 12 o'clock p.m. Our time, which is what?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. then?
It's quite reasonable.
So 8 p.m. your time basically every day.
Yep.
And then even on Saturday and Sunday, we have an 8 a.m. our time.
No.
We do.
We have an 8 a.m.
Why?
Saturday and Sunday.
To play first.
No,
Not me.
I can't even.
You're second.
What?
Oh.
It's in order of the people's ability to get up.
Okay,
and funny
good.
enough, you're not last.
Okay.
John is the last game of the day
That's fair.
at 8 p.m. So if you get up early in the UK,
Right. You can watch both the first and the last one. It'll be good. But that's the only way. We have to play 4 games a day
it's the only way. Yeah.
for
It's
2
a lot.
days. And it's a lot. But that's the way you take an 8-person tournament and get to a single victor.
Yeah, because we really wanted to be able to show every single game on stream and not like we're just going to show certain games.
Yeah.
So you're going to see the entire journey from start to finish. It's going to be cool. We've
It's
never
a
done it.
first for us.
Yeah.
First for almost anybody.
It's basically the TT, but compressed into just
2
2
days. Yeah, with 8 different players. Incredible.
I'm super excited for that.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. And thank you, Liam.
Leo.
Thanks, Liam.
I gotta go. It's super late. Ooh, that was many hours ago. I cannot wait to come hang out next week. Super stream party. I can hug Brian for the first time. Thanks for the shout out. Love you guys.
Yeah, Liam and I meet every single day,
Yeah,
but we've never met in person.
that's wild.
So
So close yet so far apart.
that's right. Yeah, so he'll be here next week, part of the stream madness with us.
Yep.
And so we'll get to hang out. We'll be doing some shows. I'll get to meet him for the first time. And then actually, I'm going to his house in the UK in
Are
July.
you making it
Oh,
happen?
cool.
Just for like a few hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm in
We talked about
with
the
families.
other plan, remember? You
I
were going to
don't-
doorbell ditch him?
Oh, yeah. So what I was going to do, I had so little time to meet him because I am only passing through his town very quickly with some family.
Sultan.
So instead of actually meeting him. I was going to ring his doorbell and run away. And then I was going to tell him when I got back
That was you?
that was me.
So good.
Brian, you got to be careful. That might be a crime in England.
It's just like the most elaborate
Like you actually fly to another country, ring their doorbell and run away, and then don't say hi.
I think they call that hooliganry over there.
hooliganry.
Honestly.
What are you, one of those football players?
I feel like I'm sad that I'm not doing it, though.
I know.
But it'd be nice to
You can do it to his neighbor.
It's just not the same, you know?
Not quite the same.
I feel like Liam and I should both do it to his neighbor.
Ah, there you go.
To the two different neighbors?
Yeah. And then we come out of our door, too, like, what?
Look, that guy doesn't even live here.
You too? What?
I'll keep workshopping it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, Martin. Brian, please, could you play your Dark Angel successors with the Lion against Bridger and his Custodes Wimps, or maybe his Death Guard with Mortarion? Show them what you can do. Any thoughts on the Lion? Adrian, what are your thoughts?
The Lion's amazing.
He's so...
Incredible.
He might even be a problem.
He dictates the whole game.
Yeah, 100%.
Which, man, he's a Primarch.
He
I almost
should.
feel like you put Primarchs on the table, it should become the Primarch show.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it really feels like. You know, we've seen Gilliman, we've seen the Lion, and I'm just saying it, I said it before, we had his rules in 9th edition. It felt very tepid. And it was like, you know what, the main show is coming, 10th edition. Here it is.
Let me clarify for a minute. Have they shown his rules?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. So,
yeah.
he's incredible. And when you think about a Warhammer army, often you think about, can this hold a flank?
Yeah.
Can this take a flank?
Oh my gosh.
And
He is the flank.
He can take a flank in a way that's very hard to respond to. And I find he's I'm sure expensive, but like nothing is going to make him expensive enough that he holds a whole flank.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to really get good at the ways that you chip him and get him out.
Yep.
And you're going to have to focus on him.
It
Because
is-
he's legit.
Oh my! You know, speaking of things that are hard to wound, right? He's toughness 8 or 9.
And -1 to wound, right?
Yes.
And
With
he
a
has
3 plus
and a
invuln.
3 up invuln. And plenty of saves and a good toughness and everything. Like,
It's
and he fights
ridiculous.
first.
The fight first, as we've seen today, again, is so massive. It's one of the best abilities in the game. Pair this with a unit that also has lone operative.
Yeah, and you can't.
Are you
So
kidding?
Yeah.
here's
can't
how you
shoot-
deal with him.
Give it to me.
The harpoon. You
Yeah.
give him the
Yes.
15 damage harpoon.
The funny thing is, you'll miss, and then he'll like kill you in combat.
I mean, it's hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s.
3 up invuln. Oh, does it ignore? Oh,
It
but
goes to
only if you roll a 6.
anti-character.
You
It
need
goes
a
to
6.
devastating wounds.
Wait, it's anti-character devastating?
I
We
thought
can
it was
check.
anti-vehicle.
It's anti-something.
Vehicle.
They wouldn't do that.
I thought it was anti-vehicle.
That would make more sense.
Anyway, we think Dark Angel is going to be solid.
Yeah, they seem very strong.
And we're going to be playing Dark Angels, but I can't remember. It's not me playing it, is it? It's you playing it?
I can't remember. We'll have to see.
Because I definitely started learning the rules of a few, but it
Yeah.
wasn't Dark Angels.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll be playing plenty of different Space Marines over the week, but Dark Angels might be another one of us.
Someone will play Dark Angels.
Is he a monster? It's anti-monster, anti-vehicle.
No, I don't think
for
he's a
us.
monster.
No.
I don't think
I'll
so.
bet he is.
Gilliman is a monster, but I don't know.
Okay, then he is.
Oh, I'll bet he's a monster.
If Gilliman's a monster, you're saying he's not a
You
monster?
give him the
That's offensive.
harpoon.
He's a kind man.
That's
He's
how
not a
you do
monster.
it. You give him the harpoon.
The harpoon. There you go.
Okay, well, then
the
we
way.
solved it.
We
Perfect.
figured it
Just
out.
bring
A Valiant.
a giant
Bring the
Valiant
Valiant.
knight.
You shoot him with the harpoon.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that would work, to be honest with you.
No.
I'm pretty confident. I think it'll work.
Punk 'em.
Yeah, I think he'd still win.
Thanks again, Martin. Are you guys coming to the UK soon? Fancy coming to the country club and blowing up your most hated model while wearing gentleman's clothing?
Oh.
I gotta tell you, Martin, I don't own gentleman's clothing.
That's like the best part about what he said.
I mean, he can lend you a shooting jacket, and then
He'll still
you
wear the
can wear the shorts and the sneakers, but
Would I get kicked out? If there's a place that would kick me out for a dress code, I don't want to be there.
I
That's
mean,
how I've lived my
I
life.
think you're missing out on the fun things that could happen, like skeet shooting Warhammer.
Sounds pretty great. You could shoot some Dark Angels.
Oh,
The lion, it's gonna ricochet off the lion shield and hit you.
Oh, God, every time. Yeah, we don't have a trip currently planned. It's just a lot. It's a lot to get over there.
It's easier for me.
It is actually.
There's a
yeah.
direct flight every day from where I live to the UK. So I'm going to be there from the 16th to the 29th, or no, 16th to the 31st of July.
and you can only afford one day with Liam and Sultan?
Yeah,
Sultan.
super busy. Yeah, going around with family, and we're going to a lot of places.
gonna
So
be fun,
yeah, it should be busy.
Thanks, Martin.
Thanks, Martin. Thank you, Maxwell Martin. Dad is home from getting that milk. Happy to see you on the channel. I wish you Frozen Hellscape dice this game. Welcome back, Brian. I hope we get to see more of you this edition.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I hope to come out more. Really, you know, when you're traveling for Warhammer, you have to figure out like how much you can do it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I have a family at home. I have a young daughter.
Exactly.
She's very sad when I'm not home because, like, you know, I help her with everything.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to do is I want to get out to more events. So coming here is good, but when I come here, it's work.
Yeah.
Right? Like these 18 games in 8 days, like this is not going to be easy.
No, there's a lot of work in practice.
And the last time I was here too, in 1 week, I streamed 44 hours.
You almost died.
I almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's what the hospital told us anyway. They told us too much Warhammer. He needs to calm down.
Yeah. Listen, just being live and talking for 44 hours of a work week.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And so it's a lot of work. So I want to get out to more events, like bring my armies, play, meet people, a little more chill. So I'm going to be doing that a little more. I don't know what the schedule will be me coming to the studio, but I'll definitely be out playing Warhammer more often.
Sounds great.
Awesome.
Thanks, Maxwell.
Thank you, Psychag, 10th Hype, and Brian Hype. How would you start Demons in 10th? Suggestions on Sally's lists or combos with new index. They showed Bellicor for Demons, right?
They showed Bellicor. They showed...
Start there.
They showed...
You like him?
Yeah.
Can
You want me to check?
Yeah, because there's another thing I think they showed, and I'm also super excited about. Bellicor is huge. Like, physically huge.
Yeah.
But also in the rules, he's huge. He feels like an auto-include. Basically, you have this aura.
You've been test playing some demons,
I have
haven't
been
you?
trying them.
Yeah.
I have been trying them. And I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Basically, he can make any of your units within 6
Keeper.
untargetable beyond 18.
Whoa.
So that solves a huge problem with this army. Which
That's
is
a big fix.
massive.
Oh, my poor Tau.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And then just verified with Berger. The other one that they've shown is the Keeper of Secrets, who kind of sat out the last edition, but they are so back. 5-up Feel No Pain if you take the shield. So you have a 4-up invuln, 5-up Feel No Pain,
Yeah.
untargetable beyond 18.
And big toughness now. And
yeah, and they hit super, super hard. So,
as they should.
I'm super excited.
Keeper should be terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like big demons are going to be very interesting. Obviously, there's a lot to test out. Beyond that, funny enough, it's an army where buying the main battle line troops is actually kind of a crapshoot, right? Until we see really how the army works, when the index is revealed soon, I couldn't give you any like for sure advice on mainline troops. It's a weird army like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Start with Bellicor.
Start with Bellicor. A greater demon or two, it's honestly, I think, going to be hard to go wrong.
It's a fun army. Both of us are collectors of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'd advocate it. It's just got a lot of fun.
So much flavor.
And it's actually not a big range to collect.
No, it's not.
So it's kind of easy to get started. It's fun to paint. Lots of creativity there. And everyone likes playing against demons on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nobody who's not having fun.
No.
So
Man.
demons are cool. But because the range is small, in every different edition, they don't always have answers to everything.
Right, exactly.
Right? Especially if you're playing monofaction.
And that's one of the reasons I'm a little bit squeamish about recommending certain troops, because that fluctuates so much from edition to edition.
The haves and have-nots as far as troops. Like sometimes, like for a whole edition, Plague Bearers were the only thing worth taking.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, like Pinks and Brims
Those were the darkest days.
become crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And then it's like,
when Pinks and Brims were too good, that wasn't better. That was worse, I would say.
Yeah, true. Well, then we had
4-up invol Brims. Remember that? Start of
my
8th?
gosh.
Or 7th? No, start of 8th, sorry.
8th.
Yeah.
But in 7th, it was worse.
They were 2 points each, and they had a 4-up invul. You remember that?
So ridiculous. Yeah.
They were 2 points
2
for
points.
a 4-up invul.
Oh, right. People made them out of cereal.
That was the index hammer.
They couldn't get enough models. They made them out of
the
cereal.
infamous marshmallow brimstones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you want to complain about these indexes, you should go back and remember 8th edition indexes. Yeah. Those were something. Now, I had a ton of fun with those indexes.
Oh, it was great. It's going to be fun.
The thing was, every army was super busted in some amazing way that it was like, 2.4 invuln Brims sound like, oh, that should win. But like, nope. Something else was even better.
Everything was, it was the Wild West.
It was so wild.
Now, suggestions on Sally list or combos with new index. Have you given much thought? You are playing Salamanders tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow, what time? 12.
12. It's going to be our
Tomorrow
Saturday
at
show.
12, I'm playing Salamanders. So, honestly, the fact that they have more flamers,
Yeah, always good.
I love. I won't have those tomorrow because we don't have them painted as Salamanders.
Yes.
We have them painted as Dark Angels, but we'll get some done. At first I was kind of down on Aggressors.
Right.
I thought that they weren't great, but actually I like them, especially like Tac Doctrine, Fallback, Shoot, and Charge. And I feel like, Overwatch strat, I feel like they have some really good play. So,
now, are you going Flame Aggressors or Bolt Aggressors? Because I think they both have interesting combo potential.
I only like Flame Aggressors.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you like about the Bolter ones? I'm curious.
Yeah, because I don't get it.
Yes.
They're twin linked, right?
Who cares? I reroll everything in this army anyways.
The thing I like the best about the Flame Aggressors is the Overwatch capability.
Yeah.
Because the Marines don't have an amazing solution for that.
Right.
Like, even if you try to look at things that could be abusive, you're like, oh, what about Desolation Marines indirect firing with that? But you're hitting on 6s, big squad. It's kind of awkward with the range, but
what about the new Flame Boys? The new
they're
good.
Flaminator squad.
They're totally cool.
I like them. Yeah, I like them.
But I'm interested in Salamanders. You know, when I play most Space Marine Legions, I particularly play them to the fluff. So it's like I play my White Scars with bikes. I play my Salamanders with Flamers and Thunderhammers.
And Melta.
And Melta, right. So, and I think those things are good, and that's going to work. So I think Salamander's fluff works better than White Scars fluff for like playing a balanced game. You know what I mean?
Eradicators look great.
Eradicators look good.
They're a more well-rounded chapter, like narratively, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I think there are a couple things that we're already having to adapt to within our collections. Like Adrax, for example, is great in melee, but you can't attach him to a lot of the squads, or you couldn't associate him like you could before in 8th edition.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have Assault Intercessors in Salamanders, and that might be an interesting combination to do. So there's a couple obvious things like that your collection might be lacking.
Awesome.
Agreed. Vulcan looks cool though.
He's super saucy.
Yeah. The thing is, he just, again, you can't always put him in the unit you want.
He's Firstborn, so it's even worse options.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that they chose not to belabor.
No, but he can go in a few more
prolong
units,
this
I think,
forever.
Vulcan.
He has a couple extras.
He has a few extras.
I thought it was
totally
weird that they're trying to break down the walls between Primaris and non-Primaris. Like, anybody can get in any transport. We're making all these units that are like ambiguously Primaris or not. But then all the characters are still very strictly squad locked on Primaris.
I don't mind the character locking, and I'll tell you why. I think the character locking is good, with the exception of a few named characters. And I'll tell you why, because I think of it almost as a fluff in a way. Like, yes, this Primaris, whatever, lieutenant, he's the one that comes up with the squad. He's together, he's with them. Like, I get that. He's one of them. He comes from them, in that fluff, and that works for me. Now, when you have the named character, like, he's running the chapter.
Right, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he should be able to go in every squad, but he should be able to go in every logical squad.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and also you have someone like Vulcan or Adrax. Like, Adrax should be able to go in an aggressor squad.
Yeah.
And so should Vulcan.
Yeah.
Right? Those kind of both make sense for me.
Yeah.
But having an aggressor, what is it?
Gravis.
Gravis captain in like a random Assault Intercessor squad, like, nah,
feel good.
That's not right for me.
Yeah.
It's got the wrong aesthetic, so I'm into it.
I like it. It does feel a bit inconsistent sometimes because there are limitations like this, but there's others that are actually very permissive.
Yeah.
So, for example, I really like the Captain Phobos armor because they can even join scout squads with sniper rifles.
Yeah, that's
so
neat.
it's like Primaris leads non-Primaris.
That's because they don't really have outside of a named character.
He can join. Oh yeah, that's
but they don't have anyone else.
They
to join
don't
that
have
squad.
one. So
yeah.
he's like filling in for the absentee father.
That's right. So it makes sense, right?
Yeah. You were gonna elaborate, but
I think they're
you summed it up perfectly. There's nothing else to say.
That's fine.
Yeah. I like what they're doing. What we're noticing, it's a really good strategy for you needing to buy a bunch of new models.
Yeah. All the lieutenants finally get to get sold.
They've been working towards this for years.
Yeah.
Finally, a plan for you to buy every lieutenant, and all these like that Gravis captain that sits on everyone's shelf because it came in the starter set. Like all of these things now let you do something cool and interesting that you couldn't do. Whereas captains were just captains, so you can compare them against each other. Same with lieutenants, but it's not like that anymore, and I love that.
I think it's good.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't. I would hate for them to go back to not being in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right. Thanks again, Martin. Brian, for Indomitus, you bought multiple boxes. Is it worth doing that with Leviathan for either or both armies? Also, I tried to get TTT dice, no dice, but I never got them. Was Bridger punishing me? Wait, what?
Oh no.
I'm maybe saying he ordered them but didn't get them. If that's the case, you have to email us.
Yeah.
Email us at info@titanstrain.com. I actually am the one who answers
That's
those.
you now.
That's you.
You deal with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
And but I'll get them sent out to you. So don't know what happened there. But sometimes warehouse screws up, so it can happen. So we bought multiple Indominus. We already have many of this starter set. I don't even know how many we have. But we already
Probably
need...
best if we don't.
Yeah, we have many, and we need many more.
Yeah.
But as far as spamming this box, I don't know about that. I think the other box was better to spam.
The other box was much better to spam.
Yeah.
I think the NIDS half is quite spammable. I think you can get up to 3 and pretty much use everything, except for a couple characters.
Right.
The Space Marine half is
I mean,
very...
do you want 3 Neuro Tyrants? No.
No, you don't want that, and you don't want the Prime. Everything
And
else,
you don't want this. Do you want 3 Screamers?
I mean, kind of.
Yes?
Okay.
What?
You know, like, that's 8 cards.
Ryan, that's so cool.
They're cool. I don't want 3 of them, but yeah.
What?
What?
Because
This guy's crazy.
I'll tell you why.
You started
the
with-
line,
how many
the-
regular Carnifex do we have?
That's a regular Carnifex. No, the thing is,
Brian, this is a Carnifex on its
that
hind
Carnifex
legs.
stays on its own. Those are squads.
Yeah, so if you get 3, you'll have all the ones you'll
Yeah,
ever need.
yeah. Fair enough. The thing is, there's added big beasts. Like, there's so many big beasts I want. I don't want them all eating up my points. You know what I mean? Like,
fair.
I'd rather.
Well,
so
no,
I hear
you
you.
play
It's not that I
3
don't
of
want to
these-
own 3.
Yeah.
It's that I also want to have other big beasts.
Yeah, you play 3 of these one game, you play 3 of
Yeah.
something else the next game.
I think you know the Space Marine, like, you get what 10 Terminators in the box, or do you get 5?
You get 5.
So you want 10.
Yeah, two halves is good.
2 Space Marine halves is good.
After that,
2 Stern Guard squads good.
yep.
What
Also
do you?
for
So
one
that would
10
be
probably.
20 Flamers. That's too many Flamers.
That is too many. Yeah. I don't know why they put 10 in the box rather than 5. Anyways.
It's fine. So that's too many
What's
Flamers. You
for
don't
the-
want the Apothecary Biologist.
No, you don't
You
want.
you might not even want 1 of him, let alone 2 of him.
Correct.
And that was even weird that you can't even play him in the box. It's weird.
awkward.
The Terminator Captain, I think you only want 1 of him.
Correct.
But you can, and the Terminator Librarian, you just
I
want
could
1 of
see
him.
2 of him if you're Dark Angels. You want 2 Terminator Captains, that could be
Eh.
cool.
You have to do conversion work.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think you can use him as a great base for conversions.
Yeah, like I want to make a Lysander from one.
Like a custom Lysander.
Yeah, who like actually feels chunky.
I'm into that.
Yeah. So
He's a good base. But yeah, it feels like the other box you could buy an infinite amount of.
yeah,
Right?
exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And even the previous one, like, so I forget the names of them, but the Death Guard one,
Oh,
8th
No
edition.
fear?
no.
That
Dark,
one,
Dark Imperium?
Dark Imperium, sure, whatever. I don't care.
That sounds right.
But
no, we need to decide the name.
I'm gonna call it Dark Imperium. So that box was great to spam as well.
That one was
You got
so-
two perfect army collections.
Most of our Death Guard collections are
Come
actually
from
just
that box.
the Dark box.
Yeah.
We have no actual like Plague Marines.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
Good luck getting more than 1, though. I think reserving more than 1.
But also, if you haven't, Martin reminded everyone here, get some Titans dice. We have
Yes.
some Titans dice left. They're amazing. And you got a new edition. You gotta get some new dice.
Titans Dice, famous for rolling exclusively 1s and 6s. This edition, famous for 1s and 6s matter.
It says on the box that they are guaranteed to roll only 6s.
True.
Well, 1s and 6s, Brian.
No, it says 6s.
People have seen us roll them. They show 1s and 6s.
No, that's not the dice rolling a 1. That's you rolling a 1.
Oh, okay.
And-
The dice always roll 6s. You just modify it.
Okay.
Like, you might have a -4 modifier. That's
Gotcha.
you.
Gotcha.
The dice always roll 6s. It's not the dice fault.
If you're not able to roll 6s with these dice, it's entirely user error.
Right.
It's you just have to keep practicing.
You practice more.
We're working on it here. You can see.
Yeah.
I would love to get a counter to see how many times we rolled the dice in the studio. Like
I think a much better counter is how many dice go on the floor.
Did you know more dice have gone on the floor than the number of dice we've rolled?
more. Thanks, Martin.
All right, thank you, Two Bad Cats. Hello from the Bahamas. Hey, Brian,
What?
it's your best friend over in the Bahamas.
What?
Excited for 10th and
Wait,
planning.
are they in the Bahamas or are they saying hello to me from the Bahamas?
I think they're in the Bahamas.
What?
But they also paid in Canadian dollars, so maybe this is your best friend.
Is this you?
Excited for
Wait,
10th.
if you live in the Bahamas, let me know, because, like, I live there too, and it's a very small place.
Excited for 10th and planning to do some big tournaments this year, including LVO. If I play Craft Worlds, do I still need island dice?
No, you actually don't need to roll any dice at all if you play Craft World.
Ooh, got
No,
him.
you have to roll
Well,
the fate at the start
roll
of the
at the
game.
start.
true,
You need
yeah.
island dice for that.
So don't get Titans dice for that.
Well, 6s and 1s, Adrian. 6s and 1s.
The ones are only. Oh no, because you can.
You turn them into 6s.
Dang it. Okay.
Yeah.
Titans dice. There you go.
That's what you need. Absolutely. But yeah, if you live in the Bahamas, I remember there was one person when I was moving who
Yeah.
said lives in the Bahamas. He lives kind of the furthest conceivable
Of course.
across the island, but he's only there part of the time, and we never really got a chance to meet up. But also, I left all my armies here, so it's not like I
That
could
would make
really
it
play.
hard to
All
play.
your painted and built ones.
I brought a bunch of unpainted
How's
armies.
Lumineth coming?
Listen, I painted the Fellowship of the Ring from Lord of the Rings, and I brought it.
Oh,
You brought it?
Can
It's
we
here.
play Lord of the
Yay.
Rings?
Oh, we should totally play
Not only
Lord
did
of
I
the Rings.
bring the Fellowship, I brought all the ring wraiths.
Look,
So
Brian,
I painted them.
we're gonna play while you're here. Shatterpoint, Marvel Crisis Protocol,
Check.
Lord of the Rings.
Check. 18 games of 40k.
I ran out of other stuff.
Magic?
Oh, we could.
did Magic.
Are we
I
going to
didn't
the
bring my
pre-release?
decks.
We're going to the pre-release,
No, but I
Brian.
wanted to go to. That's
We're going to-
tonight.
No, that's a
No,
week
it's
from
next
tonight.
Oh, it's a week.
We're going.
This is the Lord of the Rings
Pre-release.
pre-release.
Yeah.
So I really want to do that.
Oh, we're going.
Oh. Sounds great.
You coming?
I'm
in?
in.
You yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
it
should
be fun.
probably reserve through Lindsay now.
Yeah.
So you're gonna sell out.
Lindsay, if you're watching. Oh, that's I was going to say one more thing about the Leviathan boxes. Because Lindsay also works in a game store and wanted to remind people, while it's very difficult to get right now, just wait for the restock. It's going to get crazy restock. That's what happened
But
with
did they
Indominus.
sell out?
I don't know that Indominus or Leviathan has truly sold out, but Indominus did the first round, and then there were just a
And then it
ton.
came back.
Yeah, so don't panic if you can't get your
And they
copy
keep it in stock. They keep printing it.
forever.
Yeah, they keep printing it.
So, just wanted to know.
You'll be fine.
Well, there you go. Thanks. Redacted.
Hey.
Brian's back. It feels like nostalgic Warhammer. Super
Yeah.
excited for the week. We'll be watching all the battles.
Amazing. I thank you for watching. It takes as much endurance to watch 18 battle parts as it almost does to play them. It's
impressive.
It's a lot. And honestly, it's so great to have the original crew here back.
Right.
Right?
We really wanted, especially this first show, to be the three of us, kind of kicking off the 10 days. It's just got a special feel about
It
it.
really does.
Yeah. It's like a little time machine.
Totally.
Thanks, Highs. Hey guys, good to see you again. So many new and old things to discover. The last weeks, Lindsay playing 40k, Brian back, new screen interface, and 10th.
I know.
Exciting
Well, the
time.
new things never end.
Right?
That first game with Lindsay was great. That was on Tuesday, right?
It's Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that, go check it out. It was Lindsay's very first game.
Yeah.
And I think she's excited for the new.
She's loving it, and she's almost painted all of her Tyranids. I'll have to show you, actually. They look amazing. So it's exciting.
She's a good painter.
Yeah, obviously an experienced gamer.
Yes.
But just first time going 40K.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great time to get started. So it's going to be a lot more.
It is
of
a great
that.
time to get started,
It is.
honestly.
It's-
And I'm so excited for Combat Patrol too.
Yes.
I haven't played a game of Combat Patrol, but hypothetically, I think it's going to be great. And we're going to be playing Combat Patrol as a channel.
We're going to be doing a lot of Combat Patrol stuff. And again, especially for new people walking through how it works and talking about it. So
Yeah, everyone watching here is probably somebody who's played 40K, right?
but if you need someone else to learn how to play 40K,
Exactly.
send them our way.
But also, not only that, you're starting your second army.
Yeah.
And now you can play the Combat Patrol before you've built your full 2,000 points.
It's nice.
And it's really important because if you're trying to play like traditional Warhammer with a 400-point army, it doesn't scale, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right? Like Oath of Moment, super busted at a 500-point
Wow.
scale. And
Watch your mouth, Brian.
don't you think?
You watch your mouth.
That
That might be how they work in.
Oh, you think they'll just keep
We
it?
don't know.
Oh, no way.
We don't know if that's
There's no
different,
way.
Brian.
The truth is, I don't know either. I'm just hoping
be
because they make
ridiculous.
different rules, right, for these.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're attempting to balance them because that's what they've said they're trying to do.
They pick and choose what they modify and what they don't, which can be confusing sometimes, but like you said, it solves a lot of problems, and it means when you're learning that small scale game, you're learning the big scale game at the same time.
Remember we tried to play like a Blood Angels against Orks?
Yeah,
Like
man.
what was it, 1,000 points?
Yeah.
We played it on stream last edition.
Truck's OP.
Yeah.
Because it just offsets the combat by 1 and you just win. It's like,
Right.
you charge me, you kill my truck, I get out and I
We
charge
each have
you.
3 units and then you guarantee to go
it.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, right.
so.
So just little things weren't balanced. And also just like the objectives and how far they
They're
were.
so close.
Yeah,
And secondaries were impossible.
right.
Like truly impossible.
Yeah, they didn't scale
They've
at all.
never made it the game work at small sizes, and if they actually do that this time, I'm excited.
Yeah. Thanks again, Face Day Dreamer.
Hey.
2 by 6 Blade Guard with a Judiciar.
Yeah,
In a Redeemer makes me very happy.
yeah.
That's
It's a lot of
You
points.
don't have 14 seats in Redeemer, do you?
2 times 6 in 2 Redeemers, I imagine.
The Crusader has
16.
16.
So that's 8, and a Blade Guard.
Counts as
Does a
1.
Blade Guard count as 1?
I think
does
so.
count as 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redeemer.
No, Redeemer's 14.
Yeah, I think it does have more
Well,
spots.
this is 14.
Yeah,
Say it again.
Redeemer's 14 and regular Land Raider's 12.
Between the Overwatch on the Land Raider and the strong heroic intervention of the Blade Guard Vet, it's so good. The Flamer Land Raider in Overwatch?
Yeah.
Oh, nasty.
I think it's great. I think Fight First is legit super powerful, and the Judiciar is going to be solid.
Yeah.
And I think, the Judiciar used to be harder to make work because you had to position him such that his effect would work when they charge the unit.
It was very awkward to do.
Right? You had to be
my
quite a
God.
pro player.
Yeah.
And a good opponent could really get around it.
Yes.
Now he's in the squad.
He just does the thing.
He just does it.
Just fight
And
first.
it's great.
He does fight first, which is essentially fight the same effect as fight last.
Yeah.
You know, in a way.
It totally changes the role of the Blade Guard veterans.
Agreed with you. Yeah.
They actually are less durable. They lost their
Strongly
troop
agree.
save. So if they're standing in the open, they're going to get shot. But where they excel is standing around the corner with a brick.
Yeah.
Being on a point, being difficult
Right.
to
If
kind
you
of
have to
get around.
come and charge in at them,
Then it's a
like what you were
problem.
doing with your Von Lions Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Von
exactly.
Ryans. I call them Lions. Von Ryans
Von,
Leapers.
Von Lions Reapers.
Yeah.
Wow,
kinda
that's
cool,
also
too.
a cool name.
Yeah.
That's a Dark Angel unit right there.
Can't go wrong.
But it's the same sort of idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I agree with you. It changes their purpose. They're no longer the unit you put out on the point.
that's
That's the
Terminators.
Terminator. Agreed. So in a funny way, you almost don't need the Land Raider for them because they're standing home.
Yeah, I don't know that you actually need it here.
You don't need it. It's cool.
It's cool.
It's cool as hell.
Exactly.
But you don't need it.
I think they're to protect the Flamer Land Raider, right?
You know,
what
I
stops
think the
the Flamer Land
Flamers
Raider?
protect the Land Raider.
Does that
but-
need protecting?
Charging.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the Overwatch.
Yeah.
You know what?
Who protects the?
Who protects the Blade Guard though?
The Land Raider. The
Yeah.
Land Raider is protecting itself and the Blade Guard.
It's like the best buddy cop movie you've never seen.
Yeah.
Could you picture 12 Blade Guard, and 2 Judiciars just chilling in the back of a Land Raider?
I think it's a really cool squad.
It's a party
Just
boat.
imagine- They're like up against the wall. They're like ready, and they're like, "You got this, you got this." And we like look back at the Land Raider, and the Land Raider looks forward, and just the tank, not the guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes,
Yeah. It does it with the guns.
"Yeah, yeah." You know what? Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Xenodrag.
Hey.
I was going to head down to the LGS to play Horse Heresy, but saw Brian is making an appearance. So where do you take your Primarch's significant other to an anniversary date?
Anniversary date with Gilliman? That's so stressful. Oh my gosh. Oh, I know. We're going to the computer museum.
Dude, it was so good. You guys missed out.
I actually did. I really wanted to
think
go.
The one here in Mountain View.
Yeah.
John, by the end of it, was bored out of his mind. John wanted to die because it was.
Wait, when did you guys go?
We went with Digital
Oh, okay.
Or after
during
BAO.
BAO,
Yeah.
and me and Digital had a great time. We were reminiscing about all the old computer tech.
Yeah.
And John was with us for about 2 hours, but after that, he was tuned out. Like,
Well, he was like, a Bridger and Digital, they just like knew all the things, and I didn't know them. I was like, but that's why you go to the museum, John, to learn the things.
I actually really like the museum. I used to go to it quite a bit because it was on the Google campus.
Ah.
And, there would be lots of guests who come by and, show them around.
Totally.
And I'm a total nerd for computer history.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love, the Babbage's engine and all this sort of stuff. And so totally rad things. And that's a cool little
I
museum.
want to see. I still haven't been.
It's
dope.
actually pretty cool. But I'd say, in Bahamas, the only thing people do is on the water. So I'm going to take them on a boat.
Oh,
little,
okay.
a boat
little,
ride?
little boat ride, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
That's my
nice.
thing.
I can never remember who you dated.
I'm with the con now.
Okay.
But we've been kind of going steady separate, like steady. Like we live our own lives. We're independent. We don't need each other there all the time.
Yeah.
You can
know
ride
if-
in the back of his bike.
I don't know if either of us honestly remembered our anniversary.
Yeah, that's probably right.
It's not a great relationship, but
It works for both of them.
it's
Right.
better than
Yeah.
relationships
Yeah,
past.
exactly.
you know?
I think it works.
This works out well for everyone.
This works out well. It's probably for the best.
Right. I shout out to Xenodrag had messaged me about requesting to try to play Plunging Fire with the Barb Gants.
Yeah.
And it's just really tough to justify standing out in the open to get +1 AP. That's why Plunging Fire is such a difficult rule, I think.
I was so shocked that they added it
Yeah.
because they've never they've had that rule in City Fight.
Yes,
Oh,
in the
yeah.
super dense Hive City fight.
In the
yeah.
in the City Fight game, which nobody ever played.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
had
Fall
that.
Line played it literally twice, so you watch
And
out.
it's a cool rule, and I'm very curious to see how it works. Particularly with think like crisis suits
Then
that
it's
can
good.
diagonally fly up there a little easier,
Yeah.
and they could jump shoot. Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
To jump up there, they're good. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think you have to have a very specific type of unit that can take advantage of it.
Exactly right. This building was higher than your
It's
Barb
too
Gaunt's
tall.
movement too.
So you need something fast that shoots, that can also frankly hang out
Take
there
a hit
and,
back.
And the Barb Gants were just going to get gunned down. So
Or have lone operative and just be unshootable.
That's so mean.
that's really gross. So
I.e.
Vindicare.
Vindicare.
Isn't he already AP 7?
Well,
Yeah, but he's not AP8.
That's true. Could be better.
until now.
I like it. Thanks, Jake.
Thanks again, Martin Titans. There have been many new Brians since Brian's departure. Whilst I assume each of them is a unique human being that brings value, more importantly, which do you think has become the best 40k player?
Oh my god.
What?
So is this out of the people who are Titans?
a lot of
who's the
twists and
best?
turns.
Or the people who are co-hosts?
People named Brian.
There's been a lot of Brian. So like, well, at one point, John and I were also. John was a tall Brian.
Oh, I understand.
You know, I think Shane was a Brian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like Mirror Dimension Terrible Brian? Like
Yeah,
what?
like Bizarro Brian.
Poor Shane.
What is that? I don't picture Shane as having anything in common with Brian.
I mean, pretty much anytime there's a new person, and especially if they have any facial hair, people are like, "Is this Brian?"
This is the Brian they've all been talking
Yeah,
about.
this is like the short Brian or whatever it is. Who has become the best 40k player?
Well, I feel like it can't be John because for whatever period of time John might have been considered a Brian, he's now John.
He's now his own person.
Yeah, he's definitely his own
Yeah,
person.
all Brians grow up to become their own person.
Right, exactly. So it has to be someone who hasn't transitioned
Are you
yet.
talking about Shane? Is Shane the best Brian?
By default, I think that works. That is how Shane would win.
That is exactly
By
right.
default.
Well, there it is.
The two best words in the English language.
By default.
Default.
Win by default. Thanks, Martin.
Oh, thanks again, Martin Brian. I'm afraid to ask, but are you back regularly? Is there anything the other Titans could do to make you more likely to stay? Looking at Bridger.
Well, we could relocate all of you to Bahamas. It is very nice there.
Yeah, no problem. We can do that.
Yeah. I'm not back to stay. I'm here for basically 10 days or something like that. 10 days of 10th.
10th,
Yeah, 10 days of 10th. That's right. And then I do have to go back. As I said, I do have a whole family and life and can't just be all Warhammer, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, have you watched the channel, Brian? Because we've just turned it into our lives.
Yeah.
I mean,
By the way, I get the couch tonight.
yeah.
You're
I'll
on
sleep
the
on the
coffee
lower half of the coffee table and Bridget
Yeah.
sleeps on that top part of the
That
coffee
is
table.
why we have the 2-tier.
There's a 2-tiered coffee table, yeah. I'll just sleep on the board that we play on. Just push
Yeah.
the terrain to the side.
There's a lot of moss now.
Yeah, the moss is going to be cozy. Yeah, it'll be great.
The fake snow is my worry, Brian. snow's
The
gonna
real
get
fake
you.
snow that we used to breathe in and it used to like murder us.
Yeah, you definitely are getting cancer for that.
Yeah.
sorry.
I took so many years off my life.
That's
That
horrible.
fake snow.
But was it worth it?
No.
No, the answer is no. It sucked.
It's horrible.
Hate that fake snow.
All right, thanks, Brian.
It's a Brian.
It's a different Brian.
This is the best, Brian.
I know you can't say anything yet about rules, but based on the stuff revealed on Warcom, what factions are you excited for matchup-wise?
Matchup-wise.
Well, I mean, I'm excited about the factions that I always love.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm excited for the Tau. We'll be playing them. Anytime. Funny enough, even if I wasn't a Tau fanatic, Tau is one of the factions I look forward to seeing the most in any new edition, because it's a faction that they've never figured out,
Yeah. Seriously.
and so it almost always goes in wild different directions. And I'm always excited to see how do you solve this unsolvable problem. It's like a game where you're supposed to do all this stuff, and you've deliberately said this army can only do half of
right.
it.
Exactly.
How do you make that work?
Right.
And it's an interesting creative problem. And so I'm always excited to see Tau for that reason. And I don't mean that to sound bad. It's just like it's a really hard problem.
Yeah.
And you have to get very creative with it.
And I think it's good that they're open to completely fundamentally changing
Right.
them. That was my least favorite thing about the last Tau book, is it wasn't as much of a reimagining as I hoped they did. And I think they're doing it here.
Yeah.
Honestly. So definitely Tau.
I'm excited for that. And of course, the Necrons. I love the Necrons.
Necrons. So cool.
And reanimation is also a thing that they've tried to reinvent every time. How do you get that feeling of something that won't die without making something that won't die?
Right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And hard problem.
It's very difficult.
Hard problem. And really excited to get them on the table.
Yeah. I have a slew of ones that I'm really interested in right now, including ones I didn't expect. So even like Space Marines, I'm excited for.
Oh, yeah. I always love Space
You
Marines.
know, and I am actually more excited for my demons than I have been in a while. So I'm curious.
The thing about Space Marines for me that I don't love is, for me, you know me, I'm kind of a purist about chapters.
Yes.
Right?
This must be a rough time for you.
So I love,
Rip Brian.
I love my particular chapters. Like I want my Ultramarines to Ultramarini. I love my White Scars to be White Scarry. And they're not doing that this time at the index level, at least.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they'll do at the codex level, but it feels like they might not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it'll be more like
detachments or
types of
something.
detachments. Like this one might feel like the Raven Guard one, but really it's like the sneaky Phobos detachment.
Yeah, I don't like
feel
it.
like that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
No,
So
I
it's
get
not
it,
enough for me. I would prefer them to be started to be treated as separate armies,
Right.
much the same way Dark Angels,
Oh, wow.
Blood Angels, whatever, or even Chaos Space Marines are starting to go that way, right? So I would rather them be different factions. And if they had a ton of overlap and most of the day sheets were the same, cool. But in this new world where the same weapon on 2 different squads is a little different, I feel like
not?
they've opened up room that like the White Scars on bikes could be a little better than the normal Space Marines on bikes, right? Like why not?
I can see that.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe the White Scars are not good at being Blade Guard Valorans or whatever,
Right, yeah.
It's cool. And also just limit the number of data sheets. So...
Be more okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that, right. Like, there isn't, Predator tanks in this one. Like, I don't
Right.
care.
Nobody will miss that.
Hey, new Predators look interesting.
No,
though.
I actually kind of like Predators.
They
but
look-
It's not that I like the rules. I just like the look of Predators.
Yeah, they look
but if I
pretty
want to
saucy.
play Predator, I'm going to play Heresy. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If I want to play a Predator, I'll play a Lancer.
fair enough.
No, but
That's what Games Workshop is so happy you said that.
I know. They totally have me. I made a list and I looked at it. I was like, wow, I actually don't have any of these models, and they're all Primaris. And they're like, cha-ching. You got me again.
all right, thanks Team Hivemind. So we know the Avatar of Cain halves damage.
Oh.
How do we think that'll interact with damage 1 going down to half a damage? Will any of you be at LGT this year?
Ooh. Thanks, Team Hive Mind.
So I can tell you, it rounds up.
Rounds up.
Oh, hold on. I can tell you that I've personally decided it goes to half damage.
That's true.
So you need 2 half damage. Do you maintain half damages between rounds, or?
Yeah. You stay at 1.5 wounds left.
You need half dice for that.
No. They can either take another half damage off of you. They can either take another half damage, but if you have 1.5 wounds left and they cut it in half again, you know what I mean?
Well, they're not having your wounds. They're
Well,
having
if there
the
was something that did that.
damage.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, they either need to do a half damage to you, or they need to kill you below 0.
Well, here's the interesting thing is... No, I'm not good.
Adrian's
I've had enough.
trying to actually make this legitimate.
No, this is one of the things that it just rounds up.
Yeah,
It's weird that -1 damage goes to 0 and half damage doesn't, but that's okay. Just live with it.
We had a ton of fun at LGT when we went, but that was many years ago.
awesome. I know.
And a couple of our friends went this past year, didn't they? Or they were going to go.
We were going to go, and then it's just tough. It's just a lot of
far.
travel this year, and so I don't think most of our group ended up not going.
What, it's in like July?
No, it's in September, which is a
September.
problem.
It's a tough time.
Specifically, it's during the Las Vegas team tournament, which people love.
Yep.
It's close.
I love team tournaments.
It's it's great, and it's also on Mel's birthday most years.
You know what you should do? You should tell them to hold the LGT in Vegas, make it a team tournament.
I'm sure LVTT would love that.
Right?
They would be thrilled.
Yeah, LGT. That's the Las Vegas GT. They don't even have to change the acronym. It's fine.
Perfect.
I don't know if I'll make it, but I would only go if the crew went.
Yeah, that's usually
You know
what
what I mean?
happens. And
Like
I think
it's a chance to hang out.
Yeah.
And it's funny enough, it's an easier flight for me, but it's very far for you guys.
it's just so much.
And,
It's real far to
The thing is, when we go to these tournaments, we're also not streaming here.
Yeah, so it's
It's loss of income and it's expensive. It's a lot.
It's a bit of a
and
double
here's
hit.
the thing,
Yeah.
it's like you said about traveling here. Like, whenever I go to England, it's like, we got to do a stream tour. We got to go see everyone,
Yep.
do the shows, which I love, but then again, it becomes
whole
a
thing.
longer, more expensive trip. So that was one of the reasons I ended up not even doing Manchester this year, because I was just like, it's too much, I can't do it. I can't do it, you know?
Makes sense. We'd love to, though.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and
really
it's,
fun.
It's one of those things that would definitely not going to become an annual thing for us, but I think every so often we'll go back
Yeah,
to it.
I would say it's definitely not no at this point, but
Yeah.
we don't have plans yet.
All right. Well, thanks, Nick. Plain and simple.
What's up, Nick?
Do we think leaders will lead to more 10s over 5s as far as squad goes? I'm excited to stick Ironfather Pharaohs with 10 heavy intercessors as a chunky anvil unit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. 100%. And we talked a bit about this in our Space Marines tactics video, which came out today. Yep, that's today.
I don't remember. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it was this
know.
morning.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Space Marines want to have big squads.
Yeah.
And they want to go against big squads because of Oath of Moment.
And I think that this is going to be true of a lot of factions.
I think so, yeah. Because the way that the limitation of characters, it's like, cool, if you have a buff, you want to get as much as you can out of that buff. You know,
And even the missions, like I think there's going to be some armies that play MSU well, but you're not throwing away as much as you used to. Like there was a mandatory throwaway tax you had to do every turn to play the game before,
No, yeah,
right?
exactly.
I don't think the mission really rewards that as much.
It's not full MSU anymore, but you can't go all Death Stars. Like I've played
Strongly
a bunch
agree.
of, I've tried to play Death Star,
Not
and then
gonna
you
go.
draw all the secondaries that are like, all right, send your units to the 4 corners of the board. Okay, I have 2 units, do actions. All right, be in 2 different places and do 2 different things. And you're like, oh, but I just have Death Stars though. Can I just Death Star at them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree, and that is the strong balance. Like, I think you're going to have a few bigger squads, 2, 3, 4, but then the rest is going to be playing the mission.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ferris is a good example of this. He gives them a 5-up feeling pain. He basically makes them Iron Hands. So this is a use of the heavy intercessors that I really like.
Strongly agree.
And you have that center line, and the rest is like.
You already mentioned it, but heavy intercessors now all of a sudden interesting.
Yes,
So many
finally.
factions where it's like, yeah, this is cool, and durability does always matter, and they're durable enough that they actually survive. Whereas in the last edition, they were like, oh, they're durable, so instead of being overkilled by double, they're only overkilled by 5 models.
Well, and they were competing with Terminators. Like there were so many things in that slot of durable Blade Guard Vets, Terminators,
Sure.
and
And they
heavy
weren't the best
intercessors,
of the bunch.
And they weren't the best. You never saw them.
Yeah.
I think uppy downy units you're gonna see in as many armies as you're allowed to take them in. So like Terminators have the ability to leave the board and then come back. Is that a strat or is that innate?
Everyone can leave the board with rapid ingress, but if you have.
The rapid ingress is deep strike in the opponent's turn.
Oh, right. No,
Terminators
I don't think they can leave.
have the
They cannot
teleport
leave.
homer.
No, that doesn't.
They're not uppy downy.
That just lets you come in at. It basically gives you a form of rapid ingress.
It lets you use the rapid ingress for free.
No, that's what it is. It's a form of rapid ingress.
Do Space Marines not have an
That's
uppy
right.
downy unit? They must.
So you're talking about things that go into reserve and then come back later on?
The things that go away at the end of the opponent's turn and then come back.
Not really.
I'm not sure.
I don't think any of the Phobos stuff does that.
But there is a bit of that. There's more of that in the game than there was before.
Yeah, and it's very strong.
And it's very good.
And those are
Unless
the
it's
Especially because of actions and stuff,
right, just for scoring. I think those are going to be pretty prevalent. All right, well, thanks, Highs. With the Leviathan box arriving, I'm thinking of starting Salamanders. Any tips how to start and find out which of this 1,000 Space Marine units are working? Is the sheer amount of units making Space Marines difficult for starters?
Yeah. So depends your approach to collecting.
True.
So one, if you're, for example, if you're a competitive player, then you're always chasing the meta, and you usually want the max of something. So competitive play is a really exhausting way to collect, and particularly if you care about hobby and things like that, it can be really hard. And if you're also a completionist kind of collector, where it's like you want to have a bit of everything, Space Marines is a nightmare,
It's just like impossible.
especially at the rate they bring out new stuff.
That's the thing, yeah.
But if you're none of those and you're just like into it, then it's great. You have everything to pick of, so much new stuff, all playable.
Yeah, I agree. I think if that is your goal, honestly, you cannot go wrong. It's all interesting, it's all fun, and if you like the models, that's going to be evergreen. So
Yeah.
starting on that is a great way to build.
If it was me and today I was starting Salamanders, right? Like, yeah, I'd get those Flamer,
Yeah, the Infernus.
the Infernus Marines.
Yeah.
I'd get some Flame Aggressors too,
Naturally.
right? I'd get characters that fit in both of those.
Yeah.
I would do 10-man Terminators.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Gladiators?
so I would convert them to be Assault Terminators.
Yeah.
And just because that's a thing that feels Salamanders to me.
Yeah.
So I would take those base kits and I would convert them to have shields and hammers because I think that's badass.
Yeah.
I would buy a Land Raider or a Repulsor, whatever your flavor is.
Sure.
I would probably do a Land Raider personally, but whatever. And then I would do a couple of the new dreads. Like I would do the new Shooty Dread, do Brutalis, Ballistas. I would do a few of those just because I think dreads have a great presence on the battlefield. They look great. They feel great. Yeah. They're good for Salamanders. And then, the rest would be dealer's choice, I suppose.
Yeah. And honestly, the things that you said are aesthetically pleasing. It's also a balanced force.
Good core.
It's going to be able to play the game. And this, I think, is even more true than the last edition. If you build a force that feels like a real Space Marine force that is well balanced, you're going to be able to play the game. And it's going to be fine. It's going to be cool,
Yeah, and if you wanted to add to that, a bit of Infiltrators.
Oh, yeah.
Great for mission. You can always do fun, unique side schemes with those. So it's like your main green, but then your infiltrators are like off scheme a bit.
Exactly.
And you could go off scheme with Terminators a bit too sometimes, where they're like first company a little different, which is something they did in Horse Heresy a lot, which got a great kind of vibe. So it's a fun hobby vibe and a few cool characters. I don't know. I think Salamanders are wonderful. I think they're great. And the Flamer personality almost works in every edition, right? Like, oh, you got to get the Eradicators.
Yeah.
Some Melta
You
stuff.
need some Eradicators for
And they're just cool, and whatever way to deliver them.
Yeah, exactly.
Some sort of thing.
So the answer, chat came through, the answer to Uppy Downy Marines is Scouts do it automatically, and Cave and Shrike, when he joins a unit, they do it.
Neat.
Regular. Oh, that's right.
Regular
Shrike.
Scouts are Uppy Downy.
Shrike is super cute because he also basically makes his squad lone operatives. Like, if there's a way to make Vanguard vets saucy, it's him.
Can you put him in Lemon Liminators? No. Can you have 6 Lemon Liminators that can't be...
Yeah, as a jump pack.
So?
Wait, you talking about eliminators?
Yeah.
You can already do that with the Phobos Librarian.
Yeah,
you can make them untargetable?
Yeah.
What?
It's the same, yeah.
It's not as good as Infiltrators.
It's not as good.
I want to... Can I...
Let's do it. We'll play it one of these days.
I won't play it.
You are.
Which faction do we have? The Iron Hands, we have a bunch of them.
Yeah, you do that one.
Fists?
We have... Oh, no, but I get to play Fists.
So do it with the Iron Hands.
Okay. Look. I just want to play Lemon
Do we have a
Liminators
Phobos
again.
Librarian?
I love
I think we
Lemon
might.
Liminators.
Yeah.
Because it came in the box. So we had a ton of them, remember? It came in the starter set, didn't
No,
it?
he came in the Shadow Spear. Or
Which we
whatever.
still had a ton of.
We did have a ton of, yeah.
I still have an unopened one of those.
Yeah,
Wait,
but I
really?
think
Yeah.
that
hear
model in
No.
particular, we
Dang it.
didn't paint a lot of.
The Phobos Librarian?
Yeah.
Well, honestly...
It's boring. He sucked.
No, cool model. You take that back.
So
Very
the
cool
White
model.
Scars Librarian we use today
He is a
Phobos.
Phobos.
Yeah.
And Brian was always like, oh, he's like fast because he's wearing a hood and he's just a regular librarian. I was like, all right, Brian.
I just like the model better.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a great model, but his rules in 8th
Double hood.
and 9th were terrible.
Double hood. Yeah, exactly. No, he's great now. He's great.
All right. Well, thanks again, Martin. Brian, I know you only just got back, but you're Brian, so let's be honest. You have opinions. Since being in the studio, how many ideas have you had? Wait, what?
Just in general. How many thoughts?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Just a ballpark, rough estimate, Brian.
I literally arrived here last night, like 3 a.m. So I only just got to the studio this morning.
Right.
And we were just generally talking about the game. I was trying to get your guys' opinion. So I have a lot of opinions, but they're still forming.
Totally.
Right?
You were hitting it super hard. You're like, what about this and this thing? And how does this thing work? And
I've played a lot of Warhammer.
Yeah.
And I've
like
hypothetically talked a lot of Warhammer. I've playtested a lot of Warhammer.
Yeah.
I know Warhammer.
Yeah.
And this is, as much as it's changed, it's like, it's still Warhammer. It's the same concepts, you know what I mean? Yeah. And if you're really good at, the game of Warhammer, there's only a few questions you really need to ask. And the rest of it is like irrelevant.
So true.
You know what I mean?
You move in my face.
Yeah. Can you do this? Can you do that?
Yeah.
How is the scoring? Is it these 3 objectives that matter, or is it these 2?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a flow to Warhammer that's invisible to most people, but it's an underlying truth that kind of governs the way the game works. And at its core, the game is way simpler than it appears on the surface, and everything else is just sugarcoating that gives it flavor, but it's not actually impacting the way the game works underneath.
Yeah.
And that's why you're surprised. Like, we're really surprised if we saw something that messes with a main mechanic.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh, whoa, they did
Damage
that.
zero? Ooh,
right.
wow.
It's like, okay, cool. That makes me rethink a core aspect of the underlayer of the game, not the surface layer. Like, oh, cool, your squad does that, my squad does that. Who cares? Are you gonna kill me? No? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter how you get to the results.
Yeah.
It's only do you get to it or not, right?
But Brian, that's enough about Warhammer. What do you think about the water cooler?
I never interacted with it, but you said it has a finicky machine spear.
It sometimes forgets that it has water.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of reassure it. You got to talk to it.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
so it's a standard
okay.
ritual of awakening. You
happens
have
to
to do.
all of us. You have water. Please give me
Happens
that
to all of us,
water.
doesn't happen to me.
Do I have water?
Thanks again, Martin. Thanks, Fry Diddy. Did I just go back in time?
Yeah, you did.
Hashtag new edition old crew.
That's right.
We're throwing it back for the new edition.
That's right.
Thanks, Brad Diddy.
Thanks, Liberty Fires. Adrian, I think my Smash Chaplain on bike is gone.
Oh.
Tell me it will be okay. Brian, we haven't met. Don't know if you've heard of me. Top 3 sweaters, go.
This is a very Liberty Fires question.
Liberty Fires asks a lot of top 3s.
Liberty Fires!
Well, I have 3 sweaters.
Yeah.
For sure that I brought. with me.
That wasn't the question.
No. Hold on. I'm not going to name top 3 sweaters in the world.
Do you own 3 sweaters?
No. Hold on. I'm answering the question.
Okay.
You guys aren't letting me get there.
I'm not going to stop you.
I brought at least 3 sweaters, and I'm going to name the top 3 out of them. Okay?
Okay.
And so I'll wear on the first tournament.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah, you have to be
on the
careful.
first tournament day, I want to wear it on the finals tournament day, but I don't want to wear it both days. But I might not make it to the final day
You're right.
if I don't wear it the first day.
That's hubris.
So,
You should just like pop out and be like, ah.
yeah. So that's my first sweater. It's super powered, and actually, it's like crazy cable knit, like heavy sweater.
Oh, yeah.
And it was made by my wife.
That's amazing.
She knitted it. It took like
cool.
2 years
That's
to
a lot.
knit. And this is like working all the time on it.
Yeah.
And it is mint. It is crazy good.
What?
And I saw like every stitch of it coming
Yeah.
together. So that sweater is intense. I'm excited to show that off. And it has so much sweater energy
Yeah.
that I'm going to be undefeatable when I'm wearing that
True.
sweater.
You're definitely making it today too. for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Now you need it for day 2, and you've used up all the energy from
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Why? It's
What
the
sweater are you
sweater's
gonna
good for 1 game, Brian.
It has to recharge. You know what I mean? You can't burn its energy all in one. You know.
Can't even make it through a day of a tournament. It's 1 game of sweater energy.
That's why it's
So
like,
I have another sweater,
He's moving
which
on.
is like more like a beach style surfer sweater.
I'm so curious.
What does that even mean?
It is what it is.
Surfers don't wear sweaters.
They do at night when they're like, singing songs by the campfire on the beach with their acoustic guitar. It's that kind of sweater.
Yeah.
You'll see when you see it, you will know I'm 100% correct. I even bought it from a surfer store, so it absolutely is that.
Wait, does it have like a neck? Like a like a
No, you'll see. It
I
has a
can't even
hood.
find the words to describe it.
So that one I'm going to give second, and then I
Okay.
guess I'll give this one third. This one's pretty thin and chill. It's
a
good.
good
It's got
sweater.
the little buttons.
Yeah. It's kind of like a sweater cardigan
Yeah,
mashup.
exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
All
Top
right.
3 sweaters.
Top 3 sweaters.
There you go.
Smash Chaplain, kind of gone, yeah.
Yeah, it is kinda fun.
Yeah.
But I really like the new one. He's cool. He's like he's like a leader of people instead of just a, big jock.
Which
Agreed.
is kind of what they were supposed to be all along.
Yeah.
Correct.
Alrighty, thanks, Caldorf. 2 years. I swear I have seen Brian on more recently, but no sweater and reddish hair. Who's that?
That's the best, Brian.
But
That
sincerely,
is the best Brian by default.
Yeah.
but sincerely great to have all the Titans together. Look forward to the improbable rolls, the blahs, and the good talks.
Listen, new edition, new opportunities to blah things.
There's so many blahs. We tried to get him out before this week, but look, they're definitely coming.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of blah.
There's
blah,
many
blahs.
of it next.
How do you think we're going to get through 18 games? We have to at least blah half the rules.
It's
I just
overwhelming.
can't believe how effective chat is in under 24 hours of reading data sheets at correcting us.
They just like absorb
It's a
it.
hive mind.
It's
though.
so fast.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, the things that chat messages are not always correct.
No, I have to
So
filter
if you
I do
took
have to
everything
filter it.
chat said, they're getting way more rules wrong than we
Yeah.
are.
Oh, it was particularly egregious the last couple weeks as people are like getting rumors and they're like, this thing's this thing, and it's like, oh really? And then we do it, and then the next turn we're like, actually that was 100% false.
Totally. And the thing is, a lot of times there's conflicting, like Games Workshop makes this complicated. For example, some of the rules in their core book, they write it in their core book.
Yeah.
And then they contradict it in their mission pack. Right?
Yeah.
Like, why would they do that?
well, because they want like casual play, and
Nope.
competitive play.
Who
and-
uses that?
Who uses the core book?
Right.
Casual players. Like
No,
super
because
hyper
what's casual
players.
play?
Open war, where you just kill each other.
Yeah, that's not a real thing. So
They took out open war.
they took out open war.
There's a mission in there that's just kill your
Yeah,
opponent.
there's one mission.
Yeah.
Why aren't they just using the cards that like everyone else? This mission is not good.
I don't tell it to
And
narrative
that's
players,
one
Brian.
mission. So casual players are just
Like
going to play
narrative
one
players,
bad mission
narrative
forever?
players want to deep strike turn 1.
Why? If
'Cause
they've
it
already figured
fits
out it's
their
not
narrative.
good, it's not good for the game.
Right.
If you want to deep strike turn 1, get a drop pod or something. Like, you can do
Yeah.
it.
No, I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement.
You know what I mean?
I think it's very
You're
strange
just
that they
ruining
didn't
my
do it.
narrative right
So
now?
yeah, so that's a funny thing, right? Like in the book, you can deep strike turn 1, and then in the tiny little mission packet, size 6 font, no deep strike turn 1. Why? Like, what are they trying to get people? It's like a gotcha.
It's 100% gotcha.
And then in the mission pack, if you table an opponent, you win
Yeah.
in the book. But in the other mission pack,
You know, that's also
No.
true in Marvel Crisis Protocol, Brian. I learned that at this event.
yeah. So why
You
didn't
could be
GW change
behind.
that too?
They could
Like,
actually
doesn't
have
make
enough
sense.
points to
Right.
win the game, and then you table them and they lose the game.
Yeah.
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 I was
So-
very interested in the game until you said that.
Well,
But
it,
you
it
know what I'm saying?
almost
Like,
never happens.
I don't like that because it's already hard enough to learn the rules. But why do they spend words and time
Yeah.
writing contradictory rules at the same day that they release?
It's very counter to the whole
Like,
ethos.
cut that whole chapter out of the book and just put it into the other thing, or leave the mission pack in the book,
Yeah.
whatever. But I think they should cut it out because they intend to evolve it. So just cut it out. Don't put it in.
Yeah.
That I don't like. I don't.
Hey,
GW, cut those pages.
I told GW.
Listen, I'll still pay the same amount for the book. Cut the pages.
I told them two things, Brian. I told them get rid of Forge World. I told them give us the index cards. I didn't
Wait,
talk
you
to them
told
about
them to
this
get rid
at
of
all.
Forge World? That
Yeah,
was you?
That was
Yeah,
me.
he's like, I don't like it.
You're the reason
I
they cut all
told them.
those
I
units?
said, guys, do we really need Forge World?
Oh, you know what? You just forgot to tell them to get rid of all Custodes Forge World
Yeah,
too.
yeah, funny how that
so,
works.
But that's why Custodes stuck around.
I'll message them to be like, Bridger left this out.
Yeah. Slight mistake. Happened before with Custodes. Don't worry about
Although
it.
at the end of the day, I'll be the one sad because it's all my Custodes Forge World models.
Yeah, you're gonna be pretty sad, Brian.
Yeah, Bridger was just like, I'll just play your Necrons now.
Yeah, I guess I play Necrons.
Thanks, Harry. Brian, go Nids. What kind of combos with the Tyranosite drop pod do you see as competitive?
Oh, that's a great question.
Is the Tyranosite core book or is it Forge World?
It's core. It's plastic
core,
kit.
yeah.
I haven't
always forget that.
given enough thought to the Tyranosite, except for the fact that they didn't do what I requested, which is make it just a transport, because I think that'd be super cool.
So we just hover around?
Yeah, like you can, because you actually can only drop deep strike it.
Yeah, it's just a drop
Because it
pod.
works like a drop pod.
So who do you
But it
need to
then
deliver?
moves after that.
Who do you need to deliver?
So the if you can put Hive Guard in, that's very interesting because they have these cool shot cannons that are relatively short range. They're anti-vehicle, which again, hard to find, and I think they're 3 damage each. So the book does lack
So
in
it's probably the
anti-tank.
best use of it.
Yeah, that's the go-to for sure. It's the only thing that I'm not like,
Because you're not trying to come down to a 9-inch charge. So if you're drop podding, you're shooting.
you're dropping in and shooting. The Zoanthropes also have a tough range thing, but because they give so many other benefits,
You want them back.
you bring them back.
Yeah,
So
you have them shoot at the midboard, not the backfield.
I think it's Hive Guard.
Okay.
I wish Warriors were more interesting. I just don't think they're super interesting now.
There is
And again,
there
you're
is
not-
a vehicle 2 up?
Is it too?
What are they thinking?
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. Man.
Good. So that's cool. That's probably the way to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, which you probably shouldn't, but if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it.
Because drop pods, the problem is any remotely decent player can screen.
Yeah, that's the problem. And again,
Tyranosite, you even need more room to come down.
Yes.
Because you need room for the thing,
Huge, yeah.
and then you need to come out around it.
yeah. And
So it's really hard to place.
you know what? Since it is Space Marine Day, you know what I think it goes into every single Space Marine list is 2 infiltrators right off the bat. They're just even
as-
more
yeah.
essential.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
in a funny way, sometimes you're like further back when you drop than if you just start on
You
your deployment.
started.
And if you and that's not even an exaggeration. It's very real.
But Brian, it's the counter drop pod tech. See, they come in with a drop pod full of stuff, and then you come in with a Tyranosite and you blow up their drop pod.
I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds really great.
Not wrong.
Thanks, Hamsterdam. Hey, Titans. With new toughness in 10th, do you think Repulsor Executioner with Las Cannon, excuse me, sir, that's a Las Talon. Oh, that's Primaris.
I mean, cancel this question.
What would another dedicated anti-tank or Knight Space Marine vehicle be?
Yes.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot, but the
lot.
Executioner is totally good.
Executioner is great. I also really like the Lancer, as we mentioned.
The Gladiator Lancer.
Gladiator
Probably
Lancer.
a little better because of price point.
Yes. Well, probably. That's the thing. So
It's always been cheaper.
Executioners always have like a ridiculous amount of guns. I don't know if you noticed. They actually consolidated a lot of the profiles into the repulsor
Defensive,
array
yeah.
and then the something array. So
Good.
There's a lot of
Shooting
extra
that
stuff,
gun was like shooting some whole armies.
but there's still like 7 weapons on top.
There's still a lot of guns
Still a lot
after
of
they
them.
consolidated some
Yeah.
of the guns together.
So there's a lot of profiles that don't really match the big cannons, right? So the Gladiator is just more
More
efficient.
purpose built.
Exactly.
Everything in 40K you want purpose built.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. I don't think this one's bad. I even think the regular repulsor is interesting because it still has the Las Talons.
Well, in the transport capacity.
Yep. But you know, Bridger is kind of the king of the Las cannons right now.
But dude, put me in, coach. If we're talking vehicles with Las Talons, the stupid servo turret
Yeah.
that moves 4 inches,
They're cute.
hits on 2s. Oh my god, it's so
Overwatch-
good.
Hey, Overwatch on
Force.
force.
It's so
And
cheap.
it's a twin Las cannon. So you
Oh.
get
Although
double
last
purpose.
cannons aren't the best to Overwatch
Jeez,
with.
it's just get yourself some servo turrets today.
Do you? Should you? I don't think
Yes,
so. Don't get
100%
servo turrets.
yes.
No, I kind of like them.
They're actually
Honestly, yeah.
insane good.
I'd
Brian.
love to see you use a weapon platform that moves 4 inches.
I will.
Good.
Just
No,
show me some
Brian,
first.
they're so good, dude.
They feel good.
They're so good.
Well, because remember, it's Overwatch
Okay.
is also when they move.
No, I get it.
It's like
So good.
But it's a certain range away. It's not infinite range.
24 inches is Overwatch. It just
okay.
dominates a whole alley of the board.
I don't like them
with
as much
one
as,
little model.
let's say, the Gladiator Reaper, but they are interesting, and that is what I was referring to.
And the Gladiator models are, they look good. I painted a
so
few of them
fancy. Oh, yes.
for the Ultramarines, and I had a great time with them. They're one of the easiest tanks to magnetize.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, they actually snap together without magnetization.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually not magnetize the guns and it works. So, I mean, it sounds dumb, but a lot of times you have to buy like 10 kits.
No, it's
lost
just every
some of
time
your
we've done that, Brian, we lose guns.
The little guns on the side.
They're just gone forever.
They're gone forever. I'm sorry.
Anytime
They
you
don't hold.
didn't glue something and didn't magnetize it, it's gone. We don't have it.
God damn it.
But it's kind of better.
That's
'cause
why we
now
can't have nice
We
things.
can run them as anything. Actually, no joke. We've had these things for what, 2 years now? 3 years was the start of last edition.
didn't even know.
Bridger and I literally just discovered like 2 days ago that you had the other guns. We've been playing them as Reapers this whole time. And we're like, if only we oh my god! And then we found Assassins back there too. We're like, ah!
We did.
We do have a lot of models. So.
We will play them as those things soon.
A lot of discovery.
You guys suck.
Thanks, Bryce, for whoever
Hey,
made.
what's up, Bryce?
For whoever made the new amazing overlays. They look great. Thanks, Bryce. Also, the new Outrider squads can have an attached ATV. Super exciting for Dark Angels. And welcome back, Brian.
Thank you. I think it's exciting for everybody. I think
really cool.
it folds them in a way that's more interesting because they're not as
Yes.
cool as a standalone squad.
Yeah.
And I like it. We only own them painted for the Ultramarines, but we
Yeah.
don't own any bikes
Right.
for the Ultramarines.
Exactly.
Because generally we kind of split the factions, so we had different things for different factions, which now they've kind of consolidated such that you need to have everything to do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll have to bulk up some of our collections to let that happen. So I'll add some to the White Scars.
Yeah.
And then I'll add some bikes to the Ultramarines.
Exactly.
And then we can run those as
I
squads.
just ordered some, so we should get those soon.
Cool. Excited for that.
You know what else is exciting? Outriders can go in sixes now, right? They couldn't before?
Correct.
That's a big change.
I didn't even think about that.
They can go into
I
sixes.
like how you guys just glazed over that
No, I
game.
didn't.
Oh, come on. ATV is a pretty big deal.
No. I in general, the squad can be chunky now is kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
And then you throw a character in it, obviously, so it's 6 plus 7 up with a character, and then with the ATV, it's a chunky unit and a lot of wounds. High toughness, a lot of wounds.
It's just so cool.
It's great. Yeah.
Adrian, Ethrain messaged you something on Discord, something about Titan Watch infiltrators.
yeah.
I don't know. You check it. I'll keep going.
So Ithrain has been working on new Titan Watch.
Ooh.
So this is Infiltrators, which, by the way, because a lot of people were asking, we are going to be doing a second pass at Titan Watch, which is our community-driven death
No
watch.
way.
And Korkanos, the meme lord, is going to be kind of in charge of it. We're just waiting for all the information to be out.
Are we doing like a wedding registry type thing where there's like...
We're going to be a bit more organized this time and be like, you know what? We don't need a 7th chaplain. Well, we need a 7th. We don't need an 8th.
Yeah.
And be more organized. So it's exciting.
Right. That's fun.
All
Anyways.
right. Thank you, Gasanova. Oh, sorry. Just going back to Bryce real quick. Brian, do you know Bryce almost has Shatterpoint fully painted?
Ooh.
Really?
He's been slaving away at it. I'm so excited to play Shatterpoint with him.
I like the way Bryce paints models. They look great.
Oh, his
Yeah,
terrain looks
it's a
gorgeous.
cool look.
I want to do a short on Shatterpoint with his stuff.
Bryce is one of our local guys, friends we've been playing with forever.
Yeah.
Long before the channel.
Such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
Bryce is
One of the
awesome.
best.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gasanova. You guys are fueling the hype train for me. Thanks for the great content. Awesome to see you, Brian.
Thank you. Yeah, we're all so hyped.
I can't wait.
We started a forum internally about like what models we need to get for 10th
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
Well, this is probably like 80,000 points of models already.
It's a lot.
We're so excited. And it's like a new edition really encourages new play styles, which makes you want to get some. It's like, oh, forget all these old plastic, like get all
Right.
this new stuff. But for, it's a lot of work for you at home. You have one army and you're like, oh, I got to add these 10 units.
Yes.
But for us, it becomes monumental.
Right.
Like we need to add like 100,000 points of models.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's out of hand.
And so it's if we hired most of the painters you know about, they couldn't handle it in a year.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
But Brian, I need somebody to paint my Shatterpoint.
Like genuinely, we would have to eat up the entire commission painting industry to get this painted within a reasonable time frame. And I don't mean that as an exaggeration. Like the entire industry.
Yeah, pretty much every faction has new stuff that
Yeah.
we want, and a lot of it.
And that's
scale.
just to like cover the bases.
yeah.
That's not even extravagant. That's
No,
not
yeah.
3 of everything or something.
It's a problem.
It's you know, if you were to commission paint, just what we need to kind of cover all the ideas we have. My instinct is it's probably like $200,000 plus of commission painting, and it would take like a year and a half to get it done. Yeah. So we're definitely trying to be we're super hyped for everything, and we've got to try to like pare it back. Like, we'll get this, we'll get that.
Hard decisions. Yeah.
GW's definitely made this a game that you can never stop paying for.
Oh, so unfortunately,
They're
very,
good at
very
that.
smart.
They're good at it.
that's
Listen,
their
they make
thing.
good models.
They do. Curse them. So these are these infiltrators from E3.
Yeah, I get to see them. You guys don't get to see them.
Yeah, they're very.
Well, actually, join the Discord probably.
Yeah, check it out. They
Ooh,
look awesome. I'm excited.
so good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Highs. If I target a unit with adaptive strategy, does it lose this ability if it doesn't pass the battle shock test? So the question
good
is,
question.
if you use a strat and then they're battle shock,
Right.
they can't be targeted by a strat
Right.
anymore.
So my understanding, I'm not an expert on this, but my understanding was no, they don't lose it. Because
Right.
it says you just can't target a unit with a strat. It's not that they can't be under
Yeah,
the
I believe
influence
that's
of a
the way
strat.
it's written. So
Right.
that was my thought as well.
Also, I've just learned that Highs, British, because they said that we should produce 40k baby rompers.
Rompers
Not really a word we use
Highs?
in the States
is not British.
because they paid with euros.
Yeah, Highs is very German.
But
Oh, so he thinks British and European is the same thing.
no, but that's British
American.
English. Romper's British English.
Well, I don't know
So
what
what
the Germans
form
say.
of English do you think Germans speak?
Just German, not German English. Just German.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe
They speak
American
a European.
English.
No, they speak a European English.
They use the word romper in Melody. We don't use the word romper in the States. Don't be
No,
ridiculous.
rompers
We
can.
do, but that's for like young people.
Young
Not that
folks?
young. Not
Wait,
babies.
wait.
I mean, like 20-somethings. Like you're like a fashionable like young lady. You're like you got your summer romper.
What?
No.
A romper is an no. I'm serious. This is okay. Okay, hold on.
First
Someone
of all,
back me up.
No, hold
like
on.
a-
I'm backing you up in a different way. I'm just trying to say this is a word that exists
Yeah.
that applies to a certain kind of clothing, and it is the correct word. It's not that it's like a fashionable only word. It is just like a technical word for a kind of
I
clothing.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
I'm
glad we agree.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I don't understand.
I think Siri summed it up for us.
Yes, we absolutely should make baby rompers.
I mean, doesn't Teespring do that already?
I don't.
It does.
do
Sorry,
baby
that was a question, but it was rhetorical.
We can do baby stuff now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do baby
Teespring
stuff.
does baby stuff.
I thought we looked
Like
that up for
onesies.
Magnus.
No, we can
Magnus
do
did nothing
onesies.
wrong.
They have stuff. They do have baby stuff.
Well, dang, we gotta get on that.
We gotta. Well, we don't know how big Magnus's baby is now.
Well, I'm sure
Are you
there's
saying he
other-
has a fat baby?
No, I'm saying
Wow.
the baby grew up a lot since that was a relevant. Okay, I'm gonna move on.
Wait, my suggestion is Screamer Killer, which is yours?
Like as an emote on the.
Oh, for baby rompers?
Yeah, it's Screamer Killer.
Oh my god.
Makes
yes.
perfect sense.
I think-
Or the puking Tyranid.
Puking juice.
People were very confused on it yesterday with the thumbnail. They're like, are they excited or not excited? They were like, yes.
Correct.
Thanks, Blake. The Earth is healing. Brian has returned to the stream. +1 CP for Brian.
Oh, what did
Oh man, I could use that CP.
Not going back to that system.
Oh, that infamous game.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna take super chats for CP. All right, now that my turn's done, we're going to Adrian's turn. We're gonna stop that feature.
Look, we got too many. We had to cut it off.
It was brilliant.
Thanks, Blake, as always.
Thank you. So glad to be back.
Oh, CP guy.
Thanks, CP guy. Thoughts on a Bloodthirster, Ronnie Bashbro list, and what are you hoping to see with World Leaders in 10th? Predictions may be viable?
So this is referring to the fact that in the Demon preview, we saw that you can take up to 25% of your force.
Great.
In like a matching god.
Love
So
that they let you do this.
It's awesome. So for World Leaders, you can take 25%
Corn demons.
Corn Demons. So definitely too early to say, but it is super cool.
And it is a great, I think it's a great flavor. And the army has so few data sheets that you need that extra help. But the corn demon data sheets don't fill the gaps that World Leaders have.
The Bloodthirster specifically, I'd say, doesn't.
Right.
Like, the Hounds could be interesting.
Sure. Okay.
because they are kind of like, fast. They're fast. Like,
Demons do have like deep strike shenanigans generally, and that can help.
yeah, if they end up getting that.
Yeah,
right? 'Cause I don't-
right.
did they
And you
have
won't
it
get
before?
will you get their strats if you ally them in? No, probably not, right?
I'm doubtful.
Doubtful.
Because I think it's like one detachment. The way everything gets written, it's like
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
include them in your detachment or something.
It's probably
like
for the
that.
best.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is probably gone. So I don't know if it's the most powerful combination, but it is fine.
It's good vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think World Eaters was already written to be a 10th edition set of rules. Like when you were playing them in 9th edition, they already had very few strats. They had this detachment set up.
Yep.
They had this character, that character modifies a little bit. So I feel like when I first saw that, I was kind of like, oh, they're probably not going to change them a ton, but maybe they will. I don't know.
I mean, they totally
changed
blood tithe.
the blood tithe. Yeah,
it's like something else now, which is fine. It's cool, but in the same vein, I do hope that they kind of keep the same philosophy because I think it was a very successful book. Not only
did a good
was
job.
it strong, it was easy to pick up. It was
Good
fun,
flavor.
and it played like the army, and so it was just an amazing all-around.
Yeah, that's the thing. I over-index on plays like the army. Yeah. I really want it to feel like what you expect it to feel like, and they really did nail that, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Predators viable in 10th, especially the last cannon one. Yeah, actually, even the autocannon.
No, the autocannon ones.
Yeah.
Because when you get out of a predator, you get reroll wins. They're like falcons.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to do that. So
Predator is not a transport.
What?
you were thinking about the Razorback.
Oh, Razorback.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Predator's the old school dedicated tank.
Kill shot.
It has the top cannon and the sponsons.
Yeah.
So it is
Those
last
are
cannon.
different models, huh?
It's a last
Very
cannon.
different, yeah.
It's a last cannon platform.
Yeah, and autocannons are interesting.
But you could put two last cannons on a Razorback. The two top last cannons, can't you?
Yes.
Yes, you can. I didn't even.
That's why I thought of them as the
Nobody
same.
uses Razorback because nobody ever had to transport Firstborn Marines anymore.
Right. And I know we're talking about Razorbacks now. They have the Falcon thing.
Yeah, when you get out, you get reroll wins.
I'll be honest, I didn't look at them at all. So
Oh, they're good.
now I'm interested.
Oh, they're good.
But now they can take Primaris as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you put the flamers
you
inside.
put Hellblasters in that thing. The reroll wounds, they're
Put the
going
flamers
wow.
in, jump out, reroll your wounds.
Oh my gosh.
It's all right.
Oh, wow.
Transports, I have a feeling that transports are good.
Yeah, I think so.
Before we proceed, do either of you want the final sugar ball? I've eaten a lot of them.
These are like Taco Bell donut sugar things.
I think I've eaten 2,500 calories of these
Yeah.
Sure.
while we've been sitting here.
No, we don't want them.
No,
We're
it's
good.
just life.
I think
All right.
Bridger should finish it.
Last one's for me then.
We appreciate the offer. So imagine there was a world in which you both wanted it.
Yeah.
We waited until there was one left.
Well, I knew both of you wouldn't want it. I knew probably neither of you
He
wanted
blacked out, looked down, and saw there's one left. Oh no!
He's not going to remember anything about this stream, in fact.
No.
He's going to black out
Sugar
entirely.
blackout.
it. No, yeah, I'm gonna crash all weekend. Thanks, Evan. Great to see you, Brian. You helped me get back in 40k and loving Tau again. I'm super excited to learn 10th from the Titans team and community.
Thank you. Excited to have you back. And I'm excited to be playing Tau. And so we'll learn it together sometime next week.
Job.
I've been reading a lot about it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting.
It's gonna be awesome. Thank you as always, Evan. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a lovely evening, day.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Thank you, Ultra Necron Marine. Great to have you back, Brian. Have you been playing or hobbying while on Titans hiatus?
I have not been playing because there's just no one to play with.
Yeah.
Sad. And I did do a bit of hobbying, but not too much. The thing is, hobbying for me, I do love hobbying, but it was always about the excitement to get it on the table, right? So I used to hobby a ton when I was living here. Bridger, you don't need more sugar. We gotta stop Bridger.
I'm sorry, I put it within his reach.
You want this?
He's drinking the
He's
second
he's
Baja
going
Blast.
for his second liter
No, I didn't
of
finish the
Baja
first one.
Blast.
It's like watery now, so I'm going for the second one.
The other one will be just as watery. It had the same amount
No,
of ice.
it's a different look. It's about the ratios, okay? As it goes
God
down.
damn it. Anyway, I used to hobby a lot, but it was about like getting it onto that next stream
that cycle.
or that
helps.
next tournament.
Yeah.
And it really pushed me to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I'm not actually painting like a single squad for stream, I got to paint like a whole army, and big army projects are a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot. And it's hard to motivate yourself when you're not necessarily going to share it with someone else and play it with someone else. That cycle is so important.
And I'm a person with actually a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
Like I'm really into gaming, so I do that. My family, like my daughter and I do a lot of Lego.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Hardcore Lego.
Yeah.
You know, so We were playing Magic and things like that too. Things that are easier to play online.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was hard to prioritize hobbying in that world. And the only thing, as I said, I stopped to paint the full Fellowship of the Ring.
I love it.
And that was a lot of fun. I really did enjoy that. And I keep looking in my closet like, oh man, I really want to paint that. But I want to paint like single models.
Oh, Brian, if I got a
Full
game for
squads.
you, it's called Shatterpoint.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I'm more into painting G-Dub models at the moment because I have so many interesting ones.
We could have so many interesting Star Wars characters. Or, I know you're a big Marvel fan, Brian.
Yeah, but haven't you painted all of those
No,
already?
I purchased every Marvel model.
I see.
I have not yet.
Well, you could send them home with me and I'll bring them back in 2 years.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you really want to send.
Yeah, you want to think this through?
Ooh, have you seen Dormammu, though? He's
No, you could show it to me
pretty
after.
Cool.
Isn't he like the size of the table?
He's huge. I haven't built him yet.
Wait, really?
I mean, he's supposed to be the size of like a planet.
He's slightly smaller than a Sentinel.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's not that big.
He's so big. What are you talking about?
small.
Look, GW has spoiled you with like knights,
Yeah, I'm
and
spoiled.
Gargants.
That's what I'm saying.
but most
That's all I want now.
miniatures
Yeah.
games don't have things as big as knights.
Yeah,
and
because they're not
Gargants.
as cool. Is it the size of a Baneblade? No,
Okay.
then I'm not interested.
All right. Okay.
But if Dormammu should be like a terrain piece and you basically play on it.
Just to the top of the head.
Dormammu.
Yeah.
All right, we're going back because I missed one. I'm so sorry. Thanks, damn it. Brian returns.
Hey.
So amazing to see you on again. I hope you're going to Maelstrom Mixer next year so I can complete my Titan meetup bingo. I'll be bringing my full Sister of Silence army for 30K next year.
Wow,
Whoa.
amazing.
That's super cool.
I love the Sisters of Silence. So I'll be honest, I'm very, very, very interested in playing Heresy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm super excited about that. I want to find time for that. We want to find time while we're here probably because I'm learning so much 40K, but be really excited. I was actually thinking of coming for Maelstrom Mixer this year,
Right, yeah.
but I was already going to be coming like a few, like a month
was very
later,
close, yeah.
so it just didn't work. Maelstrom Mixer, for everyone who doesn't know, it's just an event of our local club.
The narrative event. We did stream the first game of that on the channel where Saray and I played, and it's everything has to be painted well. Beautiful boards. It was a whole weekend of interconnected games.
That's kind of the club that a lot of us met up in, and a lot of the philosophy for the way we play came out of that club, right? So it's a lot of fun. Those are the kinds of events I'm most excited to come in. You hang out, you play. Like when you're at a tournament, it's kind of high pressure. The games are so fast. You don't get that social time, and you're not always playing with your friends. You're playing with strangers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like you're exhausted by the end of the night. You got to go to bed because you got to wake up for a round in the morning.
Sounds
I don't
awful.
know. No, it's not. It's its own kind of thing, but you got to have the energy for it, right? Whereas those kinds of more chill weekends, show off your beautiful army, have fun. It's a different energy, and it's a lot easier to travel for.
Yeah.
Frankly, I find tournaments a lot easier when they're local. It's hard to traveling for a tournament, the hotels and everything. It's exhausting, man.
It's a lot, and you just kind of conk out. It's
exhausting.
It's a lot.
Kills your back too. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely. Saying, play nights.
All right.
David.
Thanks, Blackbird. Welcome back, Brian. It's good to see the crew back together. What are data sheets or combos you guys are excited for so far?
That we can talk about.
That we can talk about. So, Lysander and Assault Terminators is very saucy. They got toughness. They got an extra wound. They got a 4+ invuln save.
And Lysander's rad.
And he's amazing. He's like a baby. He's the new transhuman, basically. So, he's super cute.
He's an Imperial Fist captain.
Yeah,
Terminator
Terminator
captain. And he's still a Firstborn Marine. They haven't upgraded him yet.
I know.
They will,
And,
I'm sure.
And he hasn't ascended to like Chapter Master, which
I think they'll
he either
give him
needs to
anyway.
die or he needs to.
Yeah, just kill him.
I'm on board with killing him.
Forget what he. Yeah.
Everyone else has a Chapter Master. I want a Chapter Master, okay?
Who is the chapter master?
Some guy no one cares about.
That's the same as Salamanders. They don't have the chapter master there either.
You've at least, yeah, okay.
They have the Forge Father, and he's not the
He
chapter
gave
master.
like better than Chapter Master though, last edition.
Only to Flamers and Melta.
I'm not pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's all right.
Right. So I'm excited for that.
It's a cool combo.
There's a ton of Ultramarine stuff I'm excited for. I won't go through all of them.
You know what? I'm really excited to see Calgar on the table.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Calgar sucked.
Calgar with his Victrix?
What?
You
He
put
used
him
to
in-
suck.
Oh yeah.
He did used to suck.
Now, oh my God.
He's cool.
Extra command point, which we saw how good that is. Ability to fall back in charge, advance in charge, huge.
And you put him in a squad with Victrix that add to the squad.
Yeah. And then they just, it's so cool.
We're gonna be playing that
Yeah, for
next
sure.
couple days. We'll be playing it.
You can make like a mega squad. You could have like
Let's do
him and a lieutenant in a giant squad of like 10 heavy intercessors.
Yeah.
So you end up with like 15 Space Marines wandering around.
Push them in.
Oh man.
Push them in
I
the
mean, I
middle
was
of the
looking at
table.
like Blade Guard or Aggressors, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Agreed.
Pretty
Only
good.
downside is you can't put a Judiciar. That would be like,
Put them in what?
you can't put a Judiciar with them.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's the one icing on the cake that you can't do.
Probably for the best.
Too far.
He's not a
Too far?
stacking. It would actually be too far.
It's too far.
That's what we're trying to avoid.
I know.
Okay. Good. I'm glad we agree.
All right, thank you. Adolin, hey Titans, what do you think about dropping in Sporocysts into midboard with Tyranosites now that they aren't a fortification? Also, Brian is back.
Oh.
Brian, you are back. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Wait, they're not fortifications.
What used to be it was a Sporocyst a fortification?
The Tyranosite, which is the fortification.
Yeah.
So the Tyranosite makes a drop pod, or it makes like the building that poops out spores.
Just like that.
Yeah,
Correct.
Exactly.
We haven't read this data sheet very closely, have we? Because it's like the kind of thing that was kind of on the fringe of playability before.
Do I need to?
Yeah, bring it up.
Bring
Yeah.
it up. Bring it up.
Oh, we have a
Alright.
thing for this?
We do have a thing for this.
Oh,
We have
wow.
the technology.
We've gone 2 hours into this
Space Marine
good
focus.
talk before
Yeah, time
I
to
have to
change.
find OBS. Everything's
Bridger
hiding from
was
me.
not prepared for.
Oh my God! Look
my
at Hollywood Squares. All right, Tyrannosite. What's the name of the thing? I'm looking
Yeah.
at?
Tyranosite. It's near the end.
But I'd have the search function.
under the
out.
T's.
Oh, are there 2 N's?
I don't know.
Tyranofex.
Nope. Keep
Look,
going.
it's chugging. It's got a.
Yeah, big PDFs. PDFs are still a wild file format.
Right.
Here we
The
go.
fact that they still exist.
Tyrannocyte.
So Tyranosite and Tyrano.
Phage? Tyranno. Hivecron? You want a Hivecron?
Wait.
Not Hivecron.
You want a Tyranofex?
Okay, let's
This
take
is the one.
Tyranosite.
This is what we're talking about
There's
here.
yeah.
So aerial seating. This model must start in reserves.
This isn't what we're talking about. It's the wrong thing.
Can we see the super chat again?
You guys are just messing with me now. Here's the super chat. Sporocysts in a midboard with Tyrannocyte. Now that they aren't for what was a fortification?
Sporocysts and Tyrannosites.
So
My head hurts.
we don't have an opinion on this, and we'd love to know yours, frankly.
Sporocyst. I'm searching.
That's the building, not building.
Yeah.
This is the building.
Okay, tell us about this.
Why won't it scroll? Okay, here we go. So it is a fortification. There's just no rules for that anymore. So it has no move characteristic.
Right.
It seeds mucolids, so in your shooting phase, each time it's selected to shoot, you can do this instead of attacking with your ranged weapons. If you do, you add a mucolid spore containing 1 model, set it up anywhere within 18, more than 9 away from enemies. Do we need to go look at what a mucolid spore does?
No, that one I
No,
can tell you.
Those are good.
Wait, you can't put this thing in a...
Can you look? Does the Tyrannosite have some sort of typo or something?
I mean, it was just a monster. This is the Russian nesting problem all over again.
One
Can you put Tyrannosites in Tyrannosites?
monster. You could put a...
Yes.
Okay, don't do. You can't...
No, hold on.
you
I'm here
can't-
for it.
No, you can't put a building in a drop pod, Brian.
No. I'm picturing. No, I like it. I actually like it.
Tyrannosite in
like
a
grows out of
Tyrannosite.
it.
In a Tyrannosite.
With a Sporocyst
With
inside?
sport, yeah, like maybe 3 deep.
Yeah.
I'm so in for it. I love it.
I just looked at the Hollywood Squares picture. I'm dying.
It's pretty great, actually.
All right, Adolin, look. It appears to be technically legal. I would advise against.
I'm not advising against it. I am all for it.
We're
I actually
advocating
think
for
it's
it.
kind of cool. I'm the one who always wanted Hammerfall bunkers to deep strike.
I know! They still messed it up.
So this
Hammerfall
is
bunkers should deep
This is the closest I'm getting to that.
That's right.
So, in a funny way, I feel like you should only do this.
Thanks, Adolin.
But spores are good. And not only
Really good,
spores are
yeah.
good, but like it's one of the things that Tyranids have to control enemy movement.
Yeah.
And that is one of the strongest abilities. Like in this
strong.
particular game, you couldn't really use it much because of all of my bikes and
Right.
the way the game was working. But if I was trudging towards you with some Terminators or something, you could have really done some work on me.
And the new spore rule is you actually cannot even advance within 6 inches.
Exactly. It's a big deal.
I love it. It's like, look, you shouldn't walk through a minefield, let alone run through a minefield.
Yeah.
So no running.
Oh, I would
near
run
them.
through a minefield.
You would, that's true.
Bridger would do, in fact, that.
So it's good. I also, side note, like how they fixed the biovort. Well, fixed. Remember there was always the thing where it was like, when you miss, you make a spore. But sometimes you want to make a spore.
Yeah, yeah. So
you
you would
like
intentionally
shuffle,
miss.
shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Now you just say, I'm not going to shoot, I'm going to make a spore. Kind of
Right.
like they have it here, which is
Which
much
is nice.
nicer.
Yeah.
The intentional missing, I remember.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
All right, I'm going to move.
Spin around 3 times, then shoot.
Yeah, I'm so dizzy.
So dizzy. Uh-oh, spore.
Thanks, Michael Spiegel. Bridger was right. 10th heavy on vehicles. Fire prisms sold out everywhere. I got the last 3 from a game store in Berkeley and was
You're
happy
part
to
of the
find
problem,
them.
it seems.
Elves dealing the linked fire and fate dice.
Can I say something? I love fire prisms.
Yes,
And
right?
any addition to the game where fire prisms are awesome,
Yes.
I'm kind of here for
I'm
it.
with you, Brian.
Cool.
I'm cool with
I
it.
know.
And fire prisms with like, if they have like, if that's one of the biggest guns in all the 40k, it's like probably in the easy top 5.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Supposed to be one of the top 5 biggest guns.
As long as we're not counting macro, like Titan weapons. Macro is the keyword we couldn't remember.
Macro.
Macro.
I'm talking about like guns you can field in a 2,000 point army,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Like Shadow Sword gun is big, great. Like
Volcano
you know,
cannon.
yeah, exactly. You know, but like a linked fire prism's supposed to be up there, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
And it should be badass, and I like that it is. Fire prisms can't link fire unless you have 2 or 3 of them, so they have to make it viable to play with multiple.
And I love that it's all built in now. Like that strat should have always been built in, and this really exemplifies that philosophy
Yeah.
of 10th, where it's like, you know what? You just get your cool thing and you just do it. Every apothecary is a chief apothecary. That kind of thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's a good point, yeah.
I'm into it. And as far as it's heavy on vehicles, we don't know if that's true.
So here's the thing. I think there's going to be a lot of shifts in the early days, and there's going to be some skew reactions, but the game is also inherently built to balance that. So for example, we didn't take any set secondaries today, but that's because you often are only taking them if your opponent has a skew list or if there's obvious gaps. So for example, one of the ones you can do is bring it down, and it gives a lot of points for every single vehicle, up to a cap of 40 points.
Yeah.
So it really punishes these very skewed vehicle builds spamming out things like Vipers or...
Yeah, and the army I brought today had very little tank killing, but the army I'm playing tomorrow gonna have quite a bit.
Exactly.
So let's see the differences there.
I'll be curious to see if you might even look at taking that secondary or not.
Good question.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to see somebody build an Oops All Las Cannon list. Because there's no real list building restrictions anymore,
Yeah.
other than like max of 3.
Yeah.
I want to see the list with the most possible las cannons.
I don't have the most possible tomorrow, but I have a handful.
You have a lot of Eradicators.
But
But I have last cannons also.
Brian, I want to see an army
have a
with
Land
like
Raider, by the
50
way.
las
Yeah, I
cannons.
know.
Yeah.
And I have Devastators with last cannons.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rookie numbers. 50 las cannons. I want to see 50 las
You
cannons
just
on the
get
table.
swamped by
I don't think I have
infantry.
50. I think I have like 14,
I just want to see what happens, Adrian. I'm not saying it's
which
good.
is good.
That's pretty good.
I just want to see it.
My BAO Space Wolf list had 28 Meltas.
Ugh.
Pretty good. That was a melee army.
Meltas are cheap. Last cannons are expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Anybody can get Meltas.
Thanks, Achilles. Hi. So, Legend Brian finally. Question for Brian. I'm unfortunately a big Death Card fan, but
Unfortunately.
what is the synergy between Death Card lethal hits ability and between -1 toughness? Honestly, we cannot see it now. Greeting from Hungary.
Hey.
Yeah, so people are down on the Death Guard, and I think we've seen this problem in every edition. You have an army that's supposed to do a thing, and then like its buffs are tangential to that. And this is the reason we always used to love Blood Angels.
Right.
Combat army, +1 attack, +1 to wound in combat. You just think, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that zeroes in on what it's supposed to do. And, you know, the Death Guard historically were supposed to be tough.
Right.
And so you'd almost want, like, let's double down on that durability, that something, right? Or it's about making you weak, right? Or it's usually both, but
Yeah.
and I feel they didn't nail it with the
didn't.
Death Guard, and hopefully they changed tack with the Codex. But I think we're all 3 of us are Death Guard players here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love Death Guard. It's near and dear to our heart. And I think, like the fans, we kind of feel let down that it's just that faction isn't playing the way you hope it will, and it doesn't seem to have that synergy. I'll be curious to put it on the table. Right now we're
Yeah.
theory crafting a lot,
Right.
but I can already tell that it's like it doesn't have that synergy.
Yeah, it's just very confused. Everything about it, the -1 toughness being not as strong when you have a much wider spread of toughness. So that not growing with the toughness spread. The lethal hits is awkward because it's good for a lot of small arms fire, but useless with big arms fire. Whereas the plague weapon rerolls were just universally good. It's just a lot of.
And they slowed the army
directions.
down a lot.
And they slowed it down. So
And we all know the most consistently powerful thing in Warhammer is movement.
Yeah.
So losing even 1 pip of movement is so much more important than losing 1 pip on almost any other stat line. Right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see, but I think we all think it needs some love.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Peaches.
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer. By the Allfather, he's back. Everyone's favorite long-lost Titan. Need many more bat reps and more content with the OG crew. Win for the Allfather.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of games with the crew, so hopefully you'll enjoy them all.
Got 17 more.
Every time that Peaches says Allfather, I think of Allspark.
That's wrong.
Which I don't know why. I don't know why. But
You're
I guess it also has the letters all in it.
Oh, that's true.
So I guess
Think of
that's
that.
it.
You're like, Norse mythology, Transformers.
I mean,
Checks out.
yeah, kind of.
Probably a lot of overlap, actually.
Yeah. Thanks, Sugarwater Purple. Is that Brian? Is he staying?
It is.
Mom, can we keep him?
You have to chain me here.
We would. We'd have to poke holes in you for you to breathe. I mean, the box. Uh-oh.
Please don't.
Oh,
Just straight into his lung.
This'll help you breathe.
Thanks, Mortifactors, Miko. Hey, Titans. Are any of the Leviathan Space Marine units must-haves? Or any of the other Space Marine units screaming out as must-haves? Will the Deso Marines get nerfed?
The Terminators are must-haves.
the Terminators.
Now, if you already own Terminators, you don't have to have these ones, but they're cooler.
You don't. They are cooler and they are bigger, but I still think the other ones are playable. Wow, I'm getting major deja vu in this question.
Totally playable. I don't think anything else is a must-have.
No.
I think the Sternguard Vets are totally cool.
Yes.
Not a must-have.
No.
Totally flavor pick.
Yep.
Because if you need like a decent shooting unit, the book's full of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They're very specific. Like, they are very good into Terminators.
Yeah.
Like, elite infantry killer, but they don't have a ton of shots.
There's a lot of elite infantry killing. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it doesn't have to be them. Again, Space Marine wearing a tabard, I'm kind of here for it.
Never say no to that.
Yeah, I won't. All it needs is 2 more hoods and a tabard, and I'm into it.
Double hood.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the whole box, honestly. It's
Not must-haves though.
no.
The other side though, the Barb Gaunts are must-haves.
The Barb Gaunts, new Termagants, if you're into it. The Neuro Tyrant feels like he's going to be in every list because the -1 to Shadow in the Warp, and it has good abilities.
The Screamer Killer's so cool.
Not a must-have though.
No.
It's
Well,
it's a
you
personal
must have
pick.
the model, Brian. It's a Carnifex standing on his hind legs.
It's a hobby must-have.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
totally.
cool.
It's a hobby
Definitely,
must-have. Yeah.
definitely.
So I'd say the Tyranid side's a little more must-have.
For sure.
But those the Terminators are the best.
Terminators are awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I want more.
I don't understand. In a box that's almost entirely new models,
Yeah.
why do people like slightly larger Terminators so much? It's the same model. They
Well,
just
let's keep
made
in mind,
10% bigger.
Terminators are like one of the iconic things that captures the imagination of players in this
Sure.
edition, in this game. And the fact that they play as they're intended, they work well, I think that's great. And Terminators are one of the things that get people to start armies.
They're cool, but of all the things in the box, their coolness delta from before to now, tiny.
I know.
It's the same
They're
thing,
literally
10%
just like,
larger.
grab, scale,
They just scaled it
ship,
10%
and everyone's
larger.
just like, take my money. Oh my God,
The crowd
you
went
scaled it.
wild,
Yeah.
and all they did was scale up the same model by
Yeah.
10%.
They have a handful of things like that they can always do.
Break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
people are going to buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
Time for another Primarch.
Yeah, exactly.
Time for another Primaris Lieutenant.
Yeah, see, that's the opposite. Nobody's ever been excited,
No.
right?
They think it is, but it's not.
And will Deso Marines get nerfed? We'll have to play them. I think in their current form, they're good, but I don't know if they're like going to shake the meta good.
Yeah. Now, we were famously wrong about them last time.
Yeah, you didn't think they were great?
No.
And
no.
they were obviously amazing.
They were busted.
Yeah.
I know some people are talking about it. I refuse to click on Mikey's clickbait video about it.
About Deso Marines?
He's like, oh, I broke Warhammer again. Blah, blah.
I'm sure they're good. And Bridger was talking that you think indirect is a little too good.
I think
I
that
used
they need
more
to be-
balanced words than Bridger
They need
uses,
to be
but
very
know.
careful with indirect at all times.
always.
Needs
Indirect
to be handled
is
like a baby.
one of the sketchiest.
Like a screamer
You
killer
know.
baby?
No,
Yeah.
like a human baby that you care about.
In a romper?
No romper, just a naked human baby screaming. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
with indirect.
You got to be careful.
Don't drop
yeah,
that
indirect
baby.
is rough, very hard to balance. So anytime you have an indirect unit, it's easy to have it be real broken. And, you know, I don't know. A lot of people seem to think that they're too good. I bet they are. You know, where there's smoke, there's fire on these things, you know?
Yeah, no, honestly, yeah. There probably is something behind it. And we'll get them on the table, we'll start trying it. So we'll see.
I mean, I will say, and this should go without saying, but like, these things are only a problem if you and your friends allow them to be. Like,
Sure.
You know what I mean?
There's going to be a lot of that on launch, right? And remember, the last launch we had was in the middle of a giant pandemic where most people couldn't play with their friends or go to tournaments. And it was
Sure.
much easier for these things to not be a problem. And still, I still distinctly remember at the beginning, we said, you know what? This is a great game to play with your friends
Yeah.
for the next 6 months
Yep.
until things get patched. That's going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dungeon Master. Hey, Titans.
Hey.
Loving the game. This was still during the game.
Oh, no.
You guys are stuck here. You can't go anywhere.
This is where we live.
So am
I'm
I
chained here.
So am I the only one who thinks that Barbgon's split firing to slow multiple units is mildly unreasonable?
Yeah, I told you about this. It
were,
is multiple
yeah.
units, and I think it's very, 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 very good, but I will go so far as to say that this is now kind of what Tyranids are about. They're about messing with your opponent.
Yep.
So the fact that they have several units that do that really well, it kind of feels like this is their thing,
It's definitely the thing, right?
right?
They're a mid-board control army, 100%. Like, they're not super killy like they used to be. They're not super durable like they used to be. They are all about that mid-board. So I think it would be unreasonable in other contexts.
Yeah, let's see how it plays out. Like the army is about those movement shenanigans, and it has to have some real meat in order to slow an army down. And as we saw, it only works on infantry, right? Like there are things that are going to get around it.
Yeah.
You know, you got a unit in a
Transports.
transport. That's exactly it. You got a unit in a
Transports.
transport. Now you're immune. So I think it's okay, and I'm good with the Barbons being good.
They're not super tough either. It's not indirect, right? You look at that gun, and for a second you're like, is it going to be indirect?
yeah.
Is it going to be a problem?
It looks like it's indirect,
It's not,
but
no.
it's not.
Yeah.
And if they're really a problem for you, just overwatch them. When they move up, shoot them with your
With
guns.
what?
You're,
Your
Your terrain
guns?
effects?
yeah, that's exactly.
Your terrain.
exactly.
Thanks, Siege Roots. Hey, look, Brian's back from the corner store. Wait, we did this. Did we do this?
No,
No.
we didn't.
Same joke.
Are you
different super
sure?
chat.
Are you sure we didn't do this?
The second half is definitely new.
Look, Brian's back from the corner store to get some milk. I'm really glad I got my Ultramarine characters.
Listen, they were out of milk. I had to go check another store. Bridger loves this. This is cracking him up. He's had too much sugar.
I have had way
He's
too much
losing
sugar.
it.
Talion and Kato looking really spicy. Happy 10th Ed, everyone.
Talion looks
Talion
awesome.
looks great.
Oh, yes.
Talion?
Talion? Yeah, he's awesome. Honestly, I think the only thing that's better than Talion is a Phobos captain.
Yeah.
Because he gives you 3 redeploys. Oh, for free. Which means those 2 infiltrators you're going to take in every list, and your unit of 10 sniper scouts. Yes, amazing. So
Very good.
How have we not talked about how good snipers are yet?
I know.
We don't own a single sniper scout.
They really, really, really looked like they were going to take them out of the game last edition.
Yeah.
Like it looked like they were going to deprecate them and they were going to disappear.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought that was what was going to happen here.
That was our fault as a community, right? They came over to America, to
Yeah.
Las Vegas Open, and as far as the eye could see, they could just see scouts
Yeah.
As
everywhere.
many as you could have on every
That was
table.
after the previous trip where we all had Castellums, and they're
Right.
like, what are you doing, you animals? They were furious, and they're like, you know what, scouts are going to be elites, they're going to be expensive, they're not going to be OBSEC.
Yeah, no OBSEC, no nothing.
Yeah, but now they're back, and they're great.
Now we got to paint up some scouts. They got the weird blocky heads.
I know. You have to do a head swap, 100%.
But they're
Or-
great in
or
the way
not.
that
Or not.
they're
Yeah,
great
no.
in the way that they want to see scouts, which is dudes in cloaks hiding in a ruin shooting sniper
Which is
rifles.
cool. I like it.
It is cool.
Yeah, now I got to buy some scouts.
I bought some.
Make me some Primaris scouts.
No,
I'll do
here's-
it.
That's my plan. I was gonna say-
Lemon Liminators. They've been
So-
around forever.
So, no, they're not. They're actually. Yeah. Anyways, I
What's your plan here?
so I've been using Black Templar bodies, right?
Naturally. Like Crusaders.
Crusaders.
Yeah.
Like the big boys first. I have all of the scout-ish bodies primarified. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to see if the arms actually line up, and I have some scouts now. So I'm thinking
you're gonna put
about
the sniper
seeing
rifles
if I
on
can
them.
combine them.
Okay.
And seeing how much of a pain in the butt it is and how dumb it might look. But I'm gonna give it a go.
The old model has a pretty blocky torso. I'll bet it'll fit.
Well, what I would do is actually just take the gun.
You just take the gun off the
So
hands.
instead
yeah.
of giving them the bolters.
And you don't need 50 of them, so it's not a huge job.
Well,
Yeah.
you might want 30.
Yeah, if you Primarisify them, I'm super into it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
That used to be a big hobby of mine, is Primarisifying
Yeah. Thanks.
old things, and now that feels like they almost like are endorsing that
Yeah.
fluff-wise, where they're like, hey, this is okay. Like,
Right.
these things are mixing and matching.
It's not even a keyword anymore. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Why not? Thanks, Edrits.
Cool. Thanks, Bond. Brian's back. Guys, I need some recommendations for, quote, healthy cereals, or just lie and tell me that it's okay for me to eat peanut butter and chocolate Cheerios every day.
So it's, there's a good one. What, is there someone breaking in our door?
I don't know. I keep hearing knocks outside.
They're vacuuming and they're knocking against the door.
We're being besieged.
So the best choice is Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Is it?
Yeah, cinnamon's a vegetable.
Naturally.
Okay, I'll tell you
And-
what my problem is with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Brian. The squares have sharp corners, and
What?
they cut my mouth.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
It's a real problem.
this is not
a real problem.
Captain Crunch we're talking about
Wait,
here.
do you not pre-soak your cereal?
Excuse me? What? What? Adrian,
It's called Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I don't like the
eat
crunch
soggy
part.
Crunch.
cereal every time?
Not soggy. I just like let them get a little soft. And just
That's
like
what soggy means!
I just put some milk and I just set it aside until it's ready. It's the same thing with ice cream when it comes out of the freezer, it's too cold. But I have to let it warm up a little.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay. No.
It's true. It's so
Go eat
good.
some like Wheaties
Try
or
it.
something.
Try it.
I have tried it. It was when. No, see? Siri doesn't understand either. Listen. I've had cereal that's soggy. It's what happens when I let my
great.
cereal sit too long
Yeah.
and then I throw it in the garbage.
No, because it's good because then you get some of the cereal like essence in the milk. Like you get
People are judging you very badly. Adrian.
No.
it's good.
This is not okay. Okay.
It's delicious.
Can I tell you how
This is
far
not
I
okay.
am on the
This is not
opposite side
okay.
of this?
Yes, no, I'm with you, Brian.
Let me tell you, no, I'm not just on the other side of this. I'm
No milk.
very far. No, not no milk, although I would do it. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, I need to eat it so fast
Yeah.
before. So there's several things I do. One, if I want a boatload of cereal,
Yeah.
I'll eat it in 4 separate bowls,
Yes.
4 separate times.
Separate bowls.
You know,
Oh, I do
like-
one big bowl, but you pour in a little bit of milk.
Yeah.
And
So
eat, and then a little bit of milk.
So I won't. I'll just refill.
Yeah.
I'll do multiple
Okay,
times.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I will even make sure I already have the spoon in the bowl before I pour the milk, because the time it takes me to get the spoon and put it in the bowl is too long
way.
for me to eat it.
It's still
so,
dry.
No.
Why don't you
I
just-
will pour it on top, and then I'll eat it as fast as I can.
No way.
The spoon has to be in the bowl. Listen, if I forgot to put the spoon,
Yeah.
it's too late for
New
that
bowl.
bowl.
New bowl.
New bowl. That's
Start
why the 4
again.
bowls.
No, and then I'll pour just a small amount of bowl that I can eat in like under 30 seconds,
Yeah.
probably under 20 seconds. Then I'll put more in
Yeah.
and do it again,
Why don't you
so it's
just-
crunchy.
Just take the box of cereal, you pour it in your mouth, and then drink a glass of milk at the same
because
time.
I'll choke.
That's the same thing that you're doing right now.
No,
That's what you're doing.
I'm getting that effect without the choking.
But if you soak them, there's no choking at all.
Yes, there is.
No.
No, because it's mush and it's no longer food.
Listen,
It's delicious.
the whole reason I eat cereal is for the texture combo. They're like
the
the milk plus the crunch.
I don't know, man.
So many of these things are called crunch in their name. Like 50% of all cereals have crunch in them. Do you think they invented them to be
Look,
soggy?
one of them's called Cocoa Pebbles. Do you think I want to put rocks in my mouth?
Yes, if they're
No.
made of chocolate.
No, because then it turns into chocolate milk, and then you have a nice food.
No,
and a nice
you get
drink.
both. You get the cocoa pebbles
Yeah.
plus the chocolate milk in the end. You still get
No,
both.
I don't think you're leaving them long enough for the
So
chocolate.
Brian,
Oh,
here's
you are.
my
You are.
here's my
You wouldn't know.
cereal meta.
I wouldn't actually.
Reese's Puffs actually take quite a long time to soak up milk and
Yeah.
get soggy.
I don't really love
because
Reese's
they're
Puffs,
just
but-
Yeah, they're gross.
spheroid puffs, no corners, can't cut your mouth. It's pretty much the
Why
same.
is your
These are
mouth
much
so
better than-
weak?
It's pretty much the same.
Listen, you know what you need to do? You need to eat just like a month of Captain Crunch. Just rip your mouth up. Listen, it'll grow back stronger.
Yeah, you get
All
callus
scar
on
and
it.
tissue.
then you
Yeah.
can start eating real cereals. But you got to train on the Captain Crunch.
I'm going with Reese's Puffs, which is like peanut butter and chocolate Cheerios, to be honest.
Wow.
No, the I don't do the only Cheerios. I like a lot of Cheerios, but apple cinnamon Cheerios is my go-to Cheerio.
Ooh, I like the honey.
I like
nut.
cinnamon, as you can tell.
I
Oh, honey, banana nut?
No,
Or
honey
honey nut?
Honey nut.
honey nut.
Oh, honey nut, the
Honey nut's
classics.
good. Yeah.
classic.
Honey
I
nut's
ate
good.
too much of that as a kid, so I'm off it.
You know what? That's me in sandwiches.
No.
That's fair.
All sandwiches?
Literally
Yes,
all
it's a
sandwiches.
thing. Look,
I hate sandwiches.
we can't
They're
retread
not
the
real
same
food.
ground. We've already been here for like 3 hours. We
Now we need to talk about the important things.
need to
But
go
was the
home.
taco you ate a sandwich?
Yeah. Oh, I found a graphic for that. I know how to classify all of them. Thanks, Bond.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Frame Shock Productions. Loving the 10th ed content.
Yay.
Loving the 10 Dead / serial content.
Exciting times. Ninth was getting hard to watch. Bit off topic. What software or system are you guys using for scoring and overlays?
Bridgersoft.
Yeah.
Don't press the wrong button.
Wrote web servers that this is just a web page. Look,
Yeah, it's a
you're just
custom-
looking at a web page.
It's a custom web page that controls. It's an application that basically has an interface for entering the score, and then it spits out information into the Discord overlays that we have. So fully custom. This one that Bridger just made this last week is quite a bit more advanced than the last. But as the game gets more complicated, more permutations, it'll probably have to get even more complicated.
Dude, I'm getting so fast at making overlays.
You're doing
Yeah.
great, man.
The more I do it, the better I get.
Yeah, exactly. It was more experience. So the first version that we designed was pretty basic, just kind of make sure it was achievable. This time we were a lot more ambitious.
Yeah.
And it actually, Bridger knocked it out pretty easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, you know, Bridger and I make software, so it's like we can solve problems with software in that
You know
way.
what's funny? They don't let me do front end at my day job because I'm like,
Well,
Pretty
then again,
bad.
you did make the tourney thing,
Oh, man.
and I mean, all like Exhibit A.
hey, I only heard good things about the turn indicator. Okay,
Wait, what?
good things.
Did you show them the one I actually designed? Because they'd like that one better.
Nope.
Did you sell it as the train stoplight like you did to us? It was a good pitch.
So the turn, if you go back and watch the game, there's this turn indicator that shows the top of turn and the bottom of turn, and it's this like bright blue stick coming in at an awkward angle. I assure you that is not what I designed. I designed this elegant thing that said it was top of turn, bottom of turn, and Bridger was like, "Nah, that's too
I don't like words.
too nice."
It's too many words.
And then he's like,
Words.
"Let's just stick this stick out at an awkward angle, and the viewers will know that stick point up mean up of turn, and
Yes,
stick
Brian,
down."
you understand? Yes.
After you explained it to me at great length, I understood, and it looks bad, and we will make Bridger change it.
Yeah, it definitely needs to change.
But you know, he did such a great job on the rest of it. We
Oh,
didn't-
Quambach liked the stick. So
But
take
did
that.
you know what the stick meant? Did you know stick up versus stick down?
I think it's pretty self-evident.
listen.
Melody also understood a stick point up turn.
Well, listen. Not everyone watching is a genius.
Pretty popular. Pretty popular.
Pretty popular.
The one thing that was commented on is that it wasn't centered over the logo.
Which we have trouble doing.
It is centered on the screen.
Yes.
The logo
tape-
is not
The
centered.
world is not centered.
Yeah, it's not. This is a problem we've historically always had.
It's difficult.
It's kind of a tough problem, actually.
Yeah.
And we can fix it, but you'd be surprised it would take a long time for us to fix. It's actually a really hard problem.
Yeah.
We'd probably have to move the table, move the overhead lights.
It has taken several hours to do before.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's not easy.
No joke. And then someone bumps one thing, and then it's all done.
It's
Yeah.
all ruined. Yeah.
So-
We taped the floor
John,
for where the tripod
poor John.
goes.
Yeah.
And I came back one day and the tape was gone and the camera was moved and I lost it. I was so mad.
Tricky problem.
Yep.
Thanks, Laconian. Now that it's gone, I feel okay saying that I didn't love the old overlay, but this new one is perfect. Also, I don't think you can charge through ruins.
You can. I assure you can charge through ruins. Bridger.
Infantry
okay.
and swarms can move through ruins freely.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Last several editions, crucial part of the game. But yeah, the old overlay was too simplistic, both in its visual design and in the amount of information it presented. And we kind of lived with it for so long, we didn't think about it a whole lot, did we?
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, in last fall, we had all the bespoke shows we were trying out, and we did
Right.
all these different overlays. You guys learned a lot. And then, again, over the next few months, we said, you know what? We want to have like a unified Titans UI.
Yeah. Well, in a funny way, even the UI we did for Marvel Crisis Protocol
Oh, that was a big one, too.
really
Yeah.
kind of was like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, we could get another layer of information in here. And
Yeah.
Bridger built that pretty easily, kind of high confidence, right? And it was like, we should be doing more here. And we started this project a little late. Like, we only started the first design for this 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So we designed it quick, put the design together in about, I guess I put the design together in about 2 days. And then Bridger built it in about 2 days.
2 nights of work.
Yeah. So we're shocked. You know, I guess we've had a lot of practice at it now.
Yeah.
But we still have lots of plans to make it better.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just the beginning.
But we're definitely keeping the train indicator.
You know what? Maybe I'll make it like an official train indicator.
Okay,
That would be funny.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
If you could do me a huge favor.
Uh-huh.
I had to do a lot of image editing to make that work. Could you do that?
Yes, sure.
Great.
You know, the thing is, when I gave these files to Bridger, I was like, hey, Bridger, just let me know if you need anything.
No, I didn't need nothing.
He didn't say anything to me.
Didn't need nothing for
He was
nobody.
just like, oh, he must have meant to put a train indicator here. I'll just do it. He didn't ask me anything. He didn't tell me. He didn't show me a screenshot. I didn't notice it till today. And he's like, this is the train indicator you wanted, right?
Yeah. He showed me like yesterday, and he's like, oh yeah, I didn't like what Brian did. It didn't make any sense, so I did this, and I was like, well.
Could have just asked me.
No,
this
great.
is why you don't get to do
Great.
front end at your job. You're just like, the designers didn't mean for a button to be
The
here.
funny thing is, we weren't even gonna hassle you, but then you're like, yeah, they wouldn't let me do front end at my job.
I argue with product people all the time because
I-
they're always wrong.
You know what? You know what we should do? We should look in his email records.
Yeah.
I bet he's only proposing train indicators in all the apps that he's working
He
in.
finally made it happen.
Yeah.
One of his
This is the
coworkers
one
like
that-
drinking coffee. They finally did it. Good for you, Bridger.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lacanya.
Thanks, Nick. Hi from Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Tyranofex has resilient organism. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of the attack. Does that mean damage 1 attacks deal no damage?
Oh, wow.
Yep.
What?
What a...
This is still from the game,
Good,
huh?
Yepper.
Yeah, so that is the way the rules work.
Yep.
And that is the way we're going to be playing things.
That's- yep.
And we do not anticipate a change to this rule.
Right.
So it seems like a dramatic change from the previous edition, but we really want to reinforce this idea that the rock, paper, scissors of the game is meant to be rock, paper, scissors. It's not that sometimes rock beats paper. It's that it always loses to paper. And so the wrong gun does not kill the Tyranofex. It's a
Exactly.
beast.
Yeah. Can't shoot a bolt or a Tyranofex.
Yeah, that's right.
It just regrows faster.
So cool.
Yeah.
Good
you
question, Nick. Thank you.
Thanks, Colby Cameron. What are some good Power Fist units and synergy for an in-your-face Space Marine Malevolent list in 10th?
Ooh, sounds awesome. So Power Fists are in a weird place. I don't love them, to be honest.
Yeah, you like the Thunderhammer better, right?
I like the Thunderhammer a lot better. Like, yes, it's the minus. It's hitting 1 worse.
Because of the devastating wounds.
Yeah, in an army that gets to like, when you're looking in a book, you're like, cool. Do you see devastating wounds? Okay, how do you get rerolls now? And guess what? This army has rerolls everywhere. So that just makes it feels very, very strong. And Oath is the ability that all those Space Marine factions are going to get. They're not all going to have the doctrines, but they all get the rerolls. So I don't see that changing a ton.
Power Fist look cool, though.
I mean,
Hey, they gave our first video ever of how Power Fist works.
that was crazy. We're like, that's how they work?
Yeah. It
just-
like charges up and then shoots a Kamehameha.
Wait, what? Wait.
They showed a video.
In
like
the trailer for the 10th edition, they showed a Power Fist actually punching, and it was the first time
And
we've
it's
ever seen a
not
Power
just like a piston fist?
No,
No.
it's a Kamehameha.
It like disintegrates them.
It actually like turns into a glowing energy, and then it just like cooks them.
Yeah.
No.
And they just go.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like a giant
Was there
fist,
massive outrage that they did it wrong?
There was a lot of people going, oh, that's how it works. I always thought that it was like strong
fist.
robot arm,
Yeah.
punchy real strong.
It's a piston fist.
I didn't think it pistoned, but the same effect that you just punch real strong with robot
you
arm.
punch them good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I like kind of knew because like the whole like the power field thing is it's like splitting like
Right, right,
atoms
right,
and all
right.
that stuff. And which like a blade makes sense. It's gonna split you along
Yeah,
the blade.
yeah,
I
but
guess
a fist-
is just an entire like wall of it.
Yeah.
So you just like cease to exist.
Yeah.
It was strange.
So, all that is to say, Power Fist cool.
You know who is a great Power Fist unit? And is so great with Power Fist that he actually has 2 of them? Mine is Calgar.
And I guess every aggressor.
Those are technically not Power Fists. They're
You're right.
Aggressor Fists.
Yeah.
But they're cool because they're twin linked. So
Are
they're really
those
moves.
piston fists? Aggressor fists? Or just punchy fists?
Actually, they might be because I don't know if they're actually power.
I think they
Good.
are Power Fists.
but not.
Yes, they don't have the name Power
They're
Fist.
not Power
but they
Fist
are.
TM.
Yeah.
They're like power hands.
Yeah. Exactly right.
The lesser known cousin company.
Well,
Power
one of the
grabbers.
things is you don't pay for intercessor. Oh, we don't know it. You can't talk about that.
We'll see.
So, thanks, Sandrello.
Moving right along.
Yeah, what's up, Sandra?
I'm struggling to choose between Orks or Death Guard to learn 10th edition. Which army would you suggest I start with? I have 95% of the range of units for both armies. Wow.
Oh, Orks and Death Guard. Okay. Well, I would say there's going to be a lot of information very, very soon that will make you be much more educated in your decision. So I'll say that, which is the non-answer. But let's talk about like pros and cons.
One is Orks.
I know. I'm trying to present it a little more.
Listen, we love these armies, but the Orks is kind of just a little more fun.
They're super fun. It's a massive range of models.
Yeah.
So it's lots of deep cuts.
And lots of new stuff.
Lots of new stuffs, and you can play in lots of different styles. So
I would start with the Orks right now. I'd have more fun painting them.
Converting if you're
yeah.
honestly, probably playing them.
I think the early hints that the previews make the Orks look a little more fun, but even there's a fun thing where it's like it's fun to lose with Orks.
It is fun to lose with Orks.
But it's not fun to lose with Death Guard.
No.
I don't find that fun.
I know what you're saying. It just doesn't. It just doesn't.
Like I'm saying,
sound
Orks are always a
right.
good time.
You've never met an
Win or
unhappy Orc player.
lose, we're all
Right.
having a good time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Death Guard, I don't know. Death Guard, I love the army, but
When you're losing with Death Guard, it feels like you don't get to play the game. When
yeah.
you're losing with Orcs, it feels like you're playing a lot of the game. You're just
Yeah.
not doing it well.
Right.
You played the game too much.
Yeah.
Live fast, die young.
Yeah. So I'd start with the Orks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Hands down.
There you go. Thanks, Just Jupiter. Happy Friday.
Hey.
Tyranid players should shriek loudly the turn they pop the shriek in the warp. Imagine that and Waz going off all over a
Yeah, that's
42.
right. You're right. Every army needs to have something.
True. Except like, the players are just going like across the game room.
Or the Shadow in the Warp. They should just like flicker the lights in the room. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I like it. I'm into it. The shadow and the warp. They all bring out a bunch of umbrellas.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm into it.
Ooh. And black lights. And they do a rave.
Like I said, it's mostly Titans, costume Titans. At this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
He's definitely showing up with that next
Brian,
turn.
I never told you. When I went to the Marvel event, I dressed up, and John half dressed up, and everybody else was just in graphic tees and thought I was insane.
So they were correct.
Well, he also, to be fair, was like, I'm gonna dress up like Kingpin, and he grabs that purple jacket, a cane, and our literal Australian outback like hat, and he's just like, I am Kingpin, and he just looked like.
Well, listen, drink a few more Baja Blasts, maybe you'll get there.
Yeah, you look terrifying.
Hey,
Right?
he's 400 pounds of muscle, Brian. Pure
gosh.
New York
Yeah, but I'm
muscle.
saying if you were
Yoked.
400 pounds of fat, you'd look about the same.
Get you a lot closer.
That's all I'm trying to say.
I think a white tux would go far.
Yeah,
pull off a white
you
tux.
know his classic purple pinstripe suit? I can't find a single picture in the comics of him in a purple pinstripe suit. I can't find it.
Is it not classic then? I think of him in white.
Everybody,
White.
right, you see him in a white or white with purple pinstripes.
Wait, why did you want to be Kingpin?
Because I was playing Criminal Syndicate, Brian. My leader was Kingpin.
He is the Kingpin.
I suppose that makes
I
sense.
was the Kingpin.
Story checks out.
Yeah, so good. Thanks, Damon.
Anyway.
Wait, there's a new one. Thanks, Damon.
Yeah, thanks, Damon. Also, Brian, I won a set of Titans Terrain from Maelstrom Mixer. I just got it, and it's very cool and fun. Everyone should go buy the core set today.
Oh, yeah. Titans Train, we're almost sold out.
Yeah, it's quite low, isn't it?
Yeah, so we don't have a ton left, and it'll be a while till we get it back. If you were a person who followed our Kickstarter, you may have seen that I've hinted that we've got another set of Titans Train coming. It's actually more than one. We've been working hard on it for
Ooh.
2 years now. So we've got more coming, but it's going to be a while before you get your hands on it.
Yeah.
So if you want to try it out, grab it now.
Yeah, especially now that we got the expansions back in stock, and most people are finding like to get the bundle because it does save you a lot of money and gets you a lot more terrain.
Yeah.
So really well and truly, they are almost gone. So get it while you can.
Yeah, and we've been doing a lot before we made this, but even now we've been doing a lot of research on the terrain industry and what is the way to get terrain. And we have all kinds of terrain. We have GW terrain, we have third-party terrain, we have game mat terrain, we have frontline terrain. It's all cool stuff, but it's all very expensive, and it's all an awful lot of work, right? And even the MDF terrain, fairly okay. So let's say you get a full table for I don't know $400, $400, right? Yeah. For like a tournament grade style table. And but it's a lot of work to paint and build.
It's a ton of work.
And so I remember when we've done it in the past, it took us months and months and months and months and months. More, like as much work as an army.
Oh, 100%.
And so many people just don't have terrain, and you need a lot of terrain to play 10th edition.
You really do.
Right?
More than a 9th.
And so the Titans terrain is like 10 buildings, which is what you need. That's like the level you need.
Yeah.
So honestly, if you haven't checked it out, I think it's awesome. It's like a quarter the price of the next cheapest way to get terrain, and it you set it up and play that second that it comes out of the box. It's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, it's awesome. It looks great. It's easy to use. It's easy to store.
Yeah.
And it's been working well with 10th. We played it a bunch in our off-the-screen games. And even with all the new layouts.
Yeah, like when we have our friends come over and we need to set up a bunch of tables or we're going places, it's clutch.
Take a box.
It's
awesome.
it's a quarter of the size of transporting your army.
Yeah.
So it really, really helps. It's big.
It's always it was nerve-wracking before, where it's like, okay, we're gonna go somewhere else. Like, I hope we don't need to have to bring a table of terrain because it's a ton of extra work.
Ton of extra work.
Massive
Yeah.
problem, just grab a box.
So yeah, check it out. It's not a lot left, but glad you're really enjoying it.
Thanks, Eminent. And thanks, Siege Roots. This is probably illegal somehow, but Calgar and his boys with the Gravis Apothecary in a 6-man aggressor squad, then deep strike them with Uriel Ventress. Hello, centerboard control. Well, you can't get that many characters in one squad.
Calgar with Gravis Apoth.
Already can't do it.
Why?
No, you can't you?
Does the Gravis Apothecary have
Does he attach himself? You know what?
It's almost like we have the rules.
We have a scene for this.
Oh, here we go.
We're going to use this more than once in the entire
There we go.
show. Here we go.
Squares.
Apothecary.
No, it's biologists.
Will he just be in the apothecary section? Oh, I can't really scroll.
I think they're close, but the Apothecary,
There he is.
Biologist. That one right there?
yeah.
Is the guy?
Yeah, that's the
Is
guy.
this your man?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, he can. So you can get him, but you can't get the last character that they mentioned.
What?
No,
so,
he only said
So Uriel
two.
Ventress, you don't attach.
Uriel Ventress just gives you the ability to do that.
Yes,
Oh,
he is
that's good.
amazing. He lets you just deep strike a unit for free, which is a great way. Again, drop pods. We saw the picture of the drop pods, and everyone's like, "Oh, we can put like eradicators."
You can't put everything in them.
You can't put Gravis in them at all. So the only way to deep strike them, I believe, is Uriel, and it's a great way to deliver eradicators. It's pretty cute here too, honestly.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Although with Calgar, I think you have advance in charge. So sometimes,
That's going to be faster.
why walk when you can run? You know.
Yeah. Like, what do you want, a 9-inch charge or do you want like a 4-inch charge?
Exactly.
Yeah. Charging out of deep strike is not a real strategy.
No, don't listen to Bridger.
Like, unless you have,
I mean, I'll do it.
like in every edition of the game, unless you had a 3d6 charge, that was not a thing you could actually count on, and 3d6 charge failed all the time.
Yeah.
3d6 with reroll failed all the time.
100%.
So,
No, I'll do it. You can't stop me.
9-inch charge, no, 9-inch charge, fun thing
do
to
it.
do with your friends and Bridger.
I'll do it.
Not like a thing, like you're going to have feel bad more than half the time,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And then your squad just standing there in the middle of his army. It's like,
Well.
this sucks.
Should have made you charge, Brian.
I know,
Get good.
Or
which
now,
is why we said advance in charge.
Or now you should make your 4 abymals. That's my advice. Either make your charge or make your 4
Move
abymals.
to the next stage.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, and he's so good at it too. We got him in the
know.
game the other day. It was such a Bridger game.
I
That's
know.
what
did
custodians
all
are
the
about.
things.
That was a brutal.
That was, oh my gosh. Oh, you're just going to make all of them. And all the saves. They're 4s. Oh,
We played in Going Away to Forge World. And I took all the best stuff.
Of course you did.
I just killed everything.
I was like, I wanted to bring Alphabet Soup Big Bird. And I was like, but he has a Caution Super Heavy Tank Destroyer on the field.
You just one-shot your bird.
Yes. And I was like, that's okay. I'll bring in Leviathan. Like, that's cool. Flubs everything. Immediately gets picked up by everything else. Oh, it was amazing.
It was a fun Forge World. Hey, look, that's why I told them to get rid of Forge World. I thought, this isn't really fair to everybody else.
doing it-
Not everyone can have a Falchion Super Heavy Tank Destroyer.
Yeah.
Or roll 9s.
Yeah.
On
Thanks,
one dice.
Yeah.
thanks, Twilight's Death. Adrian, Tor, or Lysander. I like Tor with 6 Eradicators. Really like Vindicators. Hard to decide how to run my fists. What are your thoughts?
I think fists are interesting for the first time in an edition.
Because their characters are cool, right?
the characters,
Yeah.
all the characters. But if I had to choose between the two, Lysander.
Lysander.
100%.
Because Terminators are where it's at.
they're so good.
It's just a good synergy.
Yeah.
You want the Terminators, Lysander makes them better. That's what you want. Whereas Torgaradon, like fewer options, like, you know,
fewer things.
and they don't always need them as much.
Yeah, like the thing he gives, I believe, is just ignore cover. He himself gets +2 damage against vehicles, which is cute. So he has a 4 damage grab gun and a 1,000,000 damage fist.
But you don't want them getting into combat Eradicators.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's kind of wasted on that squad.
Yeah, so Lysander would be my go-to for sure. Vindicators are cool. Yeah, I think it's a big brick of centerline Terminators. I think you're going to take Infiltrators and one with the Phobos, just like everyone takes, because that's what you're going to do. I I think you still could do the sniper scouts with Phobos. Like, there's a few things that I just see myself putting in every single list, you know? And then you can kind of branch out from there. I think you do need tank killing. So, Eradicators, Eradicators in a vehicle, I like, in a transport. You need a delivery for them, and if you're not taking Uriel, then you need a transport. And
What's your vehicle of choice? There's so many.
that one I haven't figured out.
Are you a Land Raider guy or a Repulsor guy?
I think I'm a Repulsor guy.
You think you're a Repulsor guy?
Yeah.
I just love Land Raiders. I want them on the table.
You're a Land Raider person. My dad is a Land Raider guy.
I just want them on the table. I don't even care if they're the second best option. I just want it. I want it.
I agree. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I want it.
I don't think that they're worse by any means. And they might even be better, to be honest.
We'll see.
Boy, I hope so.
The 4 last cannons is nice.
You can get into Melta range. No, that's not what Assault Ramp does. I thought Assault Ramp lets you move after.
But just the way that you can move out, you can get outside of transports now. Gives you more.
It lets you move up, disembark, shoot, and charge.
Right. But I was thinking.
It's just huge.
I thought that Assault Ramp let you move after the transport moves.
Right.
Not what it does.
No.
Would be good though. Could you imagine?
Awesome. Too good.
Thanks, Ian. Hey, Titans. I got a tough question for y'all. If you could only choose one army to play, only one regardless of changes or new additions, which would it be? And as always, thank you for being an amazing group. Love the channel.
One army. You know your choice.
It's Orks.
It's Orks.
It's definitely Orks.
All right, Bridger. I'm more concerned to see what Bridger says.
No, it's Custodes. If I get one army forever,
it's just Custodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's historically been Tau that's been my first and my main, and it's kind of a big enough collection for me that I would be excited about that. Yeah. I have several close seconds.
Yeah.
My Necrons would be a very close second.
Well, you are
and
potentially trying to shake it up this season, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm really excited about Guard. Only because I love the aesthetic of Guard, and I love the new model range. Yeah. And it's so rare, because it's a high model count army, and the models are kind of small, like the Guardsmen. Yeah. It's an army that rarely, and I'm not trying to call Guard players out here, but it's rarely painted to a very high standard, because it's a nightmare.
I think you did just
it's like,
out.
No, it's like, I'm saying it's like, if you have Space Marines and you want to paint a 10-man squad, great. Then you want to paint 60 Guardsmen to the same quality. Like, it's not easy.
Well, it's like you rarely
the details are smaller. You need to paint so many.
Yep.
And they feel like they're going to, like 20 of them are dying a turn.
Just sweeping them off by the arm load,
Yeah, it's kind of rare to see it so beautiful, and and that's what I want to really see. I want to see that at that high quality, really push it like everyone's mint, and get those new models. Kind of excited about that, but it's a big commitment. So thinking about it right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you, Ian. And thanks, Snurgle Matthew. Big love, team. See you in 10th.
Yay! Thanks, Snurgle Math.
We'll see you on the tabletop. Thank you, Disciple of Asmodai. Brian, love to see you back. Played a kind of weird game of 10th with 9th points. I wouldn't advise that, but okay. Devastators and Blade Guard Vet seem good. Excited with Inceptors, wanting to try out Shooty Centurions, and I love the Lion. Yo, Centurions are back. Guys, we haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
I like how they went from getting no rerolls to getting full rerolls.
Yeah, well.
Centurions are cool. I've always loved Centurions.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They had their time in the penalty box. They're out.
I wanna, yeah, exactly. That's how it feels.
Let them play.
It really is.
Let them play.
And they're good. Go have fun.
I don't think they're insane, but
They're
I think
not
they're very
insane.
cool.
I don't think they're
Definitely
insane.
not
And they're a unit that always comes down to points too.
Yeah, I forget what the melee ones do. The shooty ones get full hit rerolls against people on objective.
But they have twin linked instead of 2 shots. Their 2 last cannons is 1 twin link shot.
Correct.
Which
Same
is
with their Melta.
much weaker.
Much more manageable. Yeah.
Yes, agreed. But the melee ones do something else.
Hey,
I think they just got good vibes. I think they look cool on the table. I would love to see what they did with a Primaris version of those.
Oh, I know.
Frankly, I think.
I don't know if they ever will, though, right?
I don't know.
like
Never say never.
We're going to make them bigger, and then we're going to put them in a bigger suit.
Have you met 10th edition Terminators?
I know.
So they've sustained
What is this guy? He's trying to say they would never while he's holding his new
look,
Terminator.
I'm not saying they would never. That's for Bridger. I'm saying I don't know how they would do it.
And I'm saying Exhibit A.
Yeah, that's fair.
They get sustained hits 2 against monsters, vehicles, and
that's right.
fortifications.
Cute.
They have the grenade keyword. And their siege drills are strength 10, AP 2, flat 3 damage. See, this is the thing that, like,
AP2?
more combat profiles seem like they lost AP than anything else. And it makes me sad.
Again, you could pump their AP for a strat
Yeah, but
if you
this
want.
is a siege drill, Brian.
I mean, let things live.
This feels like a shooty edition.
This is a drill. It's a siege drill. This goes through walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, but walls can't move.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't
It takes a long time to drill through a concrete wall. You
Yeah.
you got to hold it
No,
there.
with
And if
this
you don't
thing-
start it correctly, it's
Oh,
just,
it's
like
just all over the
totally
place.
off. It's horrible.
Yeah. It's one of those. Have you ever tried to drill through this? It's sliding all over the place. That's what's happening here. Yeah, the points, I think obviously it's going to make a difference. But even without points, you get a real sense of does a unit fill a role? And does a faction have an answer to all the things?
Exactly.
And it's like, even if that unit's really expensive, but it does the thing you need, it doesn't matter. And often if you have only 10 of something in an army, if they're overpointed by even 10 points a model, it's like, okay, you're down 100 points. Like, but you need that thing, who cares, right? So points matter, but they only matter in a spammy sense.
Yes, exactly. And again, that's probably not going to be the most, like, there's going to be issues, but the overall kind of feel of it is going to be the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, if points are off or a rule is ridiculous or whatever, that's going to get kind of ironed out. But right now, you can kind of get a sense for things even as is.
Rules matter more than points. Always.
Hot take.
Yeah.
True. Usually.
Almost always.
The points adjustments necessary to overcome are dramatic.
And the points that become a
It has
problem.
happened, but
It's happened.
The points that become a problem are a unit that you can take like 50 of.
yeah, you need to be able to multiply the problem out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if a Termagant is 1 point too low, it can matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But if a Centurion is 20 points off, it doesn't really matter.
Precisely.
Yeah.
All right, here comes Sleepy Gary out of the Leviathan box. Which units look the most competitive from both sides? Also, Bridger, should I play Midnight Suns or Hellfire Club tomorrow? I have never played Hellfire Club.
I've only played Midnight Suns.
Seen it played.
Hellfire Club.
It's a weird faction because it's only unlocked by a tactic card. It doesn't even have a leader. You play a tactic card and then everybody gets into the Hellfire Club. Sneaking in the back.
That's cool.
Whereas Midnight Suns just has Blade. They need Nico Minoru as a second leader, to be honest. Just to be frank.
This is Marvel Crisis Protocol.
This is
so
Marvel
everyone
Crisis
understands.
Protocol. I'm going to go with Hellfire Club because I've never played it or seen it played. Have fun.
That sounds cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, Hellfire Club's cool. That's all like the magic users and stuff, right?
No, that's Convocation is the Wizards.
My bad.
Hellfire Club is like
They are magic users, though.
a villain bar in another dimension.
Oh, yeah. Oh, in the Hellfire, it's run by the guy who duplicates himself.
What?
Ditto?
No.
Multiple Man?
No.
The spot.
He doesn't duplicate himself.
But he could if he puts it. No.
No.
The parts go with him.
But who are you talking about?
I'm not talking anymore.
You talking about Shadow King?
No.
Spider-Man.
Hood? I think the Hood runs the Hellfire Club.
Okay, does he? Well,
Wait, which color hood?
No,
How many
the
hoods does
Hood
he have?
is always
How many
red.
hoods?
The Hood
Yeah,
is
it's the red
always
hood.
red.
Oh, okay.
Look,
why isn't
chat.
he
so
called-
which side looks the most competitive?
No, I think it's which units from both
That's what I
sides.
meant. Sorry.
So,
Which unit?
Terminators,
Terminators?
Barb Gants.
Barb Gaunts.
Yeah.
That's the one
Gaunts.
we're going with.
That's it.
Yeah, those are the most competitive from each side.
Boom.
Nailed it.
All right, sorry, I had to answer that question in chat.
You got to do it.
Thanks, damn it. Y'all see how the Primaris captain can't join Hellblasters without a plasma pistol,
Oh, really?
but the chaplain without any plasma or flamer can join them. What gives?
Because he has a book. And
No,
his book is fire.
you know what?
The
That's a
door's right
great
there.
answer, Brian.
You can see yourself out. Primaris Captain can't join Hellblasters without a plasma pistol.
So-
Really? I didn't notice that. But
Wait,
that's
if you give him
cool.
a plasma pistol, he can
It's
join
like he
him?
can't
No,
get in the club.
it's-
It's like he's trying to walk in the door and they're like, you can't get in here without a plasma. And they're like, here, take this pistol. Oh, come right in,
I
sir.
bet you don't even smoke.
Yeah.
So this goes back to them trying to sell all the weird variations of every model they made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
There's like 5 different builds of the Primaris captain. They need them to be different. Like, here's the Hellblaster captain.
That's funny.
Here's the Blade Guard captain.
Yeah.
It's funny how it's not funny. Well, they were very scared of Desolation Marines.
Uh-huh.
There's almost nothing that can join their squad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, almost nothing.
And yet they're still so strong.
Apparently.
Yeah. So they don't need anybody.
Yeah. They don't. You're not.
Dude,
you're not-
Hellblasters in an Impulsor, that's a party bus.
I
right
know.
there.
It's going to be great.
Firing deck 6,
So here's a weird question.
All right.
If you're a Hellblaster in an Impulsor,
and you
You
fail the
overheat.
hazardous,
so the Impulsor takes all the damage.
3 mortal wounds, yeah,
For
per overheat.
You roll 5. If it's like a unit of 5 in there, you roll
Yeah.
5 dice.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
I think it's good.
It's both.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
Because if you fail all 5 and the Impulsor blows up, it's bad.
Yeah, but if you had all 5, the squad would have been dead anyways. So at least you took a better chance on it not being dead.
Oh, counterpoint.
I think I'm into it. I'm just
it's better.
confused.
And you can.
You're paying a tax. It's a pretty expensive tax.
Yeah, right.
But it's a tax to allow them to shoot 2 times.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Hellblasters only ever got to shoot 1 time.
know.
And then when they had the banner, they got to shoot 2 times.
could put cool
and that
buffs
was
on
already
there.
broken, if you remember, at the start of 8th. Like,
Yeah.
Hellblasters shooting twice, OP.
Well, now
I like
Hellblasters
it's
shooting-
inbuilt now, though.
they always shoot
Hellblaster
twice
shooting
now.
once.
Yeah.
Hellblaster shooting once, not good enough. So now you pay this tax, and Hellblasters get to shoot 2 times?
No, 3 times because they shoot on death guaranteed now.
Not when they're in the tank, though.
They can't die when they're in the tank, Brian.
But the whole tank can die.
Yeah.
And then they don't shoot on that death, do they?
No, but they get out behind a building.
But they do now shoot when they die from their own overheats. They changed that.
Yeah, right. So all I'm trying to say is Hellblaster is actually probably pretty good now.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you can take that gun and shoot several targets with it,
Yeah.
you're good.
I think so. I'm having a tough time believing it, but I think so.
We'll see.
I think it's cool.
The Art of War folks think that they're quite strong,
And you
they
can
know better than me.
You can slap
I
the
think they're good.
impulsor with a tech marine to give a plus 1 to hit, and now your plasma's hitting on 2s.
Okay, now that's cute. Oh,
Because it's just the impulsor that's shooting.
right.
The impulsor
think
just
it's kinda
has
good.
5 plasma rifles.
It's kind of good. Yeah.
Yeah, so we think they're good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leandris. Hey guys, lovely content. What's going on with ruins visibility and cover? Can I see if I'm within? Do I get cover outside? Help a poor soul.
Want to take them through this?
Totally. Leandris, this is an excellent question. We ourselves have been working through it over the last few days. It's confusing.
It
It's
changed a
lot.
bit from the last edition, but only subtly.
Subtly, but importantly.
Yeah.
So, the word obscuring is not really a keyword. You have ruins that basically obscure. Functions normally the same. So if you're behind it, then you are not visible. This
You count the whole thing as being something you can't see through.
infinitely tall, completely
Opaque.
filled in,
Yeah.
basically. And if you have a ton of wounds, you're no longer automatically seen unless you have towering. And if you're towering, you can see both ways.
Yeah, right. So the number of wounds doesn't dictate whether you can be seen or be seen. It's this towering keyword.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, the big change is in order to unlock true line of sight with the building, you have to be fully in it with the entire unit. So if you're a vehicle, your whole vehicle has to be in it. If you're just bases, the entire base has to be physically on it. You cannot tag into it, can't tow into it now. You need to be on it, and then you can fully unlock true line of sight, both in
Your ability to have true line of sight
your
through
true
it.
line of sight. If you are tagging into it,
If you're touching it in any way,
touching it, yeah, thank you for translating, then people can see you, but you actually can't see out. It actually does not unlock that functionality. It's very awkward. That is how the way it works.
so it's not symmetrical. It's easier for people to see you than for you to see through. And this is good because it can be easily abused.
Yes.
And now, if the base, like if the actual physical size of your ruin is small and you're trying to put something large in it, like a tank or a riptide, it might not be physically large enough to get wholly within to be able to see through. And in fact, I bet you it's not almost ever.
Right.
Almost all of our terrain, quite large, not large enough
Exactly.
for land raiders, riptides, whatever.
Yeah.
And even some big squads, it's hard to get every model in.
Yep.
So pretty tough for you to be able to get into a ruin to unlock to see through it. But very easy for you to touch into a ruin and be seen.
Yep. They are kind of doubling down on this abstraction, which is fine. It's just different. And then the other thing to note is for ruins, again, specifically, if you're shooting at a unit and they're at least partially obscured, the unit is at least partially obscured by ruins, they're going to get cover. So that type of across the battlefield cover is going to be much, much more common. Because even if they have one model that's behind or partially hidden behind it, then they can start taking cover on that model.
So cover is now easier to get than ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
you
Before
can
you
get
had
on
to have a
vehicles.
whole unit within the piece of terrain to get it. And now cover applies to more unit types and it's easier to obtain. So cover, everyone's going to have cover. Cover is very common. In fact, if you're being shot at and you don't have cover, you probably made a mistake. Like, it's so easy to get cover.
Yeah.
And that's why ignore cover's abilities are also more prevalent.
Like Jinx Cult's very strong.
And it's a very, very useful ability, right?
Yep.
So I think there's that. Now, one thing we should say, though, is when you're talking about these obscuring buildings and you get in them and they have true line of sight, a lot of times it's best for your ruins to be fully closed.
On the ground floor.
On the ground floor.
Ground floor.
Yeah, like don't have a bunch of windows, don't have a bunch of doors. The game breaks when you have ruins that are like that.
Yeah.
Really, 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 the game only works when almost all your ruins are fully closed on the ground floor.
Yep.
So even if your ruins are not, make an agreement with your friends at the table. Hey, we're going to count these as block. Today, we played in ruins that were like mesh.
Yeah.
They had like a crisscross mesh. You could see through them entirely. And that would have ruined this game. Ruined
There's
it.
no way to play it. It's a shooting gallery, right?
Yeah, so we counted them as closed.
Yep.
And that's what we do here. That's what you should do. That's what lots of tournaments do.
That's what GW does.
Do they? Great.
Yeah.
So just do it. They should have put in the rules. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Cellophane. Rip to my scars, Thunderhammer, Vanguard Vets. Considering running my 30k con model as Gilman because he just seems better than Corsaro. Thoughts?
Yeah, do it, because ultimately, moments like this are a bummer for playing cool armies that you love, but it shouldn't stop you from playing the cool army that you love. And so I think you go for it. I think it's a great idea.
I think that kind of counts as thing works even better now than it used to.
Yes.
Because now the Space Marine's all one thing. If
Exactly.
you're like, I'm going to play White Scars, you're not, and by taking Gilliman, you're not actually playing Ultramarines
No, not really.
as White Scars.
Yeah.
You're playing Space Marines as White Scars, and you're just subbing the one model. So actually, I think that's totally cool.
Yeah.
So now, like for me, like take Gilliman, make him whatever model you want,
I'm working on mine.
and then now you say like, this is my Primarch, and he's got good kind of generic middle of the ground like Primarch rules. So he kind of can be almost any Primarch.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like very Ultramarine. He feels
Right.
like just the Space Marine.
Primarch. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's rad. But yeah, so if you didn't see, the Vanguard veterans used to have a lot of distinctive loadouts, right? Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Lightning Claw, double Lightning Claws.
Storm Shield.
Relic Blades?
Yeah, they had. Yeah,
You guys remember
people didn't
Relic
take
Blades?
those.
That
but,
was hot like a week ago.
Yeah.
yeah, but lots of pistols, whatever. And now they combined it all. That every weapon, Thunderhammer, Lightning Claw, Relic Blade, whatever, Power Fist, anything they could have, it's all one kind of weapon called Legacy Weapon or something they call it?
Heirloom weapon.
Heirloom
Yeah,
weapon.
similar.
Legacy.
Yeah,
It's no.
that's basically what they're calling
Basically
it.
that.
So they call them all the same thing. They're all the same, and now there's no ability to have two weapons. So if you had double Lightning Claws, you cannot be equipped with double. So you technically must be equipped with one heirloom weapon and then one pistol or shield.
Well, it
And
turns out, Brian, all those kits had pistols on the hip anyway. You can have your double lightning claws as one heirloom weapon, pistol on the hip.
I like that.
and that's essentially the way we played it today. I have double Lightning Claws, and we just put Inferno pistols on them.
Yeah.
We rolled a D3 to decide.
Because like I know they're wearing the claws, but they're still able to be like.
No, I was counting the claws.
Edward Scissorhands.
No, the claws were like, they shot the claws out, like, yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Well, common misconception, lightning claws come from the knuckle, not the fingertips. So you can still use your fingers. You just got to be careful where your hand is.
Yeah,
pointing.
so
Yes.
mine, they actually did do them as the fingers, and they regret it
No,
deeply.
Why?
No. They didn't follow the instructions.
no. Who needs them?
That's the difference between a lightning claw and an heirloom weapon.
That's right.
It was an early plan for
Right,
a lightning
yeah.
claw.
We're phasing those out.
Thanks, Brooke. Brian, glad to see you back. Just got back from Vista, the Bahamas myself.
How's it going?
Visited Great Exuma, and wow, what a beautiful place. I'm jealous. Also, please do Lord of the Rings, such a great game system.
I would love I love Lord of the Rings. I read all the community articles so jealously, like, oh, so cool. The thing about Lord of the Rings that really slows me down is I think Lord of the Rings genuinely requires diorama grade terrain.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to play Osgiliath? Like, get building, chump. Like, it's going to be 8 months of work. And I think you really want great terrain. The game kind of asks for it in a way.
Yeah.
And so it's not that I don't want to build that amazing terrain. If I was here in the studio, I would be doing it. In fact, it was the project I was about to start before I left.
Yep.
I was going to build like 6 Lord of the Rings boards over a period of like a year or so. I started buying bits for them and stuff. But it's a big commitment. So, but we'll play, I'm actually excited to play a couple small games just
That'd
to
be
get the
awesome.
feel for.
Yeah.
Really excited. Also, yeah, Great Exuma, beautiful. Anyone who comes to Bahamas, if you ever come, Bahamas is 700 islands, okay?
Whoa.
It is not one island.
What?
It's like, you can't have that many islands.
Bahamas is 700 islands. It spans almost the entire height of what you would think of as the Caribbean. Bahamas is not actually in the Caribbean, but it's close to it. And the main island, Nassau, the like capital island that the cruise ships stop at, whatever, it is the lamest island of all of them. Like, it's cool, kinda, but the other islands, the small ones, the kind of more untouched ones, they are stunning. There's like so many of these islands have no humans. Most of them are no humans, and they are beautiful, untouched natural wonders. And the Bahamas has a unique type of water, and I mean this genuinely. There's islands that exist halfway on the Atlantic, and on the other half of the island is not called the Caribbean. It's called like the Bight, but it's kind of what you think of. And the island is 10 feet thick. Okay, so it's tiny. On the one side, the ocean is dark and mean and angry and churning. On the other side, the water is crystal clear, bright turquoise, perfectly calm. The water is physically different. It is like not, even when it's separated by 5 feet of land, it's physically different water. And the Bahamian Islands are stunning. It's a beautiful place to live. We love it there so much. And definitely, if you're visiting, try to get to one of those smaller islands. Amazing.
Well, there you go. Great travel ad. How much did the Bahamas pay you for that, Brian?
They can't afford anything.
Not sponsored.
Thanks, Two Bad Cats. Hi, guys. Yes, I am in the Bahamas, but leave in the summer. Interesting.
That's nice.
Paid in Canadian dollars because YouTube doesn't take Bahamian dollars.
That's correct, it doesn't.
I'm probably on the other side on PI, but am in Discord going to LVO as well.
Oh,
Cool.
nice.
PI is Paradise Island.
What?
That sounds nice.
You made that up.
It's a small island that is just in front of Nassau, and there's actually a little bridge connecting it.
Yeah, that's cute.
Well, you got to head over, Brian. Go play
I go to Paradise Island all the time. Paradise Island is where the Atlantis Resort is, and they're opening the very first Shake Shack in Bahamas there. So I'll be going for burgers. My daughter really loves Shake Shack, so
exciting.
I have a story about Shake Shack, Brian. I went over some weekend, and I ordered. You put in your phone number. They text you. I got a text that was like, "We'll let you know when your order's ready."
It's a good story.
We were sitting there for 25 minutes.
Okay.
They were closing. They were doing that thing where they flicker the lights to tell you to leave. We were like, where is our food? I looked at the text, still nothing. The only text I received was, we'll text you when your order's ready. I walk up to the counter, the food's been sitting there for 20 minutes and it's cold.
Yeah.
No.
Did they make you a new one?
No.
You could tell them.
They were they wanted to close.
Yeah.
They were like, get out.
You weirdo.
I was upset.
I'd be upset too. Honestly, much like my cereal, I have to eat my burgers within a very short time of them being
That
made.
is, you know what? On that we can agree at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burger kind of also a sandwich, so I don't know where you stand on that.
So
but...
the moment you cook it, it becomes acceptable.
Oh, so any cooked sandwich.
Wait, so you could have like a steak sandwich?
You could have like a chicken teriyaki sandwich?
Yeah, those sound much better.
Like a
Philly cheesesteak?
fried chicken sandwich?
Yeah. Yes.
Grilled cheese.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
So panini. You can do a panini.
Oh yeah, I love a good panini.
Oh, well, this
okay.
guy loves all kinds
So
of
he just
sandwiches.
hates lunch meat.
You just hate deli
I
sandwiches.
don't like deli sandwich.
Okay.
Cold.
Lots of people
I'll
don't like
forgive
that.
And this comes from, and again, from a very privileged position of like having sandwiches every day as a kid. Very privileged.
Is that privileged? Kids who get to have sandwiches?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Like a
I'm
bologna sandwich?
I'm like,
You're the top of the...
My mom made me sandwiches when I was a kid. But my mom made me sandwiches when I was a kid, and I was like, I don't want any more sandwiches. And I'm done with sandwiches unless they're cooked.
Okay, well, hey.
Listen, I like most of my sandwiches cooked too.
This is a much more agreeable.
We're going to go have some cooked sandwiches.
Sounds great. And by that you mean burgers, hopefully.
Sure.
Well, thanks, Pandemic Painting. Is Roboot as big a deal as he seems?
He's great.
He seems really good. I've been trying to figure out how good.
He's not lying good.
No, but, well, let me tell you.
On his own, he's not lying good, but he buffs the army.
He's a force multiplier.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you why I don't think he's all that.
well, here's the thing.
I have a theory.
I have theories, but also I was skeptical because he buffs, but he is one model. He's probably going to be a lot of points. And then I played against him.
Yep.
And let me tell you, 14 2-damage attacks, devastating wounds,
Yep.
with 4 rerolls.
He's not a joke.
Will pick up anything.
Yeah.
And I was
So
like,
in combat, he's a
this
monster.
guy.
And you know, if your vehicle and 14 2-damage attacks isn't scary, his fist is very scary.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Like, his melee profile arguably better than the lion. But tell me your theory.
I think so. I think he's going to be amazing in combat,
Yeah.
and a single combatant, he's incredible, and that's great. He's not as defensive, of course,
Yeah.
which is the whole package, right?
Right.
And so he trades it for this reroll buff, right?
Yeah.
And
He gets up once on a 3-up.
which is cool.
and if he's near Space Marines, he's lone operative.
which is cool, which is the same as Lion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
No fight first, though.
yeah, right. And 3-up involved.
And -1 to it.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is one of the things I found is most of the time you don't need Oath on 2 units. Like they're not presenting you that many crucial targets.
Yeah, like...
And if they are, you don't even have enough firepower to split between all of them.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Today, you were getting full rerolls on one unit, and then usually getting half rerolls on a different unit.
Yeah.
You know, your twin linked or whatever.
And I almost didn't need it on a second unit. There wasn't a second good target almost ever.
It's going to vary a lot matchup to matchup.
I get it.
So if you're going against like MSU, GSC, it's like, cool. Those 2 units that were very dead are still very dead.
That's the thing. MSU, did you need help killing them? Probably not.
Exactly, yeah.
So, and if someone's feeding you 2 anvils, they might have made a mistake.
That's true. That's true. I think there's a cute combination to be had with a block of Stern Guard. Oathing 1, they drop down. You finish them off.
Yeah.
Finish it off. Then you pick a second Oath, and they once per game can shoot again.
Yeah,
if
right.
They kill a unit.
And you're oathing a
There's
second.
like cute things you can do
That's
with that,
cute.
which is fun.
All right.
We'll find out.
Well, I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch.
No, I know. Like
I think
said,
he's good.
I'm trying to decide.
I think he's definitely good. But
It's between good and staple. That's what we're asking.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
will you
But
see him
Lion
in every
is
army?
great.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Lion is Dark Angel staple.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be in every list.
I think he's a staple, yeah.
I like that they're not competing for the same slot because
Totally
they're
agreed.
different armies.
Totally agreed.
Yeah.
Thanks, Biggie Hugs. I'm excited for all the new 10th memes of the week and narrative stories and games. What model are you guys hoping to get a refresh in unique one-eye sculpt with a new Screamer, bigger presence? Body is mine.
That sounds awesome.
So, sorry, which model do we wish got a re-up?
Yeah, we're hoping, yeah.
Ooh,
We were
man,
actually
long list here.
It's a long list.
Yeah.
The Shard of the Nightbringer, Catan.
Oh, good choice.
That is a great one.
Everybody uses Creature Caster for that.
Because there's so much opportunity to make a crazy model. Like one of the 5 best models in Warhammer history. Like there's so much creative potential for that. On that new bigger base, they could make something grand. They could charge $1 million for it, like if they wanted to make it like really fancy.
Yeah.
And you only need 1 in an army sort of thing, so you could go hard on it. Shard of the Nightbringer, man.
I'm curious and optimistic about Catan, specifically the bigger base Catan. So like the Void Dragon is awesome, but his size was such a detriment. We didn't see him much in the last edition.
Yeah,
So
make them all big. That's what I want.
Exactly.
I think they should change the rules to have them all on huge bases.
and make it so that it's fine. Like they're going to be seen, they're going to be shot, and they're going to survive. You know, so I'm really excited to see what that
That's
looks like.
hard to balance.
Very hard.
It's tough.
I mean, there is lone operative now, so that goes a
Oh,
long way.
you can't make them lone operatives.
Actually,
saying.
I changed my mind. Make them lone operative. I want that.
Yeah, I'm just
Have we
saying.
read the? Yeah, we should find out.
Just saying.
We should look after this. Did they already do that?
That sounds gross.
I'm hopeful for Warp Spiders. I think we talked about there was a lot of Aspect Warriors that didn't get redone when other models that shouldn't have got redone. It's ridiculous. We did not need new Guardians.
So you don't like hydraulic press warp spiders?
No.
Yeah, the warp spiders are particularly bad, and they can also be
flat.
cool.
They could be
Very
amazing.
dynamic, like half in peering and
Yeah,
stuff.
coming through like portals and
Yeah,
stuff. Oh, they just could be
The Vision model, Brian, he's like going through a...
MCP again,
wall.
huh?
Dude, it's constant.
This guy.
You can't. It's
Very cool.
constant.
Yeah,
cool.
I agree. Aspect warriors in general, but the warp spiders are probably up. So funny enough, warp spiders wouldn't be my highest on the list. They would be striking scorpions.
Really? But the current ones look fine.
Yeah, they're fine, and they could be so good.
You don't like Predator?
Yeah, but make me like new, better predators.
Yeah, you know what,
They
I'm
could
on
be
board.
so good. I think they need to be bigger scale, and they just need to be better. And along with that, I think every single time they do one of the units, they need to do the Phoenix Lord with him.
That would be amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, I would say a whole new Custodes unit. We just don't have enough
Yeah.
plastic units.
A plastic one, maybe?
We just don't have enough plastic units. We need more. We need a new box of like some shooty.
What's it do? Like, what kind of
gun,
role
it has
does
to
it
have
fill?
guns. Like that's what they don't have in plastic. In plastic, there is no shooty Custode.
Plastic
And
tank?
the idea,
That's not a Land Raider?
yeah, they walk a tough line because like
Yeah.
Forge World kind of covers all the bases, but also doesn't. But you don't want to overlap with Forge World because then they're not going to sell the Forge World. But if they're trying to phase out Forge World, maybe they want to make it all plastic. It's tough because the army the idea that they don't have big guns is laughable.
Yeah.
They defend Terra.
Right.
They have the biggest guns.
No, they have little Dark Age of technology guns.
But like, how do
Right?
we why don't we have shooty Custodes?
Yeah.
you do
have
it on a
Sagittarum.
portal. Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
We can
the
do
Forge,
better.
they're leaning heavily on the Forge World. I think they're in a sticky spot. I think what they need to do is what they did with Horus Heresy, just turn all that stuff plastic. Just take all their
Yeah, I think they need to bite the bullet. On
yeah,
that
just
one.
turn it all into plastic. You know, that's what they need to
Yeah,
do, and
I could
take
see
it away
them-
from Forge World, put it in the book, and make it all plastic.
I can see them.
I don't
doing
think they need a new unit. Just make that stuff plastic.
Yeah.
If something needs a new unit in that space, like make more Sisters for me. Sisters of Silence.
gosh,
Expand
yes.
that out.
Sisters are very lacking.
Yes.
And Sisters could be badass. Like,
God,
give me
yeah.
more of that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Hey, great question, Biggie Hugs.
Don't make any more new models, G-Dub. I can't.
Can't do
Oh,
it.
Brian.
I
got
can't
water
survive
real
it.
Are you gonna pretend that they're not gonna make new models for the rest of the year?
I know, right?
They're gonna make new models. Thanks, Chad. Just got home and need to watch the game and post game, but wanted to say seeing Brian back made me squee like an excited fangirl.
Aw, thank you. I'm so excited to be back.
Well, Chad, if you're gonna go back and watch today's 8+ hours of streaming, boy, do we have some news for you. It's the 10 days of 10th.
Heck yeah.
You're not gonna have time to rewatch old stuff because we're gonna be streaming
It's coming
basically all
again.
the
Yeah,
time.
we're starting a game right after this. It's getting closer.
Getting closer. We've been here a long time.
Almost there. Yeah, thanks, Chad. We're as excited as you are, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you. It's gonna be a blast.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Marlon Ramirez. Glad to see Brian again. He was the first YouTuber I ever watched when I first got into Warhammer. Anyways, thoughts on Imperial Fists for 10th. Brian, how does that make you? You're like Winters now.
Oh.
How does that
I'm
make
an
you
OG.
feel?
So Winter is one of the guys I saw before.
Yeah.
I'd say my classic, like, I liked Winters, but the one I watched was Tactics, Tabletop Tactics.
Yeah.
Those are the guys I watched.
How about mini
watched.
wargaming, Brian? Were you?
I didn't watch them because I didn't like that they were they had guests coming in. And one of the things, even we know, this is a hard job.
Yep.
And you have someone come in off the street who's never done it before.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they were even kind of sketchy at playing Warhammer. They had sketchy armies.
Yeah.
And now they got to host a show.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough. So mini wargaming, like, tons of respect. They invented this whole thing. They've been in it forever. And they kind of slowed, they kind of took that away after COVID. Of course, they couldn't have people come in.
Yeah.
And they started like focusing on their own crew who are super talented, right?
Or doing more collabs with other like professionals.
Yeah,
so, like
yeah, yeah.
Scari's been doing a lot of content with them.
Right.
It is tough. We're already like, we're very picky about who we have on the show. Even though we have Shane.
Right. So they have professional people come, and that's great.
They're already good at it.
So I love their crew, and so I love that. But Tactics, like, I feel they nailed their thing. So that's who I was watching. That was kind of my first. But the thing was, when I started it, there was no one doing, despite the name Tabletop Tactics, nobody was doing tactics content.
Right.
Nobody was like being somewhat informative. And I had just gone through this spree of going from like 0 in Warhammer to trying to be like top tier.
Right.
Over a period of time when my work was really slow. It was slow at work, and I just like learned Warhammer as a full-time job. And it was a full-time job.
Yeah.
And it was not a joke, and I had to go to like 3 tournaments a month.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And, I'd learned the game, and I was legitimately good at it.
Yeah.
And so now I was like, nobody's talking about this, right? Like all these other channels, they're playing casual Warhammer, and that's cool. But like, I wanted to know, how does this stuff actually work,
And now it's come full circle.
Yeah. Now I don't know anything about
How
Warhammer.
does this actually work?
Did I ever tell you guys that back in, like, way before I'd even moved to California, I applied to Mini Wargaming to go visit,
Oh, to be a host.
like,
or a
just stop by
really?
as a guest. Like, I was driving across the country to come to California. I was like, well, I could just detour. Like, I'm in New Jersey. I could detour to Niagara Falls. It's not that far.
Yeah.
And then, like, be on their show. I have, like, these terribly painted Tau models and terribly painted
Your
Space
white Tau?
Marines. And I was like, yeah, let's, I'll apply. And they were like, no, please don't ever.
Please don't come. lose our address.
Not only was it not don't come, it was like don't ever talk to us again. It was.
I mean,
'cause
Old
they asked
Bridger,
for-
I wouldn't have had him on either.
They asked for pictures, and I sent pictures, and they were bad. And they were like,
His Tau army looks like it was painted with whiteout. That's how thick he put on the white paint. It's so good. We got to get them in the studio sometime.
We really
Yeah.
do. We can get
that's
John
good.
to repeat.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'll show them.
I didn't
I'll
know-
ask them for pictures of their models.
The thing is, I didn't know about mini wargaming until I moved to California. But when I lived in Toronto, they were like 40 minutes from my house,
That's wild.
where they are. They're in like St.
Yeah.
Catharines.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which is not far. It's like 40 minutes if you're good traffic, but 40 minutes outside of Toronto. So You know, I would have definitely tried, but I didn't really get back into it until I came to California.
Yeah, makes sense. As far as fists in 10th, they're looking good, honestly. I think
so.
There's not a bunch of differentiators between all these factions, so you're going to be largely playing Space Marines, but Lysander is one of those characters that will make you play a faction, just to play it, to get that amazing buff on, I think, what is basically the only stand in the middle and tank unit in the army, Terminators.
I think it's even more than that, because fists always had the worst rules.
Right,
out of all the indexes.
Yeah.
So you always played the other ones. And that's because they were always so focused on this,
Bad things?
like, stand still.
And all the worst guns.
And kill buildings.
They were like, let's kill buildings with the worst guns and stand still.
Yeah. And so now, every single Space Marine army, with the exception of a few special characters, is the same.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you're a Raven Guard and my fists, they're the same. So all of a sudden now I'm playing my fists, and they're legit.
Yeah.
They're as good as everyone else.
And that's the thing, that's what I've been excited for, because everyone's like, oh, I don't know about these new Space Marines. I was like, look, no matter what, the fists will be at least as good as the rest of the Space Marines finally. And then we can play with our cool yellow models, and it's going to be a good time.
Exactly. And now, again, you look at, like, Raven Guard actually has what? Just Shrike? Or is there two even names?
Just Shrike.
It's just Shrike. It's like, cool. Like, Raven Guard traditionally had some interesting rules or whatever, but it's like, oh, it's just Shrike. Who cares? And, like, Salamanders were always amazing.
I mean, Shrike does some cool stuff. Let's not.
He does. But
and so does Torgaradon, and so does Lysander. And that's what I'm trying to say, right? Like, with the exception of Ultramarines, who have, like, 20 named characters, everyone else, pretty good.
Yeah.
And the named characters aren't by any stretch auto-include.
No, it gives you a way to kind of focus in and narrow the field, and again pick a kind of a play style or like a unit that you want to play in a certain style, right?
Agreed.
It's like even Iron Daddy, like he makes one unit truly feel like an Iron Hands unit,
right.
and the rest is the same as everyone else. So if you want that unit, do that.
Agreed. So I think it's a great time to be one of the Space Marine chapters that sucked. Because now they're good.
And I'm like,
Now you don't have to feel bad.
yeah, exactly. Thanks, Marlon.
All right, thanks, Arcanos. So I don't know if these have been asked about, but how do Reavers, the Stormhawk, and Stormraven look at a glance? Love these units, but they were bad in 9th. How about in 10th?
They're bad in all editions.
Should I pull up?
Pull up the Reavers for a second.
Yeah.
I think we'll say this. I don't think Reavers look like they went from 0 to hero, but they look more playable
Yes.
than they did before.
Yes.
But they're going to suffer from a Space Marine problem, which is I have 200 data sheets.
Yeah.
Is this one better at that role than one of the other 5 other data sheets that do the same thing?
Exactly.
And the answer is no.
No.
So I'm pretty sure that's the place they're still in. They're better than they were, still not the best in their slot.
I agree.
Why are they so hard to find?
I don't know.
There we go.
you
Reaver
go.
Squad.
So the
Okay.
most interesting thing about them is sadly not the grappling hooks, though that is interesting. It is the fact that when they fight, they cause battle shocks within 6. And again, as we discussed a few times today, battle shock on demand is amazing. It's very, very strong. But again, kind of like Brian's saying, so they're a bit awkward because, I'll tell you why. They're only OC1. They're not super killy. So why do you battle
they're
shock?
not shooty or fighty.
Yeah, you battle shock to take a point. And you could have something that
Terminators get battle shock on the charge.
Oh yeah, they
So like
Not at a -1, Brian.
I get it, but like you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
the Terminators do all the things you want, and then they also have this
exactly.
But you could stack it up. You have the Reavers go in. They battle
too much
shock
commitment.
You, -1, and then you pass that battle shock. You know what? Terminators go in.
They're
Battle
just gonna
shock
be
you
dead.
again.
Or the Terminators will
Battle
bring
shock
enough
you
OC
twice.
to take the point anyways.
Yeah.
So I agree. I don't think they're bad, but I don't know that they make the cut.
But yeah, you want to have fun with them. You're not going to feel sad.
Yeah.
Like they can do a thing.
Yeah, for sure. The flyers, these are the small flyers they said?
Stormhawk
No, the big
and
ones.
Storm
Stormhawk
Raven.
and Storm
The Storm Raven is cute. You know what rule it has?
No.
-1 damage.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Isn't it a Flying Land Raider too?
It's a flying land raider, basically, I think. Yeah.
But Flying Land Raider with -1 damage.
They're harder to maneuver this edition.
No.
You can't move them. You can't tilt them before you fly.
So I
do
assume
that
it has
out
the
there.
hover keyword?
Yeah, you have to declare that.
Everything in the game is allowed to hover. All planes.
But you can.
Really?
Yeah.
But you have to declare that at the start of the game. You can't switch
And
modes.
you hover
Correct.
forever.
You
Once
hover
you
forever.
start
No, I
hovering.
know. I just don't see myself using aircraft ever.
I wouldn't say never.
Like the aircraft thing lets you fly to the back of their board, shoot the thing behind a ruin, and then not be charged. You know what I mean? That's kind of big.
Yeah, that's kind of big.
So if you wanted just a floating tank, like you can take floating tanks, but these things usually have a premium because of their ability to fly to the back of the board and shoot the thing behind the thing.
We've internally discussed this at length. There are some pretty severe drawbacks to being a flyer. One, you can't come in until turn 2. You have to start in reserves.
Sucks.
Can't come in until turn 2. They've screened out their backfield, so you come in your own deployment zone turn 2.
So you're playing turn 3.
So turn 3, they fly to the opponent's backfield and shoot the thing.
Which is too late.
The reason that I think this might be relevant is if we live in a Cold War of indirect.
Right.
This wins the Cold War of indirect. We've seen indirect Cold Wars before, and planes were the thing that brought us out of it.
But again, if you screen them out, they're not shooting you until turn 3.
Yep.
And you're going to have a turn to respond.
Yep.
But
We'll have to see.
There are, in theory, some really good planes.
Yes.
There's a big trade-off of like this really good plane. You don't get it really until maybe
GW's discouraging planes.
Certainly.
It's probably good.
But I think this is an elegant way to discourage them.
Yes.
Of like not make it bad, not make it really good but cost a lot of points, so they're still going to spam them if they're too good. It's like you only get it for part of the game, which is how it should be to play. You can't just hang around. You can't just like stall out.
It's not wrong.
Planes can't hang around.
They can't. They do strafing runs and then they leave.
Right.
Gotta go get more fuel.
So it's almost like you should get a turn 1. And then not the other turns.
Somebody's got to
Not
call
the
in
middle
this
turns.
strafing
Yeah,
run.
Exactly.
Somebody's got to call it in. They got to throw a flare. You got to...
Yeah, called it in before.
Before you even brought troops in, you don't know where you need a strafing run. You even found the enemy.
At the same time you brought the troops.
How long, how many seconds do you think an actual battle is in real time?
2 hours.
2 hours? 2 hours?
No, it's like a couple minutes.
3 hours.
I feel like it's minutes.
Takes me 3 hours to play the game.
Anyways. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that was a great question.
Thanks, Arcanus.
Boop, boop, boop. Thank you, Vatrix the Matrix. Welcome back, Brian. Out of curiosity, guys, what is the thing in the Space Marine Index that is most baffling to you? Mine is the melee of Van Vets versus Assault Marines. Makes me scratch my Raven Guard beaky helmet.
Yeah.
Just want lightning claws.
I know. They're very awkward.
That was the one I had the biggest reaction to today.
You were so confused.
Yeah.
You were literally could not conceptualize the way the unit was meant to be. Because nobody's ever done it.
Yeah.
And you're like, the bolt pistol costs the same as an Inferno pistol? Or plasma pistol?
But do we know that?
I'm assuming that. I am assuming that. Cut the beat.
Listen, it's bound to happen.
Look, we've only been streaming for 10 hours. It's
I
fine.
know. You know what? Call me up.
Just don't do it again tomorrow.
We'll let you have that one in chat. Just don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell the internet.
No, but it's not only that. It's that they had really distinctive, iconic war gear.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And taking that away, I think is really weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one really stuck out to me.
That one was strange. We talked about, again, it's in some cases, do you then start to invest in a unit that doesn't do what it used to do? So a Libby with jump pack gives an extra AP. So then it's oh, we're trying to reclaim some AP, but then you're just investing more points into a sunk unit.
Yeah.
But it is kind of a unique role. There's nothing else in the book that really does that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the Vanguard Vets, I'll say in this particular game I was playing, still felt super valuable. Jump pack was really useful. I think I like the Storm Shield.
Yeah.
So, Storm Shield and what's it called? The Heritage Weapon?
From my father, from his father before him.
I like it. We're sticking with it.
Yeah, whatever they call them. That seems like it works for me, and I won't use them anymore as an alpha strike threat. I'll use them as objective monkeys and doing trading and doing an action and getting to a place really quick, fighting off your small MSU squad, and then being a bit of a pain to remove and exchange.
Exactly.
That's the way I'm going to use Vanguard Vets, which is not what they're supposed to be used for.
No.
But I think they're actually quite good at it.
Yep. Exactly.
Mine is Blade Guard Vets. That's the big head scratcher for me in this book of what does this unit do? Why does every character go in this unit, but then they don't do anything?
Yeah.
Why? What is their purpose?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
They're in the penalty box.
They kind of, because they're so much easier to kill. But with a Judiciar, they seem really good. But situationally,
Let's see. I think they're going to be good. for the way you said to use them.
Yeah.
The thing is with the Judiciar, it's very telegraphed. It's like, don't charge me because I'll hit you.
That's good.
But that's what you want.
If they just literally, you don't want them to charge you. You don't want them to find out because they might actually win.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you'd rather just hold the point.
Yes.
That's what you brought this for.
The old Judiciar was super telegraphed in a bad way. It's like, oh, here he comes.
Here
He's
he
like
comes.
running across the field, you know?
Yeah.
But this is like telegraphed in a way that works to your advantage.
Strongly agree. It's a deterrent.
I am confused by them. And
They're
I have played
weird.
games against them and they just die in the open.
Like every character
Don't
can
do
be in the
that then.
squad. I don't know what they do.
Don't use them the way they used to be used.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems tough to. If they had like OC3 or something, then I would be on board.
You know what their OC is, right?
1?
1.
Yeah. Because
So is everyone.
They're not battle line.
You have to add if you add a banner, then they go to 2.
Yeah.
Which is like, you're not going to.
You
How much
might.
are you going to invest?
I wouldn't do that.
How
I
much
would
money
do
do you
the
throw in the
Judiciar.
hole?
I mean, what's his once per game thing? +1 attack for the unit. Yeah.
You don't know.
No.
I don't know.
No.
Again, baffling.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Strothman. What are Sternguard for? They kill 1 to 1.5 termies a turn. That sounds great. Excuse me,
This
sir.
is like for a 5-man, I guess.
That's awesome.
Is that a 5-man or is that a 10-man?
That's got to be a 5-man.
That's a 5-man, yeah.
Am I looking at them with the wrong lens? Beautiful models, just underwhelming. That is not underwhelming, sir. Termies are hard to move, and they get around it. Like, if 10 of them force Battle Shock on a 5-man Terminator
So a 10-man squad, you'd kill 3 Terminators out of a 10-man
that forces
squad.
Battle
I don't know,
Shock.
it doesn't sound great, but...
They're a very niche pick. I've gone back and forth.
I don't think they're that exciting. I think the thing that makes them worth taking is they have cool tabards.
Combi weapons are cool.
I'll tell you what's cool. A combi weapon heavy bolter. The heavy bolter that they have has devastating wounds.
Oh.
Totally great.
So every 6 there's 2 mortals.
Oh.
I think they're totally cool, but you don't need them. There's other shooting arm units that are good too.
I know. I think you're probably right because they're a little bit too niche.
Space
Yeah.
Marines don't lack ways to kill infantry.
Right.
And that's
Or
what this
yeah,
unit's
elite
for.
things. I don't think they're bad, and they're probably not the best in their category either.
Yeah.
But they are the most fashionable. So I make a lot of decisions that way. So
Clearly.
like this is the unit that I want to rock. So
Yeah.
I think this math was not done with Oath of Moment. So if you throw in Oath of Moment...
and if you're shooting someone's Terminator squad, you better be oathing them.
Right. And then you have Gilman to oath something else.
Maybe.
Truth is, I don't know. We're just talking. We don't know the math here.
You definitely need oath. Yeah. This unit is designed for oath.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Adder. Brian, I started watching for Brian. Great to see him.
Oh, here he is. We brought him for you.
Yeah. Glad to be back.
Just for you, Mr. Adder. Thanks, Hamsterdam. Hey, Titans, another question. Do you think the flying bike relic will come back? Just finished my con on Jet Bike Kit Bash
Me too.
with a custodian. Heresy? You can't do that.
Yes, you can. Shut up.
Custodian's bike? What army is everyone playing for the 10th Ed tourney?
Oh.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
You'll find out soon.
Do I think the relic bike will be back? No.
Doesn't feel like it, right?
Well, maybe.
In a world where they cut the number of things down a lot, and there isn't a White Scar book, no, that does not make the cut. Especially they don't have any model for that. They like it changes the way the model feels entirely.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of shocking they did it in the first place, to be honest.
kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. It was
And
kinda-
I also have a jetpack, a flying jetpack. I have a 30K
Yeah.
jetpack bike, which I feel I really love. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what I was playing today, right?
Yeah. Jet bike.
Jetpack bike, yeah. I like jetpack bike. I'm going with it.
Bike is a normal bike. But his
Do they just
jetpack-
take the tires out and just put jetpacks in where the
He just
tires
has
are?
to carry the bike
No,
in
no,
the
yeah,
air.
he has the jetpack and he's holding onto it.
He just ropes
It's
it
really
in.
heavy.
Got really strong thighs, okay? He clenches that bike like nobody's business.
Yeah,
Sorry.
jetpack bike.
Again, we're 9 hours in, 8 hours in. I can't really.
No, jetpack bike is genuinely funny. It's not just 9 hours in funny. So 10th at tourney, we're not announcing the armies yet,
Not yet. We'll announce as soon as we can.
but people are going to be playing what they're known for. Largely.
Well, not necessarily.
Not entirely.
Not entirely,
Okay,
but generally.
So it's a mix of things, and
Some of us are trying to reinvent ourselves, Brian.
it's not going to work.
it's not gonna work. Stop trying to make it a thing. You'll see.
Thanks, Better Gaming Every Day. I just saw the stream and was giddy to see Brian. This throwback trio took me back to how much you guys meant to us during lockdown. I wanted to say thank you so much for those days. Oh,
Our pleasure.
Yeah, it meant a lot to us too.
You helped us through it as well, honestly.
it was a group effort.
Yeah, it really was.
Thanks, Elijah. New to 40k and picked up Votan. So ready for 10th edition.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's go.
Let's-
We were just saying how much we need to expand our Votan as
We
well.
want to get a bunch more
It's one of our
stuff.
smallest collections.
Yeah, we need more.
And
we need more.
this is, when I got to the studio today, that was the first time I've ever seen Votan models in person.
Yeah, you did not like them.
I didn't.
The bikes are
I
the
didn't
one
like
you
the
don't like,
bikes,
yeah.
but I do like the tanks a lot.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty rad, and the core infantry are cool, and like the little characters and stuff are cool on foot.
characters are great.
But the bikes don't work for me. They feel small.
Nobody liked the bikes when they were first shown off.
Yeah,
And they
haven't
grew on
grown
people a little bit, mostly because the rules are insane.
Oh, are they? Yeah, they haven't
but
grown on me.
then-
I feel like they need to be chunkier. Like they're too small overall. I don't know.
I think of them as like, they're just like explorers, basically.
Yeah,
They're not really combat vehicles.
but I love the rover vehicles. I think
Right.
they're badass.
Thanks, Elijah. Welcome.
Thank you, Elijah.
Kind of, funny enough, it reminds me of that AOS army, the dwarfs. What are they called?
Oh, the Caradron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love their big flying boats, but actually, like the infantry and stuff, I'm like only so on.
Yeah.
Except the characters are cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? This is kind of the same kind of dwarfy thing. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Again, and that's why you don't play that faction for little
you
dudes.
played for flying boats.
flying boats.
Yeah. Thanks, Caldor, for Hagan Titans. Which Space Marine unit got the biggest glow up? Hellblasters. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Everyone loves Hellblasters.
What happens with Vendreads? Also, Brian, what are your thoughts on reanimation? Did something happen to Vendread?
Well,
they're
the
not in
Forge
there.
World ones are gone.
No, Vendread is a box dread, but venerable.
There's no Vendreads in
Oh,
there.
there's no Vendread, yeah.
Basically, there's just a Dreadnought, which is old school Dread, which is funny because I'm pretty sure they just said that they're not producing that anymore. But here the rules are, and they give a captain reroll. It's like super old school.
Oh, is it like
that's the strat they had.
that's Wisdom of the Ancients?
Yes.
Wisdom of the Ancients,
Yeah,
was
they
that
just do it all the time. So it's like, I don't know,
That's weird.
hide
Kinda
behind
cool.
a wall and give a bubble.
It's kind of cool.
But I mean,
Like it's like they're old. They're from a previous edition, so they still have auras.
yeah,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's kinda-
I actually like the way you think about that.
hold over for.
They haven't heard that it's 10th edition yet.
Yeah.
It's an heirloom dread.
Heirloom Dreadnought. Just my grandpappy's Dreadnought.
Who got the
Oh,
best
that's
glow?
dark, actually.
I hope it's Hellblasters. I was just saying, I own like 20 Blood
Blood
Angels
Angel ones.
Hellblasters.
They do seem good.
Good.
And
Well,
they totally seem playable now,
and
which
I
is
think
cool.
Blood Angels will be much better as a shooting faction than a melee faction now. Hey!
No.
Might be true. But that's definitely the case. I think a lot of characters got to glow up as like particularly niche, like a Gravis captain or a random lieutenant or something like that.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they have a more of a purpose. Even like a Space Marine librarians.
Phobos Librarian.
Yeah, all these things they have a use now. So these are super cool. And I think that's going to be true across almost all these factions.
feels like it.
These characters are more interesting. Thoughts on reanimation? So I read reanimation a while back now, so I don't remember it. I know basically
I got you, fam.
it happens in the command phase, right?
All right, in your command phase, every unit that has living metal, you roll.
Which is the whole army.
Yeah, you get D3, pool of wounds back. If somebody's wounded, you can heal them. But you can continue to use that pool to bring back models. And even if you can't get a full model back, they come back on one for one
Right.
wound. And then
So
you
if there's
keep
a wound,
healing.
like if it's a model with two wound units, you first have to heal the wound and then you bring back your next model.
Yeah, you do everything in increments of one,
Yeah.
and you can get models back. You have to finish healing, then you can bring a model back with 1 health, then you can heal him 1, you just keep going.
Yeah. And then do you get more back on other, like on the...
I don't know
They haven't announced anything like
if
that.
I can say anything about
I
that.
see, okay. Because, okay. That would be my guess. That's how they've done in the past. But
Yeah.
so in this case, the squad has to live all the way until your command phase.
Yep.
As
So-
far as the preview is concerned.
I see. I don't have to play it. The truth is, I don't know.
Again, it's like an older version of it, frankly. This is what reanimation used to be.
Kind of. I mean, vehicles didn't heal D3.
They healed one.
True. But that was the big deal with the previous edition's reanimation. It was like, whoa, it's every time.
This is going to work a ton better for the chunky units.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, it is an ability that feels like it can be modified a lot of ways, which we just don't know. So
I'm personally into it because the army has more and more chunky units, And the chunky units you couldn't reanimate. They sucked.
Yeah,
Like, it
you
was
would
so
never get
hard
it.
to reanimate them.
D3 kinda
It felt like reanimation only worked on the warriors, basically.
Living Metal was such a joke.
Yeah,
One wound.
so now having everyone come back up, like imagine we're in these prolonged combats, and every turn it's like back again, back again, back again. Like that sucks. And in an edition that's where stuff's a little more durable, and that prolonged combat could happen, you'll get value.
Yeah.
So I'm into it. I'd love to see it on the table. I'm super excited to play Necrons. So can't wait to be doing it. Bridger's been playing Necrons too, right? You're really into Necrons?
Yeah.
So we're clearly excited about Necrons.
Like
here.
me some robots.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
There you go. Thanks, Erskine. Heart Titans on a budget. Want to put my 3,000 points of 3rd to 5th Ed Marines on the table in 10th. Thoughts on the Firstborn only options? Command Squad and Captain looks cute in that context. Though points, heart to the OG Titans.
Wouldn't know anything about that.
Oh yeah, we've never even seen points.
I never even heard of them.
We didn't comment on any points.
The command squads are cool.
They're cool.
Yeah, I like.
I can't tell if they're good, but they're cool. They're kind
Yeah.
of confusing.
It's just like, I like the fact that they're like, you know what? Yeah, it's like an apothecary friend, a banner friend, and a what's the other one? Some other kind of friend. They all went out and started a band.
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
get to join
It is a
someone.
band.
Yeah, so I think it's actually an interesting option.
I agree. It's cool.
Vanguard vets we discussed are interesting, but maybe not in the way that they used to be.
Play the game though.
Yeah, play the game.
The Firstborn vehicles are all cool.
Yes. Yeah,
They're all totally
actually.
playable.
Scouts, awesome.
Scouts are legit.
Sniper scouts especially.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
regular scouts can do the uppy downy, as Bridger's saying. But maybe there's play for that. There was another one, Terminators.
Yeah, and OG characters are all good into those squads if you've got them. So I think this is more interesting than the last 2 editions for your Firstborn.
Yes. Yeah. The whole Primaris, Terminators are maybe Primaris, maybe not. Definitely felt like a precursor to the Index, where it's like, oh, actually everyone kind of has their role, and nobody's necessarily.
I agree, and you know what? One thing that I think is, if you're a Firstborn Marine collector, if you were trying to play in 8th edition or 9th edition, Primaris was its own faction. Yeah. You had to start from scratch. Their characters, their units, their transports, right? Now. Oh, you've got a Rhino? Okay, add 1 squad of Primaris. They'll go in your Rhino, right? And they're going to play ball a little nicer, so you can add a squad here and there and not really feel like they're second-class citizens. Yeah. And that's cool. I'm into that.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, I got some news.
You just finished the last
10 left. I finally loaded all the super chats. We have 10 left.
Ooh, 10 left. All right.
I've been having to batch load as we go.
How long have we been doing this? Has this been my entire life?
Many hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We started at 3 p.m. It's almost 11.
Wow. It is dark now. You did tell me it would be dark by the time we
I
finished.
thought I was lying.
Right, it's been dark for hours.
You're right. It has been dark.
Thanks, Andy B.
Almost 11?
It's almost 11. Thanks,
Gotta
Andy
go bed
B.
soon.
Brian and Bridger, how insane do you think Custodies being -1 to hit in melee is going to be? Adrian, are you excited for Mono Quins in 10th? Do you want me to field this one, Brian?
Yeah.
He's gonna have it.
I'm not sold on it. Like, I think -1 is cute, but the best way to not take damage in combat is to kill the opponent.
So you want to fight first on the army?
The other two options are exploding 6s or 6s to hit auto wound. I'm just gonna kill him, right? Like,
I see.
Right.
But what if they're fighting you first? Because a lot of
I'll
armies are
tank
faster
it,
than...
and then I'll kill them.
Tank it without the -1. You don't need the -1 to be tanky, you're trying to tell me.
I don't know. I've spoken with other people who are like, oh yeah, I'll do it every combat phase.
The -1.
Yeah, and like,
Let me ask you
I'm
this.
just not
Do you
sold
think
on
they
it.
have trouble... Without the exploding 6s, do you think they can't kill a lot of the things they're in combat with? They just don't have enough damage or attacks?
Don't feel comfortable answering that question, Brian.
Oh, I see. Because like that's the question. That's the question. Like, is it harder to keep them alive, or is it harder to kill the thing you're in combat with? And it feels like historically, like I don't know, they were pretty killy. Like that wasn't ever an issue. They're going to hit all their hits. They're going to wound you pretty well. And good AP and good damage. It's like D3 sucked, but whatever.
There's a lot of context required to answer this question.
Things they haven't shown off yet.
And we don't have any of that context to talk about.
Okay.
So it's hard to answer this question, but
Well, we
I'm
clearly
not
don't
a
think
fan
it's going to
of
be
it.
insane.
No, I don't think -1 to hit in combat
Totally fine.
is insane for any combat-centric army. Like, if that's your thing,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
not crazy.
Yeah, like -1 to hit like 90 Termagants could be a problem.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like -1 to hit a few Space Marines, or sorry, Custodians, not the end of the world.
Is like, okay.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
You can handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As for
Monoquins?
Monoquins, like, they have still remained woefully silent on, so I guess we'll find out soon enough what they're doing with Quins.
Right,
like,
they
where
haven't done
fit in.
any faction focus.
Nothing.
And they're done with faction focuses? Have like
don't know, actually.
is there still like a regular thing
Normally
happening?
there's like, oh, and next up it's like this thing, but I didn't check the last article to see what the next one is. So,
Well, Adrian loves Monoquins.
I love Monoquins. Ah, love them.
All right, thank you, Questionable Psycho. as a diehard guard player, would you say 10th is a good time to invest into Marines for the first time?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yes. If you're
there-
just getting into Marines, this is the best time ever.
Yeah.
They've really turned a corner on figuring out what all these units are for, and also they've kind of matured on like what is the Primaris, what is the Firstborn thing,
Yeah.
and you can kind of see a picture of where things are going. Whereas before, it's like wasn't always clear. Should I buy some of this model?
Yeah.
Should I buy this new thing?
Exactly. Like, is it gonna go away? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah.
But it seems like the dust is settling on a lot of that.
Agreed.
So
It's a good time.
it's a great.
New edition's the best time to start.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Will -1 damage be FAQ down to a minimum of 1? If so, will that probably apply to the static ability? Will the Death Guard strat lose it as well? I doubt it.
No, we think it's here to stay.
Yeah, seems like it.
And I think it's a good, I know this is going to
we think it's
inflame,
cool.
it's going to inflame chat. I think it is a good thing to have in the game. I don't think it's good to have everywhere. I think having it everywhere is terrible. But having it sparingly adds a lot of shape to gameplay
Yeah.
and adds relevance to army building. You can't just say, well, okay, I found the most efficient loadout to kill everything.
Right.
It's this 2 damage attack.
It's like Omni unit that does
right.
everything. Yeah.
This like puts its foot in the
Plasma
ground
inceptors.
and says definitely not.
Yeah. I think it's good. And I think one of the things you have to, that helps you get your head around it,
Yeah.
is old -1 damage and new -1 damage. Don't think of them as the same thing.
Right.
They're completely different rules for different use cases. Like old -1 damage, very prevalent.
Yeah.
And it was designed in a world where 2 damage was
the
ruining the game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly,
And
exactly.
new -1 damage is there to not take 2 damage weapons down to 1.
Right.
It's actually designed to take 1 damage weapons down to 0.
Yeah. Precisely.
Right?
That's a good way of thinking about
It's
it.
like actually what it's for.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's to make small arms fire not viable into that target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look at these 2 indexes we've seen. It's like what? There's one unit from each book that does that. Oh, sorry. There's 2 because of Storm Raven and the Redemptor.
Yeah.
And then there's the train effects, and that's it. And you shouldn't be shooting those small weapons at them anyways.
And you're
Agreed.
not going to be running 3 Storm Ravens.
Watch me.
You might run 3 terrain effects.
Wait for turn 3, baby. Let's go.
But
It's going to
like,
be a hell of a turn 3.
yeah.
you would imagine that these units are expensive enough that spamming them means that you now have a bunch of things that don't answer perhaps whatever they're
The
doing.
funny thing is, like, yeah, with Storm, just literally don't even shoot at it ever. They
Yes.
already don't have it. It's like getting it by turn 3 is the equivalent of like killing it by turn 2, basically. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So good. Yeah.
So it's like you already did it.
Right, right. And if people want to start spamming these things out, then cool. We just take more tank killing, and you make that not interesting. I think the edition is going to somewhat self-balance with the secondaries, with the profiles. So, yeah, we'll see.
There you go. Thanks. Graham, OMG, just got off work. Welcome back. Miss seeing you on the channel. Hope to see you have more appearances in 10th.
Whoa, look, I was just on the channel, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Well, lots more appearances next 10 days. 10 days of 10th.
17 more games. You won't be in every
I'm not
game.
I'm in, what, 8 of them?
Yeah, I roughly
That's a
have.
good number.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm playing every day.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the finals, Brian. Let's not get ahead
Whoa.
of ourselves.
Depends how much power I put in that sweater.
Get ahead of
Oh
ourselves.
my gosh. So yeah, leading up to the event during next week, it's going to be the 2 of us. I don't know why I did that. The 3 of us.
Bridger.
You know, I was gonna like do the 2 of us and then you and John. Anyways, the 4 of us are gonna be kind of rotating in and out. We'll just play 1 game a day, and we'll trade up who's
Yeah.
playing who and all that stuff. And we'll probably be, frankly, practicing the armies in the background.
So this is the thing, like the Titans will have an advantage
yeah,
because we've played more Warhammer, not 10th edition.
that's all we got, man.
I mean, you know what I
we
mean?
got.
So,
Yeah.
but the army that I'm playing, I'll be playing it first in the tournament probably.
Right.
So I still won't have a lot of practice
You
with
can
it.
get some practice games in during the week,
don't
right?
have to be extra
Hopefully,
games, yeah.
if we're doing 11-hour stream days, probably not.
I'll tell you that, yeah.
What, you want to practice it now?
I mean, I'm open to the idea.
Ah!
I have the weekend off, Brian.
Yeah, he's going full goblin mode.
I mean, we could get some In-N-Out Burger and do this.
Oh.
amazing.
I got nowhere to
I got
go.
a monster in the fridge.
I don't really do this.
Hey, Brian, you want to learn Shatterpoint?
No.
I'll start playing Shatterpoint rules tomorrow.
Come back. You're,
Okay,
like,
so I have
still-
Obi-Wan in my army.
Yeah. What? No.
Now, which Ahsoka are you running? Is this a pre-order Ahsoka or the one that's in the core box, Brian?
Oh my God. I'm not even gonna address that.
Thanks, Zero Crow. Welcome back, Brian. Good to see the original trio.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Crow. You've been with us for a long time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of old names resurfacing in this new era. It's like start of 9th to start of 10th. They're all coming
That's
back.
it.
It's a great time. Like if you've fallen out of it or you got bored, it's a great time to get back in.
It's the best.
Thanks again, Graham. The Iron Hands in me is happy with the Predator updates of all things. Happy to pull my 3 back out.
Yep.
Tank Conga line with Iron Daddy and Aggressors or Eradicators for the center. And Tech Marine with fun Servitor rules. Yes, sir.
I agree.
Dude, I looked
all
at
cool.
this model. People are not talking enough about Servitors.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really like them.
You can-
Servitors have always like been hit or miss in an edition.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this stupid thing is really spammable in a dumb way.
Well, they're dumb. Like in 8th when people spam them as like a super cheap thing that just stands in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
Now
And
that
then
they're
Thunderfire cannons would kill them all. Remember? That was like the thing.
but now that they attach themselves to a Tech Marine
Yeah.
and become part of the bodyguard of the squad,
It makes more
it's
sense.
very cool.
Yeah.
And when they are attached to a Tech Marine, they are hitting one better, and half of them have heavy weapons. So it's like
Oh.
pretty saucular that you
Yeah.
now have more bodyguard in front of your Tech Marine,
Right.
who is really just standing next to a vehicle and smacking it with his hammer.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
still has lone operative.
Not when they're in a squad.
Ah, dang it.
Lone operative doesn't work.
Right, because it's actually a squad.
Right.
Right.
But when he joins a unit and he brings along his servitors, it's like a bunch of extra bodies with some pretty good guns that hit pretty well.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm on the servitor train, but I think most people don't own servitors and don't want to own servitors. So
I just ordered some.
You got to make your own. I don't like the existing model.
it's pretty
Yeah,
ugly.
that's true.
But that's the point. It's supposed to be horrifically ugly.
No, I think it's a ugly sculpt, not an ugly person.
They they did. There was that one-off servitor.
That came in Blackstone Fortress.
Yes, which is
That's
very
the one
cool.
you do.
Just do just 12 of those, really.
Yeah.
It's a cute little mono pose, but yes. You could use it as a base.
You gotta chop him up because that guy doesn't even have a heavy weapon. So
Yeah.
chop off the head, put a heavy bolter there.
I need the army of the Iron Men.
Yes.
Could be
That's
cool.
hot.
That'd be a very Brian army.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's even more robot than the other robots.
Right.
Thanks, Siege Roots. Oh, someone go tell John he only needs to fail 1 roll per plasma scepter so he can lose an entire unit during his own turn and be even more impressive.
Oh, it's gonna be legendary.
I miss watching John lose his whole plasma squad turn 1.
I can't wait for him to deep strike the Ving, get overwatched, and they all die.
Yeah.
Oh no!
There's so many new ways for him to lose a plasma
Yeah.
scepter squad.
Dumb ways to die. Thanks, Seedroots.
You know it's coming, man.
For sure.
Thanks, Cultist Chan, another old name.
Oh hey.
Okay.
Hey Titans was just conjuring dark reflections in the contorted epitome, thinking it's super great to see Brian back. Going to my last RTT of 9th tomorrow.
Ooh,
That's exciting.
it's so hard to play 9th edition tournaments when the new rules are out. It's like it's so hard to play with your codex.
Yeah.
Or like with your old codex when the new one you know is
Yeah.
already out.
Rough.
It's I don't know, it's got a weird vibe.
It's
Right?
It's difficult. Preparing for BA was weird because like I wanted to do well, but also I was like over it and like already thinking about like we had to start planning this stuff.
Yeah,
and so
yeah,
it's very difficult. So it was like cool moment. I'm glad we had a good time, but I was also like, okay, now I can like mentally like dump all this information and focus on one
Yeah.
thing. So it's a tough thing. Have fun.
Yeah, have a good
Don't mess
time.
around.
Thanks again, Siege Roots. The Hunter is like a souped up specialized last cannon. So Bridger, you called it Hunter meta when.
Oh, that's true.
Look, I loved the Hunter back then. I don't love
So the Hunter is a
Hunter.
Space Marine tank that used to target only flyers.
Yeah.
And now they've made it so that it actually can shoot anything, which is good. It's not just a
Yeah.
flyer killer.
It's like a vehicle killer or something.
Yeah.
No, it's really good at killing things with the fly keyword. It has
that's what it is.
anti-fly,
Yeah. Oh, it's anti-fly.
but I don't
Yes.
love it. If it was indirect, I would love it.
That.
But I don't love it. I feel like it pokes its nose out, does almost, like, it almost kills something, but doesn't, which in this new edition doesn't matter as much. Bracketing is much less severe. And then,
It's got a cool look, though.
I don't even think they bother to kill it, really. I think they're like,
Yeah, they're just like,
that was annoying, but
yeah,
okay.
this is actually just burning your clock to shoot this every turn.
There's a few things like that where they're like, "This is really tough," and you're like, "Yeah, I'll just walk away."
I think it's a whole lot better. And if you are a person who liked it, you should now happily be able to put it in almost any list and be like, I can use this.
Yeah, Bridger.
And before, you could not put it in your lists.
No.
It was like trying to put like what is the guard equivalent, the Hydra. You just can't use it.
Oh. So
You know? And I'm hoping same sort of thing that you can use those things. Because they look cool.
They're cool. They look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seedroot, and thank you for that deep cut.
All right,
That's
last
good.
super chat.
Oh,
Last one.
No way.
You ready? We made it.
then we get to play more Warhammer?
Wow, we'll see.
Sounds like it.
We'll see, bro. Thanks, Micah. Cough twice if our Queen Morven Vol will return to 10th edition to say, it's Morven time.
Yeah.
But seriously, please give us hope for sisters in these scary times. What do we need to play 10th?
We've looked quite a bit at the Sisters rules.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think they're gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool opportunity. Choosing words carefully. It's a cool opportunity to do things that are more flavorful to the faction, but the game didn't encourage before. So like lots
true.
of small support characters, again, different types of roles, and things that maybe weren't useful before are useful now. Classics can be interesting again. So I think there's a lot of things to be excited about.
Yeah, we're excited to debut this faction.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
They've always been a faction that encourages playing a balanced army, where it's like, here's my shooty sisters, here's my fighty sisters, here's my durable sisters. And so I think that bodes well for any army going to 10th, where it's clear they want you to play a mix of things.
Exactly.
And a broad range of support characters means that you can do what Space Marines are doing, which is like, here's your vanilla squad and here's your souped up squad.
Yeah.
Right? Which is cool.
All right, we do have one more. I'm not loading it in, Graham. You're just going to have to deal. Thanks, Graham. Last one, needs sleep. Brian took double Astraeus to US Open, went 4-4. Thanks for being my go-to Iron Hands player of 9th.
Ooh.
Double Astraeus at US Open.
I love it. 4-4,
4-4?
8 games.
Yeah. That's
a
a
lot
weird
of
number of
games.
games, right?
I guess that's like Nova, but it's so many.
That's a lot.
That's so many.
Yeah. Iron Hands were so hot for a little while.
I relished killing your Fire Raptor when we put it on the table for the first time since and the last time ever when we did the
right.
4-year-old show.
Because it has just been a bane the times we played it.
Yeah,
The thing just has too much firepower.
it's just too much.
Well, I
And
took
so when
it
it activates, it's just like,
I took it with autocannons instead of heavy bolters.
okay.
Because I couldn't really manage all the things that were going on. I was just looking at like default loadout, like, okay, what weapons does this have? All right, I'll fire
Okay.
those. And then I moved on. And it was fine. I had a good time
It
putting
has
it on the
it
table.
has too much firepower, and especially if you got it like hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s,
Yeah.
unkillable because of Iron Hands nonsense.
Yeah.
So it was like it could shoot anything,
Nothing
and
can
it had
shoot it.
so many guns that were damaged too.
Yeah.
And again, it hit with everything. It was and it was rerolling 1s to wound too.
Yeah. Reducing damage. And
Oh no
moving
no no no!
things.
It was unkillable.
It was
It's
ridiculous.
not even worth talking about shooting it back.
Right. Yeah.
That was a trap. If you tried to shoot it back, you waste your whole army on it.
We played it against Death Guard, which were all -1 damage, and you were heavy bolters. That should be the toughest.
And it didn't
thing.
even matter.
It just like haha, like
mo-
you're just like tackled.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have my Death Shroud, like move 5 inches, and you're just like.
And then you're like swiping your sides up at it.
Yeah, I was like, no, stop
And then you
it.
were, because I killed your dreadnoughts, and then I killed them like
Oh, the
instantly.
Hellbrutes, yeah.
And then you were just like, so wait, how do I fight this thing? And then we were like, oh no. And you just flew around and shot them all.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Horrible.
it's a very swingy model. Definitely sized for Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Definitely
Yeah.
doesn't belong in 2,000-point games
Yeah.
of Warhammer. But when you bring it, boy howdy, is it fun.
Yeah, for that player.
For that player. I played against a ton of them in tournaments for a little while. There was Dark Angels armies that used to bring 2, and they would get 4 up invulns because of Azrael.
Oh my god.
And the thing was, I was Tau, so that's like, I am the army that can kill these things, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want me to kill a bunch of T8 flyers? Like, all right, whatever.
Love it.
No
Yeah.
problem. How many do you have? I could kill 4 a turn.
Well,
And
at the
so-
beginning of 8th, they were like castled around Gilliman. They would run
There was
Gilliman
that
and they get
too.
full rerolls with them.
There was a chaos version.
Yeah.
It's just like, ugh.
Yeah,
It was
because anytime
almost
you could
always
buff a single
abused.
unit to such great effect, you know,
Yeah.
and it just had too many 2 damage guns, and 2 damage was just the magic.
Right.
yeah.
Again. back
But
to
it doesn't
earlier.
belong. Doesn't belong in this. But it's a cool model to add to your collection.
Happiness.
All right, last one. After for real though, this is the last one. If you super chat,
Yeah, because we got Bridger and I got to get
I'm
a
not
game to
reading
go
it.
play.
This is the last one. Thanks for crashing out.
Hey, thanks, bye.
10th is my first new edition. Is it normal that things feel very nebulous, not directionless, but omnidirectional, like scripted by committee to offend nobody? Well, I don't know if I agree with that last bit.
10th edition is offending everybody.
Yeah.
We're so
Kill
upset.
all your Forge World models. Change all the rules. These sub factions are gone. Your favorite stratagem sucks. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
they're not pulling any punches.
No, they're definitely not. I think the beginning is nebulous in the sense that we don't know what a good army looks like. We don't know how we're supposed to build. You get a sense from it, and we're going to learn that together. So that is pretty normal for the start of an edition, and that is again very much what this channel was started on. Was this concept of like, how can we start to formulate these ideas and discuss it as a community?
Yeah, sure.
Because otherwise, there actually isn't that much guidance other than like that's what's on the codex cover, you know?
Yeah, and I want to stress that Warhammer, until like several, maybe even tens of thousands, but certainly thousands of games are played, you know nothing about Warhammer. Warhammer is so asymmetrical, and there's so many variables, and by that I mean everything. I mean like armies, units, configurations, matchups with certain rules, you know, certain missions, whatever, that every permutation of the game could never even remotely be played ever. So what ends up happening is the people who design the game, right? Like we've watched them design this game.
Yeah.
If they want to sit in their office and play, like you've got an 8-hour day.
Right.
If you're working there and you're like, today we're going to play some test games. They could play what? 2 test games in a workday?
Yeah.
And that's their whole workday. 2 test games for a single faction is nothing. If you want to test one book, you need to play 200 games.
Yeah.
And now you're getting its sense. That's one army. Now what? You've got like 30 factions. So you're waiting 20 years, you have a full-time staff playtesting, and you still only have a fraction of the information. So the thing you have to appreciate is this version of the game right now, this is an like pre-alpha version of the game.
Yeah.
It's not even beta.
Yeah.
Okay? Like they tested it, but they did not test it.
Day one, more of us are going to play it than they played in all of the testing.
Yeah, literally the first day.
The first 3 hours.
Yeah, within the first few hours. That's more than all the playtesting they've ever had put together.
Yeah.
So you're finding things good. At least they've changed their attitude, that they listen and they fix quickly.
And digital rules are a big change.
Digital rules are a big change. And listen, we know these people who write these rules, they work hard. They're smart. They're amazing game designers with great ideas. And you can see that. The game is getting more interesting, better. You know, they work hard. But as far as balance, don't expect that. That's not a thing they can do. You can't do that. I can't do that. We can't balance
Well, everybody
this.
likes to think they can, but they can't.
cannot
It's
be
impossible.
done.
No, yeah.
Bridger's not exaggerating when he uses the word impossible. It is impossible. It
For
could
once.
not be done. So Adrian talks about an internal balance. And what an internal balance means is people only take the units that work against each other. But what that means is that your codex, 90% of it becomes unusable, right? So the codex itself, like everything within it can't work, and every combination can't work, but there is a small subset that could work in a competitive sense with another army. And even then, there's a ranking of like, this will work better than that. But like, this allows them to be kind of tight. And in some codexes, you can use a lot, and some you can use a little. But you just really have to manage your expectations here. Like, we're going to break this game a lot. And if you want to have fun, don't break it. Just play cool, fun stuff.
Yeah.
If you're trying to play competitive, though, then expect that you're going to break it. And that's the fun of it. And then GW's going to fix it.
Yeah.
So manage your expectations very wisely.
Words of wisdom there.
Indeed.
All right. You want to close us out, Adrian?
With that, thank you so much for joining us. We have a ton of stuff coming up soon. Of course, we have in 13 hours the next stream. It's going to be John with the you with Salamanders, John with the Tyranids, including Old One Eye, of course, and a ton of stuff coming up very soon. Check the schedule online. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.
Bye.